I don't give a damn who you marry from now on. The words were barely out of my mouth when my hot temper flared up. Wait, why am I shouting? Buzz. A sharp pain shot through my skull, and my eyes snapped open. A broken Kong, a busted table, cobwebs in the corner, and that familiar smell of firewood smoke. I froze. This was the Kong back home in my old village. That yellowed old calendar on the wall said, plain as day, August 8th, 1958. I'd been reborn. Over 60 years of resentment had been bottled up in my chest, and now the heavens had dropped the chance to settle those debts right on my doorstep. I flexed this 18-year-old body, strong, solid, nothing like the spineless coward from my last life who wouldn't even hit back after being slapped in the face. Two completely different men. I was just thinking about climbing off the Kong to grab a wooden club when the whole yard erupted into chaos. Sister Chien, all I did was give Su Guo a little shove. He's a grown man. No bump, no scrape, and he just faints on his own. How's that my fault? Besides, who knows, maybe his old head problem is acting up again. He fainted all by himself. That was Lu Li's voice. I let out a cold laugh. This morning, I'd caught this woman on the east end of the village, wrapped up in some man's arms. I'd gone over to have it out with her, and what did she do? She slapped me across the face, then tossed out. Su Guo, are you done making a scene? Don't I have the right to chase my own happiness? You? A street bum. No real job. Sitting at home all day, just waiting to die. What kind of future would I have marrying you? The spineless Su Guo from my last life. His face went red with rage. He rolled up his sleeves, ready to hit the other man, but Lu Li shielded the guy and shoved him back. He couldn't catch his breath, and he fainted right then and there. When I opened my eyes again, I'd been reborn. That's how pathetic he was. Out in the yard, my mom, Qin Shaoan, had already opened fire. Shut that filthy mouth of yours. If you weren't out cheating and my son hadn't caught you at it this morning, would he be in this state right now? Good. Mom's got it right. This woman, Lu Li, was truly stubborn to the core. Back when my head was messed up, not a single family in the village dared to marry their daughter to me for a chongxi, a wedding to chase away bad luck. Only the Lu family nodded yes, and they demanded 100 yuan in bride price first. My parents gritted their teeth, scraped the money together, and handed it over. The village chief witnessed it, and we signed the marriage papers in black and white. And after the chongxi, my head actually did get better. From then on, I gave Lu Li my whole heart. Anything good I had, I sent straight to her. In today's words, the ultimate simp. Io, Andy Chien, let's talk this out nicely, you. Why are you raising your hand? That's too rough. Listening to the commotion outside, I laughed coldly to myself. Fine. Let mom teach her a lesson first. When Qin Shaoan gets going, she's a real tigress. When it comes to cursing folks out, she's one of the best in the village. They call her Qin the Fire Hose. Her combat power is off the charts. Don't hit me. Don't hit me. Andy Qin, if you raise that hand again, I'll hit back. You just try hitting back. Andy Qin, why are you hitting my sister? A voice cut in out of nowhere, stopping my mom's hand mid-swing. Two men walked in through the gate, each carrying a stick. Lu Li's two brothers, Lu Goen and Lu Guoping. The Lu brothers, eldest and second. You two showed up right on time. My mom's voice got even louder. Your sister was out cheating, my son caught her red-handed, and then she hit him. My son's still lying on the Kong right now. You two tell me, how are we settling this today? The truth was, these two brothers had known all along that their sister had a lover over in the county and looked down on me. Now she'd been caught in the act, and with the guilty look on her face, the brothers understood in an instant. This couldn't be swept under the rug anymore. Lu Goen's eyes darted around. Nonsense. When did my sister ever cheat? Annie Chien, don't go slandering people. Slander your ass. My mom's voice shot up a full octave. Since when does Qin Shaoan need to slander anybody? Behind them, Lu Li kept squawking. Big brother, second brother, why are you wasting breath reasoning with this shrew? She nearly clawed my face off. Hurry, get her. Beat her. Your future brother-in-law said he's coming to propose in a few days, and he's bringing pork over. You two beat her good, and I'll get mom to give you a bigger share later. The moment the word pork came out, both brothers' throats bobbed as they swallowed hard in unison. These days, who didn't crave a bite of pork? Their eyes met, and a mean streak came over them. Andy Chien, you laid hands on my sister first, so this doesn't count. Right? Doesn't count. The two of them grabbed their sticks and swung straight at my mom. The sticks hadn't even come down. F. Both of them shrieked, clutching their shins. Somehow I'd already climbed off the Kong, a wooden club gripped in my hand, standing guard right in front of my mom. You two want to try laying a finger on my mom? The Lu brothers had never expected me to fight back. The sticks clattered to the ground, and what followed was a chorus of thwacks and screams echoing across the yard. Yes, beat him good, my mom cheered from the side. Son, let him have it. And Luli too. Beat her half to death. Mom'll find you a good girl later. Beat out all the years of grief we've swallowed. Luli folded her arms across her chest and lifted her chin. Sugwa, you dare touch me? You touch me, and I'll never speak to you again. In my last life, this move worked every single time. Too bad. I'd been reborn. I wasn't the simp whose knees went weak the moment he saw her. Speak to me? Not speak to me. Did she think this was some 3-year-old's game of make-believe? Eat my club. Crack. A dull, solid thud landed square on her backside. Then her arm. Then her thigh. Whack. 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 One hell of a beating. You. How dare you hit me? Aren't you afraid? I owe my butt. Not the butt, don't. I didn't say a word. I just swung that club even harder. All 3 of them were howling. Luli shrieked at the top of her lungs. Sugwa, this is revenge. I'd rather die than marry you. If I marry anyone, it'll be a city man. You're nothing but a country street bum. Just you wait. Well, that part was actually true. In my last life, on August 26, 1958, Luli married into the county. My family took no shortage of gossip and finger-pointing over it. And from that day on, I fell completely apart. Lazy, gluttonous, hooked on gambling. A good-for-nothing who drifted into his 30s before finally settling down with just anybody, scraping by. That hurdle, in my last life, I never cleared it, right up to the day I died. This life, over 60 years of resentment. I'm paying it all back to you today. I don't give a damn who you marry. But first, eat my club. Whack, whack, whack. Another round of beating. Just you wait. This isn't over. We're not done with you. I owe my butt. Luli clutched her backside, glaring at me with pure venom. I twirled the club in my hand, then jabbed it toward all 3 of them. You're not done with me? I'm not done with your family. All these years living off my family's food and drink, and that 100 yuan in bride price. Cough it all back up. You come up 1 word short, and this club just might land on your heads. Now get the hell out. The sight of you makes me sick. Cheating tramp. You. Luli was shaking with rage. She couldn't out-curse them, couldn't out-fight them, so she gave a cold snort and turned to leave. Her 2 brothers slunk out behind her, dirt-faced and beaten, though they didn't forget to toss out one last threat, telling me to just wait and see. My mom planted her hands on her hips and cursed at their retreating backs. You mangy dogs. Back when your sister was courting my Sugwa, it was dear brother-in-law this and good brother-in-law that out of both your mouths. Now your sister's out cheating, and you 2 still dare threaten my son? If you've got the guts, don't run. I'll curse you both to death all by myself. Watching the 3 of them flee like scared rabbits, I smiled. Mom, they're gone. Stop cursing them. I looked at her. In my last life, it was because of this whole business with Luli that I turned myself into a good-for-nothing. But my parents never gave up on me. Every time I stirred up trouble, the 2 of them stepped in to smooth it over. I burned through all the family's money and dragged their name through the mud. By the time I finally got married, came to my senses, and wanted to make something of myself, my mom didn't get to enjoy a good life for more than a few years before she passed. Worked to the bone, worn down by illness. My dad grieved himself sick, and within 2 years he followed her. After that, every year during Qingming when I burned paper money for them, my heart felt like a stone was pressing down on it. I hated myself. Why didn't I wake up sooner? Why didn't I treat them better while I still could? This time, the heavens had given me another chance. This time, everything I'd lost, I was going to take it all back. And more than that, I was going to make sure my mom and dad lived good, comfortable lives. Third son, let me tell you something. My mom rolled up her sleeves, still fuming, ready to launch into another rant. I cut her off. Mom, I'm hungry. I want to eat your cooking. I was so busy fighting I forgot. You fainted this morning and haven't eaten a thing since. She smacked her forehead, and her anger evaporated in an instant. Mom will make you something right now. What do you feel like? Anything's fine, as long as you made it. My mom's cooking. I hadn't tasted it in over 30 years. She ducked into the kitchen, feeding firewood, kindling, and dried woolly grass into the stove to get the fire going. Once the wok was hot, she picked up a chopstick, a strip of cloth tied to the end, dipped it in a little oil, wiped it across the bottom of the wok, then gave it a hard flick to shake off any extra. These days, every household guarded its cooking oil like gold. You couldn't cook with none at all, so this was the only way to make it stretch. Cabbage went into the wok, stir-fried just until it wilted. She grabbed a pinch of coarse salt, crushed it under the flat of her knife, and sprinkled it in. Right before dishing it out, she dipped the chopstick in oil again and flicked it into the wok, just to make the plate of cabbage look like it had a little grease to it. Watching from the side, I made a silent vow. I would make sure this family lived a good life. The cabbage is ready, but don't dig in yet. Let Mom steam you a few wild vegetable cakes. We were poor. We couldn't even afford mixed flour buns. Only wild vegetable wowatu and vegetable cakes. The cakes came out of the pot. What are you standing around for? Eat up. You've gone a whole day without food. You must be starving. I bit into the wild vegetable cake and picked up some of that faintly greasy cabbage. It really did taste good. Mom's cooking always had that flavor. Just salt and a bit of oil. And she could still make cabbage taste this good. If she had real seasonings, imagine that. Just then, my mom swallowed hard, and her stomach let out a loud growl. I quickly held out the chopsticks. Mom, you eat too. Mom's not hungry. You go ahead. Go ahead. She made as if to head back out. I set the chopsticks down. Mom, if you don't eat, I won't either. You silly child. It's almost dinner time. You eat first, and I'll wait for your dad to come home and eat with him. Seeing how serious I looked, warmth spread through her chest, and she let out a sigh. Fine, 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 Mom will eat too. Happy now. Suddenly something occurred to me. I stood up and headed for the door. Mom, wait for me a bit. I've got to run out for a minute. I'd barely stepped through the front gate when I ran smack into my dad, just back from work. Third son, where are you dashing off to in such a hurry? Rushing to reincarnate. My dad, Su Pingyan, dark, weathered skin, a good 6 feet tall. I looked at him and gave a couple of dopey grins. Dad, the brick factory let out early today? My dad worked at the brick factory in town, hauling bricks, unloading bricks, firing bricks, all backbreaking labor. 30-some yuan a month, and that fed the whole family. 3 of us, to be exact. My 2 older sisters had married off long ago. The brick factory's doing worse and worse. No work, so they sent us home early. My heart sank. I remembered it clearly. In a few more months, that brick factory was going to shut down. And then came 59, 60, 61, the 3 years of great famine. People starved to death. The weight came crashing down on my shoulders. Make money. I had to make money, and fast. Dad, I'm heading out for a bit. Before the words were even finished, I'd already taken off, gone in a flash. Behind me, my dad's shout rang out. Where are you going? Be back soon. My dad walked into the kitchen, and my mom handed him a stool. The man of the house is back? Just ran into third son at the gate. That boy, always in a rush. Asked him where he was going, and he wouldn't say. Oh no. My mom shot to her feet and grabbed my dad's arm, shaking it. This is bad, this is bad. What's bad? Slow down and tell me. My dad was getting rattled from all the shaking. If something's wrong, just say it. Stop shaking me. My mom told him the whole story from beginning to end. My dad's temper flared up in an instant. Those goddamn Lius, pushing us too far. I'll go smash their cooking pot to pieces. Back then, if it weren't for us helping them out, where would the Liu family have gotten all that food? And Liu Li, she's nothing but an ungrateful, wild-hearted wolf you can never tame. Is now really the time for that? My mom slapped her thigh in a panic. Third son must have charged over to the Liu's place alone. We've got to hurry over and help him. We can't let our son take a beating. Without another word, my dad marched into the yard and snatched up a shovel. You go get your eldest and second brothers. I'll head to the Liu's first. I don't believe it. The Liu family better not dare touch a single hair on my son's head. With that, he hoisted the shovel onto his shoulder and took off at a dead run, straight for Liu Li's house. Back home, Liu Li flopped onto the Kong and bawled her lungs out. I don't want to live. I don't want to live anymore. Her mother, Su Lihua, took one look at her daughter carrying on like this and rushed over to ask what was wrong. But no matter how she asked, Liu Li had only one line. I want to die. Let me die. I won't go on living. Daughter, what happened? Tell your mother, and I'll set it right for you. Why are you carrying on about dying? She couldn't bear to lose her daughter. This girl was the insurance policy for the rest of her life. Her whole retirement was riding on her. Just a couple of months back, her daughter had landed herself a city man. Once she moved into the city, well, then the blood-sucking could get a whole lot sweeter. Right as they were talking, Lu Goen and Lu Guoping came stumbling in, faces bruised and swollen. What happened to your faces? You go out and come back all banged up, you get in a fight. Su Lihua was stunned. And your sister here, crying and wailing about dying the second she got back. What on earth is going on? Mom, here's what happened. Lu Guoping laid out the whole beating they'd taken at the Su house, every last detail. Su Lihua blew up on the spot. What gives the Su family the right to hit us? The Women's Federation director already said my daughter's engagement doesn't count. What right do they have laying hands on people? No sense of reason at all. Next time you run into unreasonable people like that, you two beat them half to death. Best if you knock him right back into an idiot. He was an idiot to begin with anyway. If it weren't for your sister, he'd still be an idiot right now. He can't even show some gratitude, and he dares to raise a hand against your sister? I think he's just bullying us because he figures the Liu family's got nobody. Push me hard enough, and I'll have your father round up a few of the men and smash the Su family's cooking pot to bits. Having finished cursing out her sons, she turned around and put on a whole different face to coax her daughter. Lee, this isn't your fault. You've got the right to chase your own happiness too. Never mind what that family thinks. Mom supports you. The Women's Federation director already said that childhood betrothal of yours is nothing but feudal garbage. Even if this gets taken all the way to the county, we're not afraid. Oh, right. Zhao Taijun came by at noon and brought us a good bit of pork. Mom will go stew some meat for you right now. The moment the word pork came out, Lu Goen and Lu Guoping swallowed hard in perfect unison. There was meat to eat. Wonderful, just wonderful. Lu Li, who'd been sobbing like her world was ending a moment ago, instantly stopped her tears and wiped her face. Mom, you're still the one who's good to me. You just sit tight. Mom's going to cook that meat. Su Lihua carried a whole 10-pound slab of pork into the kitchen, brought the big cleaver down, and chopped it into small pieces. Her two sons worked the fire while she manned the wok. Before long, wave after wave of the smell of cooked meat drifted out of the Liu house. The neighbors nearby caught a whiff of it, and one by one they curled their lips and muttered under their breath. Shameless. Any meat at all, and she could swallow it right down. The whole business between Lu Li and Su Guo this morning had already spread across the entire village. The neighbors saw the situation clear as day. Wasn't it just a case of riding one donkey while eyeing a better one? She'd found herself a nicer catch and kicked Su Guo to the curb. Who could respect a person like that? Back when the two families joined in marriage, the Zus had paid a real, honest bride price, and over the years they'd treated Lu Li hardly like a daughter-in-law, more like their own precious daughter. And this was the ungrateful wolf they'd raised. Right at that moment, a figure came rushing toward the Liu house in a hurry. That was me. I knew all too well that once Lu Li took up with Zhao Taijun, that man was bound to be sending meat over here. And since my own family didn't have any meat, then I'd come and take it. The Liu family still owed my family the bride price anyway. Won't pay it back? Fine, then I'll just help myself. By the time I reached the Liu house, the whole family was gathered in the yard, about to dig in. I swept my eyes over them. Lu Goen, Lu Guoping, Lu Li, the sharp-eyed Su Lihua, and the head of the household, Lu Xiaojun. All five present and accounted for. I strode into the yard. Lu Li shot to her feet and glared at me. Su Guo, are you here to apologize to me? If you're truly sorry, cough up 10 yuan and we'll call it even. Cough up 10 yuan. I wondered if there was something wrong with my ears. This woman's nerve, was it built out of the Great Wall? 10 yuan. I'd sooner throw it in a ditch than hand it to you. Su Lihua chimed in from the side. Su Guo, you hit my daughter today, so you owe us an explanation. My daughter's right. Pay 10 yuan and we'll drop it. Fine, I'll pay. The corner of Lu Li's mouth curled up. Asterisk, very good. Sug was still that obedient dog. Asterisk. Then I flipped the script. I'll pay your mother. You mangy dog, who do you think you are? Trying to make me pay you 10 yuan. The hell I will. You. Lu Li was shaking all over with rage. Su Lihua's face went dark. The head of the household, Lu Xiaojun, slammed the table and stood up. Eldest, second son, what are you standing around for? Get him. Beat the teeth right out of his mouth. I'd like to see any of you try. A furious roar exploded from behind me. My dad was here. Su Pingyan, gripping a shovel, glared at all 5 members of the Lu family, his face blazing with anger. He drove the shovel into the ground with a heavy thunk. I'd like to see any of you dare touch a single hair on my son's head. Watching my dad standing there, eyes wide with fury, warmth spread through my chest. I'd originally planned to come grab the meat myself, and if the family said no, I'd let my fists do the talking. I hadn't expected my dad to come chasing after me, but him showing up was even better. The way things stood now, the odds were tilted in my favor. 2 against 5. Advantage, me. Whoever dares move, I'll shovel you into the dirt today. My dad's nickname was Su the Madman, and that name thundered through the whole village. 7 or 8 years back, some people came to the brick factory looking for trouble. My dad took on 7 or 8 burly men single-handed and laid every last one of them flat. From then on, the name Su the Madman spread far and wide. The 2 Lu brothers didn't dare make a move. Lu Xiaojun forced a nervous laugh. Brother Pingyan, we can talk this out nice and talk it out my ass. My dad leaned in close beside me and dropped his voice low. Son, We doing this or not? Lu Guoping and Lu Goen both twitched at the corners of their mouths. Asterisk this father and son. Why is it always, we doing this or not? Can't they just sit down and talk things over properly? Asterisk. Dad, not yet. It's not time. I patted his shoulder. Stay cool. With that, I strode over to the table and reached out for that basin of meat. The 5 Lius panicked. You wouldn't dare. Don't touch my meat. Sugua, if you take that meat, I'll never speak to you again as long as I live. I shot Luli a sideways look, as if anyone wants you to. Any of you make a move, and I'll shovel your old man to death right now. My dad raised the shovel and took aim at Lu Xiaojun. The instant any of those 4 dared touch me, that shovel would go flying, landing squarely on Lu Xiaojun, right on target. Don't move. Nobody move. I lifted the basin of stewed pork and gave it a good sniff. Smelled great. So, this basin of meat, let's just call it the interest I'm collecting from your family. Back when your family got engaged to mine, my family paid 100 yuan in bride price, and over the years we did no small amount to help you out. I won't ask for much. Here's your grand total. Pay my family back 200 yuan and we'll call it done. 200 yuan. Luli shrieked. Why don't you just go rob a bank? I shrugged. Isn't robbing my family exactly what your family did back then? I'm just letting you have a taste of what it feels like. What? Not happy about it? Holding that 10-pound basin of pork, I looked at the 5 Lius with a smile. Don't move. Nobody moves, you hear me? My dad kept the shovel trained dead on Lu Xiaojun. Only after I'd carried the basin of meat out through the gate did he toss out one last line before turning to follow. Remember, 200 yuan. 1 cent short, and I'll smash your family's cooking pot. You? Staring at my dad's retreating back, Lu Xiaojun trembled with rage. Luli muttered under her breath. Mom, I wanted some of that meat. All that meat, and Su Guo just carried it all off. Su Lihua patted her daughter's arm, heartbroken. It's fine, it's fine. Tomorrow I'll have your father cut some more, and Mom will make it fresh for you. Then she rounded on her 2 sons. Did you 2 go mute just now? You saw those 2 and didn't dare even bare your teeth? And you, their father, look at your gutless self. My dad and I were walking home when 2 figures came rushing toward us up ahead, shouting as they ran. Pingin, Sugua, you 2 all right? As they got closer, I saw it was my dad's older brothers, Su Pingjun, the eldest, and Su Pingyuan, the second. Big uncle, second uncle, I called out. The 2 of them were carrying shovels, huffing and puffing. You 2 okay? Your sister-in-law said something happened to you, so we hurried right over. The Lius didn't do anything to you 2, did they? They'd come running all this way, genuinely afraid my dad would come out on the losing end. The 3 brothers had split into separate households long ago, but whenever one family had trouble, the other 2 did everything they could to help. Money when money was needed, muscle when muscle was needed. Not like some families who split up and then treated each other like strangers to the grave. In my last life, when I got married, big uncle and second uncle helped out plenty. The bride price money was even borrowed from big uncle. Thinking of that, warmth spread through my chest again. My dad waved a hand with a smile. Big brother, second brother, sorry to worry you. I'm perfectly fine. What could they possibly do to me? Second uncle Su Pingyuan frowned. What actually happened? We rushed over, and your sister-in-law didn't explain it clearly. Sugua, you were right in the thick of it. You tell us. I let out an and laid the whole thing out, start to finish, every detail. Both uncles flew into a rage on the spot. Third brother, the Lius are basically squatting on our necks and taking a dump. We can't just do nothing. Big brother, second brother, then what do you 2 say we do? My dad asked. Damn it all, smash their cooking pot. Right, smash the pot. The 3 of them were of one mind. They grabbed their shovels and headed straight for the Lu house. Carrying that 10-pound basin of pork, I ambled along behind them, taking my time. Asterisk a good show's a good show. Why not watch? Asterisk. Before long, my dad and his 2 brothers barged into the Lu house, swinging their shovels and smashing everything in reach. And in the end, they even destroyed the iron cooking pot on the Liu's stove. The 5 Lius glared at them, eyes bulging. Su Pingyuan hollered a couple of times. What? What are you goggling your eyeballs like that for? Anybody unhappy? Step up and let's have a go. Seeing all 5 of them clam up tight as bottled gourds, he spat on the ground. Cowards. A weak general makes a weak soldier. A weak leader makes a whole nest of weaklings, a whole nest of cowards. By this point, a crowd of villagers had gathered at the Lu family's gate to watch the excitement, every one of them craning their necks to peer into the yard. Suddenly the crowd parted. The village chief, Chunda, walked in. Pingin, what's going on here? You had to go and smash the pot. An iron cooking pot could last decades. Unless two families had a blood feud, nobody normally did something like smashing a pot. My dad jerked his chin, gesturing for the chief to look at Lu Li. Ask her. This is all trouble she stirred up. At the root of it all, the source was right here with Lu Li. If she'd behaved herself and hadn't gone playing both sides, would my family have come over to smash the pot? Chunda walked up to Lu Li and asked her a few questions. Lu Li's face went sheet white. Her mouth opened and shut, but not a single word came out. What was she going to say? That she'd been playing both sides? Riding one donkey while eyeing another? That she was an ungrateful wolf? Since she wouldn't say it, one of the neighbors watching the show shouted it out for her. Lu Li's been keeping her options open. This very morning she was billing and cooing with some strange man right here in the village. In my heart, I gave this kind-hearted fellow villager a big thumbs up. Well said. Once someone got the ball rolling, the villagers who knew the story chimed in one after another, and the gossip started flying. Chunda got the gist of it, and it became clear to him too. This matter was thornier than he'd thought. Leaning on his cane, he tapped the ground. Talk. Quiet, everyone quiet down. Xiaojun, your family's in the wrong on this one. Back when the two families were joined, the Zus did plenty to help your Lu family out. Lu Li craned her neck and talked back. It's not like we begged them to help. He wanted to help. What's that got to do with us? The words were barely out before a wave of disapproving sighs ran through the crowd. As village chief, Chunda just wanted to settle this dispute as quickly as possible. Ping'an, Xiaojun, you two come here. The three of us will go inside and talk it over. Seeing there was no more show to watch, the villagers muttered a few things among themselves and gradually dispersed. Some minutes later, Chunda left first. My dad came out of the house and patted my shoulder. Come on, let's head home. Dad, what's the deal? What did you settle on? My dad kept a completely straight face. It's settled. Lu Li's going to marry you. Asterisk, huh? Asterisk, I was horrified. Dad, don't you mess with me. Look how scared you got, you rotten little brat. My dad cracked up. It's mediated. The Lius pay our family 180 yuan, and we're not allowed to give them any more grief. How many days till they pay? 3. My dad stretched lazily. 180 yuan, that's not much. Big Uncle Su Pingjun spat. They got off easy, honestly. Dad, this isn't some stalling tactic, is it? I frowned. No. The Lu family's got a bit of a nest egg, and besides, Lu Li can always squeeze money out of that city lover of hers. My dad paused. Once the money's in hand, I'll get someone to help find you a job in the county seat. Then you'll be a city man too. How's that sound? I shook my head. Dad, forget it. It's so much nicer here in the village. Why go to the city? You little rascal, since when are you a homebody? Never saw that in you before. Sugua, your dad's right. Second uncle jumped in. The second that money comes, hurry up and find a job to spend it on. Better than leaving it at home for folks to covet. If some thief sets his sights on it, you won't be able to hide it anywhere. The four of us walked back to the yard, chatting the whole way. My mom was sitting in the yard, waiting anxiously. When she saw the four of us come back safe and sound, she murmured, "Heaven be praised." Nothing went wrong, did it? Not a thing. My dad waved a hand, then called toward the kitchen. Kid's mother, add 2 more sets of chopsticks. Big brother, second brother, you two worked hard today. Let's eat some meat and have a couple of drinks. I scooped a few pieces of pork out of the basin into a bowl and took it over to the stove to reheat. After all that commotion, the meat had long since gone cold. Steamed it warm and carried it to the table. My mom and I gnawed on big chunks of pork alongside our wild vegetable cakes, while my dad and his 2 brothers ate meat and chased it with a little liquor. By the time the meal was done, one word was written on everyone's face: satisfied. Bliss. Eating meat in big, thick chunks. Now that's bliss. Hadn't tasted any grease in days, and today we finally scratched that itch. Big uncle and second uncle, full and content, got up to leave, but not before they reminded me. Sugua, from now on, if anything comes up, you tell me and your second uncle, you hear? I hear you, I hear you. I gave a little chuckle. Big uncle, second uncle, there's plenty of meat today. Each of you take a bowl home. Neither of them stood on ceremony. They each accepted a small bowl of meat and headed off, grinning. The moment they were gone, my mom sidled up to my dad and lowered her voice. Has our youngest changed his ways? He's never treated his uncles like this before. Kid's father, you think knocking his head straightened him back to normal? My dad mused. Probably. Whatever the case, this boy really is a lot more sensible than before. The old him would still be defending the whole Lu family right about now. Those words fell into my ears, and my heart felt uneasy. The old me was just like a lapdog, fawning over Lu Li like crazy. And what came of it? What did it get me? If I hadn't been reborn and come to my senses, who knows? I might still be groveling right now. Dad, Mom, I'm going back to my room to rest. You two turn in early too. All right, youngest. Back in my room, I closed my eyes and started working out how to make money fast. It was October 1958 now. In another month or so, the snow would come down in the Northeast. And once 1959 rolled around, the lean years would arrive. Right now, I needed to make more money and stockpile more grain, so I wouldn't be left without a bite to eat once the famine hit. Copy out books to sell? No time. Too slow. Besides, all I had in my head was the rough outlines of a few novels. If I actually tried to write them down, it'd come out as gibberish. Hunting? Now, that could work. Twangia village sat right up against a big mountain, and the mountain was rich with resources: wild fruit, wild walnuts, pine nuts, hazel mushrooms, plus game like pheasant, hazel grouse, and dumb little roe deer. Hunting works, sure, but I don't know how to hunt. In my last life, I'd never done any mountain running work at all. I was the only boy in the family, and my parents weren't comfortable letting me go up the mountain. If some accident happened, my dad's whole family line would be cut off. My cousin Su Xingli is a mountain runner. Maybe I could ask him to show me the ropes. No, that's not right either. We don't even own a single gun at home. I was in the middle of all this daydreaming when something suddenly went ding inside my head. Ding. Beast taming system and blind box system finished loading. Now binding to host, Sugwa. Ding. Congratulations, host, on a successful binding. You have obtained a dual system. Me? My skull buzzed, and I went numb all over. A dual system? The dual system was here. Say what you will, I'd been reborn from the year 2026. A few years back, I'd paid for a year's membership and spent every day mining for gold in web novel apps. How could I not know what a system was? A system, that was the essential golden finger for anyone who'd transmigrated. I just never in a million years imagined a stroke of luck this enormous would land on my head. For ordinary people, having a single system already made you invincible, enough to live a bright, thriving life. And I somehow had too. I quickly lifted a hand and swiped at the empty air. Systems, beast taming system / blind box system. Host, Sugwa. There were no other options. I opened both instruction manuals and quickly got the gist. Beast taming system. Killing prey earns you beast taming points. You can use those points to bond with animals like dogs, bears, tigers, and wild boars. The better an animal's relationship with me, the fewer beast taming points it costs to bind it. The worse the relationship, the more it costs. So that's how it works. Now let's see what this blind box system is all about. I gave it a once-over and figured it out too. This so-called blind box system required me to fork over my own cash to buy the blind boxes. The boxes came in 7 tiers, each matching a color of the rainbow. From highest to lowest: red, orange, purple, cyan, blue, green, yellow. The prices, from lowest to highest, were 1 yuan, 10 yuan, 100 yuan, 1,000 yuan, 10,000 yuan, 100,000 yuan, 1,000,000 yuan. What the hell? This is the blind box system? I've got to pay out of my own pocket. This system's a real piece of work. It's not even as good as the beast taming system. Ding. Would the host like to open the newbie gift packs? I looked, and it turned out there were 2 newbie gift packs. Fine. These 2 systems knew how to smooth things over. Open them. Ding. Now opening the beast taming system's newbie gift pack. Congratulations, host, on obtaining 50 beast taming points to. Ding. Congratulations, host, on opening the blind box system's newbie gift pack. You have obtained a gene enhancement capsule from the year 2888. Gene enhancement capsule from 2888. Once used, your genes are completely transformed. Go from a scrawny weakling to a powerhouse in one leap. Having muscles will never be a problem again. I withdrew the capsule and pinched it between my fingers. Just this one little thing. I frowned. Is it really as miraculous as the system claims? Let's try it. I swallowed it in one gulp. Within a few seconds, a bone-deep, piercing pain began seeping out from the marrow, hurting so bad it broke me out in a cold sweat. It went on for a solid 7 or 8 minutes before it slowly let up. SSSSS. Damn system, you couldn't have warned me it'd hurt this much? Nearly killed me. What's that horrible smell? Did somebody take a dump on my bed? I looked down. Turned out it was coming off my own body. A layer of black grime was oozing out through the surface of my skin, as if my whole body had been swapped out from the inside. I couldn't stand the stench, so I ran outside, filled 2 basins with cold water, and doused myself head to toe. My dad and mom heard the commotion and poked their heads out for a look. Is our son off his rocker again? Taking a cold bath in the middle of the night? Probably just feels dirty and wants to wash up. Don't read too much into it. Once I'd finished, I hurried back to my room to dry off. Looking down, my skin was fine and smooth, and a solid bicep was bulging on my arm. I muttered to myself, from now on, I'm no scrawny weakling either. Strong. I'm really strong. I clenched my fists a couple of times, then threw a straight punch that whooshed through the air with a hump. If I ran into those two Liu brothers from this afternoon, one punch would probably be enough to knock them both out cold. That night, I was too excited to sleep, tossing and turning as I fiddled with the two systems. It wasn't until the sky outside grew darker and darker that my racing heart finally settled. I lay down on the Kong and drifted off. Early the next morning, the crowing of roosters woke me. The first thing I did after climbing off the Kong was swipe open the system panel. Looking at the two systems on it, I was certain now, last night hadn't been a dream. It was real. I threw on my clothes and knocked out a few dozen push-ups in one go, easy as drinking water. Just, my stomach couldn't quite take it. Going all out on an empty stomach left me so hungry my belly was growling up a storm. "Mom, is breakfast ready?" I shouted toward the yard. My mom's voice came back from the kitchen. "Working on it. What are you hollering about first thing in the morning?" I ducked into the kitchen for a look. Mom was working the spatula, stir-frying pickled cabbage and pork in the wok. The pickled cabbage came from our own crock, and that pork was exactly what I'd carried back from the Liu house last night. "Mom, that smells amazing." I reached out to grab some. Slap. Mom smacked the back of my hand with the spatula. "What do you think you're doing? Not scared of a burn? There's plenty for you to eat, so quit rushing." I gave a little chuckle and sat by the stove to help feed the fire. The aroma of pickled cabbage mixed with pork kept drifting up my nose. It was maddeningly good. The staple today was still wild vegetable cakes. The three of us gnawed on cakes alongside the pickled cabbage and pork. One bite, and your whole mouth ran with grease. Delicious. Truly delicious. "Youngest, stay home and behave yourself today. Mom's going to the black market to sell shoes, so don't go running off," Mom instructed between bites. "If those two Liu punks dare bring people around, don't lose your head. Hightail it over to your uncle's place, you hear?" It was 1958 now. The free markets had been abolished long ago. Private traders weren't allowed to buy or sell goods, or you'd be slapped with the crime of profiteering. But for every policy on high, there was a countermeasure below. There was a black market on the north side of the Red Star commune where you could quietly sell a few things. You couldn't very well let people starve. My mom didn't have any proper job. All year round, she worked her needle and thread at home, sewing and mending, stitching shoe soles, her way of adding a little to the family's income. I stuffed a bite of cake into my mouth and nodded. "Mom, if they dare come, your son'll beat them to death. They've still got the nerve to retaliate. If the village chief hadn't held us back last night, who knows what shape their house would be in." After breakfast, my dad wiped his mouth on his sleeve. "Youngest, I'm off." Not long after Dad left, Mom headed out too. "You stay home and behave. I'll make you meat when I get back tonight, you hear?" I know. "Oh, and Mom, you got any money on you? Can you give me a yuan?" I wanted to try out a blind box, so I steeled my nerve and asked. A yuan was worth a heap of money these days. An ordinary worker had to put in 2 full days to earn one, and that was before food, drink, and living expenses. A normal family managed to save maybe 20 or 30 yuan across a whole year, and all of it was kept for emergencies. Mom shot me a look. "Get lost, before I make me smack you. Your mother's off to the black market to sell shoes, and I might not even get 2 yuan for them. And you want me to give you 1? I don't have money on me yet. Once the Lius pay back the 200 yuan in 3 days, I'll give you a yuan then." The corner of my mouth twitched. Right, very on brand for my mom. Once the two of them left, I was finally free. I was just working out how to get up the mountain when a string of woof woof woofs suddenly burst out beside me. I followed the sound. It was our big yellow dog, Da Huang, barking his head off at me. "Da Huang, what's gotten into you? You possessed." Da Huang wagged his tail, putting on a fawning, ingratiating look for me. I followed his line of sight over to the kitchen. "What are you looking at? That meat's not for you. If you've got the chops, go catch your own prey up the mountain." I casually shut the kitchen door, cutting off his hopes. Da Huang got so worked up he started spinning in circles, barking. Suddenly a flash of inspiration hit me, and I slapped my thigh. Oh, holy right. I can take Da Huang up the mountain with me. How did I forget about the dog drive hunt? Hunters had their own methods for going up the mountain. One was the solo drive, another was the dog drive, and there were group hunts with several people together. The grandest was the Great Drive, a dozen or more hunters teaming up, usually to go up and surround a herd of wild boar. Perfect. Let's see if this beast taming system actually works. I walked over to Da Huang. The beast taming system locked onto him with a swish. and a 6-stat chart popped up in front of me. Breed, Northeastern Native Dog. Speed, 40 kilometers per hour. Bite force, 75 kilograms. Weight, 40 gene. Body length, 90 centimeters. Affinity, 30. The Northeastern Native Dog had plenty of other names. The Dumb Dog, the Northeastern Hunting Hound, the Manchu Hunting Dog. That word dumb didn't mean it was stupid. It was the same as calling free-range chickens dumb chickens up in the Northeast. This breed was large, thick-furred, cold-resistant, loyal, and clever. Ding. Would the host like to forcibly bind the Northeastern Native Dog with an affinity of 30? This will cost 140 beast taming points. The instant I saw that affinity number, I was a little stunned. Hold on. Are you kidding me, Da Huang? I'd raised you at home for 2 years, and your affinity's only 30? Da Huang, oh Da Huang. You can know a beast's face, but not its heart. You act so affectionate with me day to day, and behind the scenes we've got a lousy 30-point friendship? With my measly 50 beast taming points, I couldn't bind squat. Wait. No. I spun around and ducked into the kitchen, came back out with a bowl of congealed meat chunks, walked over to Da Huang, and held it out, gritting my teeth. Da Huang, I hope I've got you figured right. If you're still a 30, then I'm out of fortune. Eat up, eat up. Da Huang buried his head and went to town, wolfing it down with pure delight, and by the end he'd licked the bowl squeaky clean. All done. Woof, woof, woof. Da Huang barked at me a couple of times. Good, not bad, not bad. I swiped open that pale blue panel again. Breed, Northeastern Native Dog. Speed, 40 kilometers per hour. Bite force, 75 kilograms. Weight, 40 gene. Body length, 90 centimeters. Affinity, 90. Looking at that affinity of 90, I nearly hooped out loud. Yes, yes, yes. I knew it, I bet right. Ding. Would the host like to forcibly bind the Northeastern Native Dog with an affinity of 90? This will cost 40 beast taming points. Bind it, bind it. Ding. 40 beast taming points deducted. Now binding the beast, Northeastern Native Dog. Please be patient, host. Ding. Congratulations, host, on successfully binding a beast. Please name it. The moment the system's ethereal voice fell silent, Da Huang gave a full-body shudder, and a flash of white light passed through his eyes. It was as if he'd been given an order, and only one thing remained in his mind. Su Guo was his master. I'll just call you Da Huang. I wrote out the 2 characters for Da Huang in the empty air. I swiped the 6-stat chart open again, and the top line had already changed. Beast, Da Huang. Breed, Northeastern Native Dog. Speed, 40 kilometers per hour. Bite force, 75 kilograms. Weight, 40 gene. Body length, 90 centimeters. I untied the rope from around Da Huang's neck and gave him an order. Da Huang, do a backflip for me. Da Huang. Da Huang wanted to resist, but his body was awfully honest about it. He threw a clean, crisp backflip. Da Huang, having stuck the landing perfectly. Good. Nice flip, such a good boy. I rubbed his head. Come on, Da Huang, do another. Da Huang barked at me furiously. Woof, 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 flip your grandpa. The very next moment, he threw another solid backflip. By now even Da Huang himself was baffled, wondering if he'd run into a ghost. Asterisk why? Why am I this obedient? It doesn't make any sense. Why won't my body listen to me? Asterisk. Not bad, not bad. I unfastened the leash and headed off toward my cousin Su Xingli's house, taking Da Huang along. With a dog this obedient, going up the mountain would be a whole lot easier. Cousin Xingli's place wasn't far from mine. Same village, only a 7 or 8-minute walk. I stepped into the yard and found Big Uncle Su Pingjun busy at work. Big Uncle, hard at work? Oh, what brings you by? Su Pingjun set down whatever he was working on, and his face suddenly changed. Did the Lius come making trouble again? Damn their mothers. Looks like the lesson we gave them wasn't harsh enough. He turned to go grab a shovel. I hurried to stop him. Big Uncle, nothing like that. They wouldn't dare come make trouble. Good, that's good. Su Pingjun let out a breath. So what brings you over, then? Looking for Cousin Xingli. Your Cousin Xingli's out. He's probably up the mountain by now. What do you need him for? Got a craving again. Su Pingjun laughed. Yesterday afternoon your Cousin Xingli bagged a few jumping cats. He went inside and brought one out, stuffing it into my hands. Take it. Have your mom make you some stir-fried rabbit. I'd mooched no small number of meals off Big Uncle's family. Sometimes when Cousin Xingli bagged a lot of game, he'd even let me bring a few home. The way Big Uncle's whole family treated me, truly, there was nothing to complain about. They looked out for me like nobody else. Big Uncle, no need, no need. Since he's not here, I'll come back around noon. With that, I left, taking Da Huang with me. Behind me came the sound of Big Uncle sighing. You silly child, you didn't even take the rabbit. With cousin Shunli up the mountain and me carrying no gun or gear, I didn't dare just wander in. The mountains were dangerous. Without a hunter to lead the way, an outsider could easily get lost and never find their way out. And there were plenty of fierce beasts up there. Relying on Da Huang alone for protection? He couldn't cover it. Can't get up the mountain, can't get any money, can't test the blind box system. This sucks. I was stewing over this when a loud laugh suddenly rang out beside me. Well, if it isn't Sugua. I turned around. It was my childhood friend, Lu Daniu. Other people's childhood friends were brothers, buddies, guys who'd actually show up when it counted. My childhood friend was a pure idiot, a street bum. Over the years, he'd borrowed no small amount of money from me and kept stalling on paying it back, shameless to the core. 2 words and 2 words only. Not paying. Lu Daniu looked me over with a mocking grin. Sugua, heard you got cheated on by Lu Li? If you ask me, ask your grandpa. I slammed a fist right into his face. Lu Daniu went flying backward and crashed hard into the ground. On reflex, he touched his face. His hand came away cold. A streak of bright red blood left on his fingers. I'll screw your. Something's off. Normally, if I said a few words to him, this guy wouldn't dare so much as squeak. Screw your grandpa. I strode over, kicked him back down just as he was scrambling up, straddled his head, and rained punches down on his face one after another. You son of a bitch, still think I'm the same pushover as before? Figure you can bully me whenever you feel like it? You're a lantern in an outhouse, looking to die. Stop hitting me. I'm sorry. Lu Daniu was howling under the beating, wailing and blubbering that he knew he was wrong. I didn't buy any of it. That knot of anger in my chest still hadn't loosened, so my fists kept slamming into his face. A moment later, Lu Daniu glared at me with a bruised, swollen face, the look in his eyes like he wanted to swallow me alive. I gave a cheerful smile and waved a hand. Wipe that pathetic look off your face. Let me catch sight of you again, and I'll thrash you to death. Lu Daniu was shaking with fear, cursing me up and down in his head. Asterisk son of a bitch. Sug was really gone freaky today. Did a ghost possess him? Just you wait. I'll get you sooner or later. Asterisk. I stuck out my hand. Lu Daniu looked bewildered, but on reflex he leaned his face in toward me. Go easy on me. I'm barely recognizable already. I laughed. Asterisk sure enough. A kind person gets bullied and a gentle horse gets ridden. You've got to toughen up. Asterisk. Get lost. Pay me back, I said. You borrowed 30 yuan off me all told. Pay it back now. Lu Daniu shook his head. I don't have any money. There's not a single cent in my pocket. Listening to this garbage, I just rolled my eyes. Asterisk as if I don't know exactly what you're like. No money in your pocket? What a joke. Asterisk. I couldn't be bothered to argue with him, so I gave him a slap across the face. Slap. Pay up. Lu Daniu clutched his face. I really don't have money. Fine. You asked for this. I gave Da Huang a pat. Da Huang, bite him. At the command, Da Huang lunged at Lu Daniu with his jaws wide open. Woof, woof, woof. Don't come near me. Don't come near me, ah? Watching Da Huang close in, Lu Daniu's legs went weak and he pissed himself right then and there. A reek of urine wafted out from his crotch. Da Huang instinctively took a step back, the look in his eyes practically saying, asterisk what the heck? I haven't even bitten him and he's already peeing? Asterisk. I fanned the smell away, my face full of disgust. Truly rank. Pissing your pants in broad daylight. You're the first. Now hurry up and hand over the money. Otherwise I'll start yelling and call all the folks in the village over. Give everyone a good laugh. Come see Lu Daniu, who still wets his pants at 20. To kill a snake, strike its vital spot. That shout landed right on his weak point. He could hold out on the money, but he was genuinely terrified I'd holler and summon the whole village, because then his reputation would be finished for life. From then on, even finding a wife would be hard. How would a matchmaker introduce him? Still wetting his pants in his 20s? No woman would want him once word got out. Trembling, Lu Daniu fished 2 big Unity notes out of his pocket, 20 yuan, and held them out. Sugua, I've only got 20 on me. Let me owe you the other 10 first. You're a big-hearted man. I'll pay it back next time for sure. Daniu, and here I thought you'd never say a word against your own true feelings. Figured you'd hold out against me to the bitter end. I took the money and smiled. Remember, you're still 10 short. Whenever you pay it off, we're square. Until then, every time I see you, I beat you. To handle a villain, you've got to be more of a villain than he is. Only then will he fear you, dread you, instead of climbing up your nose and onto your face. I headed home with Da Huang. Lu Daniu shouted at my back, Sugua, just you wait. This isn't over. Fine, I'll be waiting for you. I flipped him a great big middle finger over my shoulder. Lu Daniu was so furious he hopped in place. Back home, I shut the door tight and ducked into my room. I opened the system panel, clutching the freshly extorted 20 yuan in my left hand, and stared at the blind box prices. Yellow box, 1 yuan. Green box, 10 yuan. Blue box, 100. Red box, 1,000,000. Trade for 20 yellows? Or 2 greens? After thinking a moment, I made the call, 2 greens. Go pricey, not cheap. A green box was bound to yield something good. 20 yellows looked like a lot, but they'd probably open into nothing but junk. System, trade for 2 green blind boxes. The moment the words left my mouth, the 20 yuan in my hand vanished in the blink of an eye, replaced by 2 green boxes. Ding. Congratulations, host, on obtaining 2 green blind boxes. Open them. Open them. Open them all. The 2 boxes flashed with green light and popped open with 2 pops. Ding. Congratulations, host, on obtaining a slingshot and 100 steel pellets. Ding. Congratulations, host, on obtaining a bottle of potent anesthetic. Potent anesthetic, applied to arrowheads or javelins. A hit on any prey under 200 gene will drop it. Note, non-toxic and harmless. 2 green boxes, and this is all I get. Only the second item was worth much. Getting hold of anything like anesthetic these days was no easy feat. Withdraw. A halo flashed, and in front of me appeared a slingshot, 100 steel pellets, and a small bottle of anesthetic. I snatched up the slingshot, pinched a pellet, and took aim at the trunk of the big tree in the yard. Whoosh. The air split with a whoosh, and the pellet cracked into the trunk with a clang. Not bad. My hands haven't gone rusty. With this slingshot, I can wander around the mountain's outer edge, take a few shots at pheasant and jumping cats. Pity I've got no hunting rifle. Still can't go into the deep mountains. I loosed a few more. Say what you will, these round little steel pellets flew dead true. Point and hit. And they packed far more punch than stones. The pellets were smooth and round, so they didn't drift once they left the pouch. Swap in an irregular rock, and it'd wobble all over the place. I stowed the slingshot and picked up that bottle of anesthetic, unscrewed the cap, brought it to my nose, and gave it a sniff. Pretty pungent. This stuff, is it really as miraculous as it claims? It's non-toxic anyway. Let's test the waters with Da Huang. I went inside, found a piece of meat, dripped a few drops of anesthetic on it, and tossed it to Da Huang. Da Huang, eat up. Quit spacing out. Da Huang chomped it down in a couple of big bites. In just 20 seconds, his eyes rolled back and he keeled over with a thud. Works this fast. Damn. With this stuff, if I get myself a crossbow or a bow and wipe it on the arrowheads, bagging a dumb roe deer would be a sure thing. I nudged Da Huang with my foot. He didn't move a muscle, eyes rolled white. All right, Da Huang, you just take a nice long nap. Can't get up the mountain, can't get any mountain goods, but there's stuff in the river I can get. How did I nearly forget about that? I gave a cheerful laugh, ducked into the storage room and grabbed a few rapeseed cakes to toss into a back basket, then shouldered it and headed out. At the north riverbank, gazing down at the churning water below, I snapped off a bunch of thin twigs from nearby. Over the next hour or so, I wove a simple dead-end fish trap. This thing was especially deadly for catching fish. Drop it in the river, and once a fish swims in, getting back out is next to impossible. Best to set it where the current runs downstream, so the fish drift along with the water and slip in before they know it. After that, trying to escape? Harder than hard. I stuffed the rapeseed cakes from my basket into the trap, dug up a few earthworms and threw those in too, then found a spot by some water weeds and set the trap in place. I clapped my hands, stood up, and looked out at the churning surface. I'll come collect the trap tomorrow. No telling whether I'll get any fish. Dead-end trap, don't you let me down. I was just about to turn and leave when a dark shape suddenly seized my attention. It first surfaced, then immediately dove headfirst back into the water. Is that a water dog? My eyes lit up. Never expected there'd be a water dog in this river. Up in the northeast, they call otters water dogs. An otter's pelt is dense and water repellent, top-grade fur material. But that wasn't what I cared about most. A water dog is a born fishing master. I just set my trap, and I sure hoped this critter wouldn't clean it out. My biggest fear was busting my back for nothing and just making a wedding gown for the water dog to wear. I grabbed a stick and beat hard at the water, trying to lure the thing underneath to come out. But once it dove in, there wasn't a peep from it. Ripples spread across the surface in ring after ring, and it was nowhere to be seen. Forget it. I'll deal with you next chance I get. A single water dog pelt could sell for over 30 yuan, as much as a city worker's monthly wage. Back home, Da Huang was still stretched out stiff in the yard. The anesthetic clearly hadn't worn off yet. Since I wanted to know when he'd wake up on his own, I just left him be and started unloading the firewood from my basket. Winter was almost here, so I had to lay in firewood ahead of time. Whenever I had nothing to do, I'd head out to gather kindling. All the firewood we burned in the kitchen, I'd picked up myself. I washed my face and went into the kitchen to cook. It was just me at home today, so I hauled out the crock of pickled cabbage, squeezed out the water, chopped some up and set it aside, then took a few pieces of meat and sliced them thin. Fired up the wok with oil, tossed in the pickled cabbage until fragrant, stir-fried it good, then poured in the meat slices to cook together. Before long, a plate of stir-fried pickled cabbage and pork was ready, with wild vegetable wawatu for the staple. I was just about to pick up my chopsticks when a shout came from outside. Sugwa, Sugwa. The moment I stepped out of the kitchen, I saw cousin Shungli standing in the yard. I just got back from the mountain. Heard you came looking for me this morning? Su Shungli launched right in. Still torn up over that whole Luli business? A real man never has to worry about finding a wife. Let me tell you. What's that smell? He stopped mid-sentence as the fragrance of pickled cabbage mixed with meat hit his nose, his eyes going wide. You got meat again? I nodded with a smile. Cousin Shingli, you haven't eaten yet, right? Come in and eat. The two of us headed into the kitchen, and I pushed the dish toward him. Cousin Shingli, have a taste, fresh stir-fried pickled cabbage and pork. The aroma bored straight into Su Shingli's nose, and he swallowed hard. Fragrant. It really was fried up fragrant. All right, then cousin's not going to stand on ceremony with you. He'd been running the mountain all morning and was long since starving. I handed him a pair of chopsticks and joked, why be polite? We're family. I've mooched plenty of meals over at Big Uncle's place. Cousin Shingli chatted with me as we ate. Piece after piece of meat went into his mouth. This pork was truly delicious, far better than the wild game up in the mountains. Sugwa, why'd you come looking for me today? What's the important business? Cousin Shingli, I want to go hunting in the mountains with you. The words were barely out before cousin Shingli nearly choked on his food. Asterisk cough asterisk. Hold on. You want to go hunting in the mountains with me? He shook his head over and over. No, absolutely not. This one's a definite no. Anything else is fine, but this one, truly, isn't happening. Third uncle's family had only me, this one lone seedling. If something went wrong in the mountains, third uncle Su Pingin's line would be cut off. And besides, how could the mountains ever be as safe as the village? Danger everywhere, bug bites, beast attacks, hidden pits and traps, and you needed a solid body to even earn a living at it. My scrawny frame, 4 or 5 li of walking, and I'd be gasping. Send me up the mountain, and would I be there to hunt or to sightsee? The truth was, what cousin Shingli feared most was something happening to me. If something happened to him, so be it. He still had a 12-year-old younger brother below him. His family had more than one male heir. But I was the lone seedling. If some disaster befell me, he couldn't shoulder the blame. Cousin Shingli, don't worry. Once we're up the mountain, I'll do exactly as you say. You just take me to the outer edge. We won't go in deep. All right. I hurried to add. I'll just use my slingshot to shoot a few squirrels and jumping cats. I absolutely won't go in deep. How about that? But no matter how much I wore out my tongue, cousin Shingli wouldn't budge an inch. Sugwa, this really won't do. Just behave yourself a few more days. Once the Lius pay back the money, have your dad get someone to find you a proper job in the county, way better than this mountain running of mine. He sighed. Even though I run the mountain, I'm really only half-baked at it. No comparison to those hunters who were born to make their living hunting. No hunting rifle to my name. So all I can do is carry a bow and wander the mountain's outer edge, bagging a few jumping cats and squirrels. The big game I can't touch at all. Sometimes I even think, back then, if my dad hadn't sent me off to my master, but instead found me some work in the city, how much better that would have been. I understood cousin Shungli's difficulties, but I really did want to run the mountain with him. Once heavy snow sealed the mountain and the lean years arrived, you'd starve just the same in the city. How could that compare to the freedom of being a hunter? With this great mountain at your back, that was an inexhaustible, endless supply of resources. Besides, my system was a beast-taming system. I had to rely on killing prey to bank beast-taming points, or the whole system would go to waste. Count on the blind box system to strike it rich? I didn't have a single cent in my pocket. Seeing that cousin Shungli wouldn't yield to soft or hard tactics, my eyes darted around, and I played my trump card. Cousin Shungli, if you won't take me, then this afternoon I'll go up the mountain by myself. Best if I die up there. Then you can come collect my corpse. The moment those words came out, cousin Shungli got frantic and smacked his thigh. Sugwa, what kind of crazy talk is that? You, fine. Take him along, Let him find out the hard way and back off on his own. so he wouldn't go sneaking up the mountain. Fine, 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 I'll take you, I'll take you. Cousin Shengli caved. But we agree. Once we're up the mountain, you do everything I say. Understood, understood. I promised with a smile. Cousin Shengli, hurry up and eat. Finish quick and let's go. I'm dying to test out my slingshot's power. Seeing how excited I was, Cousin Shengli gave a helpless smile. Exactly like he'd been back in the day, that same eagerness to get up the mountain. But he'd only later come to understand. Earning a living by hunting was too hard. The ones who actually managed it, in a whole production brigade, numbered only about 20 hunters. Just as we were talking, Da Huang woke up in the yard. His eyes opened, and his whole face was bewildered. How did I fall asleep? Seeing Da Huang stand up, I called out, Da Huang, come here. Da Huang obediently trotted over, ducking his head to nuzzle against my pant leg, all fawning and endearing. Cousin Shengli, I want to take Da Huang up the mountain with us. Su Shengli, take Da Huang up the mountain? He's not even a hunting dog. Bring him along. And if he disobeys and darts into the deep old forest, neither of us could save him. He frowned. A hunting dog listens to its master up the mountain, but a house and yard dog going up the mountain just runs wild and frolics off. Dead easy to lose. Cousin Shengli, Da Huang really listens to me. Don't worry, it's fine. Really list. Before he could finish, I waved my hand. Da Huang, do a backflip. Whoosh. Da Huang threw up his front paws, kicked off with his hind legs, and stuck a clean backflip. Cousin Shengli swallowed the rest of his sentence and blinked. Right? Pretty good, pretty good. I fed Da Huang a few bites and rubbed his head. Taking you up the mountain today. Let me see what you've got. Mule or horse, take it out for a walk and see. Once we'd eaten, the two of us packed up quick, shouldered our back baskets, tied on our leg wraps, and headed off toward the mountain with Da Huang. Lu Goen and Lu Guoping, just stepping out their door, happened to catch the sight of me and Cousin Shengli heading up the mountain from behind. Brother, are those two heading up the mountain? Sure looks like it. Lu Guoping ground his teeth. Best if Su Gua dies up there, cut off his family's line for good. Brother, how about we go up the mountain too? I remember we've still got a sinew and horn bow at home. Let's take it hunting, what do you say? Lu Guoping nodded. Sure, I'll ask Dad. The two of them went back to the yard and put it to Lu Xiaojun. Dad, the autumn harvest isn't here yet, and we're just sitting idle anyway. We want to take the sinew and horn bow up the mountain for a look around. If we're lucky and run into pheasant or jumping cats, we can bag a few to scratch the craving. Lu Xiaojun figured it was workable and agreed with a smile. Kids, mother, get the sinew and horn bow out for the boys. He cautioned them. Our ancestors were renowned hunters. Shame the craft died out around your grandpa's generation. This sinew and horn bow is a treasure passed down through the family. So you two be careful with it, you hear? Understood, understood. The two brothers took the sinew and horn bow, slung the quivers on their backs, and headed up the mountain. No sooner had they left than Lu Li sidled up to mutter, Dad, that 180 yuan of ours, what are we going to do? The moment the subject came up, Lu Xiaojun got worked up. The Su family had opened their mouths and demanded 180. Where was he supposed to come up with that? Their whole nest egg, all told, was barely 100-some yuan. Where would he scrape together that much? He gave a cold snort. Today you go into the county and find Zhao Taijun and squeeze money out of him. Tell him our family's bride price is 200 yuan. 200 yuan. Lu Li exclaimed. Dad, he's a city man, not some fool like Su Gua. Would he really hand over that much? When I tell you to ask, you ask. Lu Xiaojun tapped out his pipe. If he's not willing, then you figure out a way yourself. You're the one who stirred up this mess. Either you smooth things over with Su Gua so his family stops demanding money, or you get Zhao Taijun to cough up the cash. Either way, this family's got no spare money to hand over to the Zus. Before long, Cousin Shengli and I were up the mountain, walking inward along a narrow path. Su Gua, keep an eye on Da Huang up here. Whatever you do, don't let him run off. Cousin Shengli, don't worry. Cousin Shengli led the way up front, I followed behind, and Da Huang ambled along at my side. Right now we were at the mountain's outer edge. The ground was all overgrown with weeds and wild grass, and the two of us each carried a stick, beating at the brush as we slowly moved forward. Asterisk, this area is the safest. I'll take Su Gua on a pointless little stroll, wear out his stamina, and in a bit he'll want to head back on his own. Asterisk, Cousin Shengli calculated in his head. Just then, sharp-eyed me spotted a squirrel clutching a pine nut, crouched on a branch and peering down at the two of us, craning its head this way and that. The gray dog, as they call it, was scientifically a squirrel. More precisely, a Manchurian squirrel, palm-sized, quite a bit bigger than an ordinary one. I fished the slingshot out of my pocket, pinched a steel pellet, and took aim. Whoosh! The squirrel up in the tree toppled straight down and hit the ground without moving. Ding! Congratulations, host, on successfully hunting a squirrel. Reward, 1 beast taming point. The moment the system's ethereal chime sounded, I clenched my fist, a surge of heat in my chest. I pointed at the squirrel on the ground. Da Huang, go! Da Huang barked twice, ran over, snatched it up in his mouth, and trotted it right back to my feet. This whole chain of events happened in a flash of lightning, and Cousin Shengli was left utterly dumbfounded. He never would have imagined my eyes were this sharp. He hadn't even seen there was a squirrel nearby. And what shocked him even more, I'd only drawn the slingshot once. Draw it full, release, and that squirrel dropped right out of the tree. Sugua, you sly dog, hiding your talents. Who'd you learn the slingshot from? Your aim's downright freakish. Haha. I scratched my head. Played with it a lot as a kid. Hands haven't gone rusty. Impressive, impressive. Cousin Shingli gave me a thumbs up. Come on, I'll teach you how to process a squirrel. He took the squirrel, pulled out a small knife, and started skinning it from head to tail, explaining as he went. When you bag some game, to keep the gut from spoiling and stinking, the first thing is to process it fast. You don't want the innards or the offal. As he spoke, he tossed the offal to Da Huang off to the side. Da Huang wolfed it down in a hearty feast, eating with pure delight. Cousin Shengli tucked the processed squirrel meat into my bag and handed me the pelt. A squirrel pelt sells for 80 cents, as much as a worker earns in a day. Put it away safe. Once we're off the mountain, I'll teach you how to tan a hide. Okay. Thanks, Cousin Shengli. Thank me for what? We're family. Come on, let's keep wandering. We circled the outer edge woods for another 2 hours, and I dropped 2 more squirrels with the slingshot. This time Cousin Shengli skinned one, and I did the other myself. I learned fast. It was just that I had a little mishap with the skinning and nearly tore the pelt to shreds. If Cousin Shengli hadn't warned me, that hide would have been ruined. After trekking for 2 hours, the 2 of us stopped to rest. Cousin Shengli truly hadn't expected me to hold up this long, as if my frame were more than 10 times sturdier than his own. His bag was empty and slack, while 3 squirrels lay in mine. Cousin Shengli pulled out his field canteen, gulped down a couple of mouthfuls of cold water, and stared at me, baffled. I took the canteen and gulped down a couple myself. Cousin Shengli, why do you keep looking at me? Have I got flowers growing on my face? He waved a hand and smiled. I'm thinking, back then, if my dad hadn't sent me off to learn hunting, but had sent you instead, wouldn't our Sioux family's days have turned out bright and prosperous? This talent of mine was the kind you were born with. In Cousin Shengli's words, I was born to be a hunter. Right now, I was a piece of raw jade, and once I'd truly mastered running the mountain, this whole great mountain would be my back garden. Cousin Shengli, it's not too late even now. You teach in earnest, and I'll learn hard. Whatever we don't know, we'll figure out together. Cousin Shengli let out a couple of MMS, screwed the cap back on the canteen, and stood up. Come on, let's roam a bit more. As we walked along, Da Huang, at my feet, suddenly stopped and barked twice toward a tree. Woof, woof, woof. Cousin Shengli and I halted, and following his gaze we looked up. There was a hollow in the tree. I frowned. Could there be a squirrel in that hollow? I stepped back a few paces, climbed a tree beside it, and craned my head to peer into the hollow. 3 squirrels were curled up inside. My eyes lit up, and I slid back down the tree with a couple of whooshes. Well, any squirrels? There are. Cousin Shengli, 3 of them. They're a whole family. I was about to climb up and clean out the hollow when Cousin Shengli grabbed me and stopped me. I'll climb. I've got experience raiding squirrel holes. Those critters have wicked sharp claws. You've never done it and could easily get scratched up. Let me go? You keep watch down below, and if a squirrel comes darting out of the hole, you greet it with your slingshot. Okay, Cousin Shengli, be careful. Don't worry. The 2 of us divided up the work. Cousin Shengli wrapped his arms and palms tight with cloth strips, hugged the trunk, and slowly climbed up. Down below, I drew my slingshot full and stood ready. Cousin Shengli got a stable footing and silently reached his hand into the hollow. The 3 squirrels inside had no idea anyone had come to catch them. 2 of them turned tail and shot upward, while the remaining one stayed in the hole and raised a paw to claw at Cousin Shengli's hand. Luckily, he'd wrapped it in cloth beforehand. The sharp claws only tore through a layer of fabric, and before it could strike again, Cousin Shengli grabbed it by the tail and landed a punch square on its head, out cold on the spot. Sugua, those 2 ran up the tree. Cousin Shengli, I see them. I took aim at one climbing upward and released. Whoosh, the steel pellet split the air and struck it dead center. I immediately fished out another pellet, loaded the pouch, drew the slingshot full, and aimed at the other. A gentle release. Whoosh. The pellet hit it right between the eyes. Both squirrels crashed to the ground one after the other. Up in the tree, cousin Shengli watched with delight. Good, good. Nice shot. You've really got it, you rascal. He slid down the tree, and Da Huang carried the two squirrels over and set them down in front of me. The two of us took them, pulled out our knives, and chatted while we processed them. Su Gua, I reckon your Da Huang here might be a scent hound. Scent hound. I clicked my tongue. You serious? Da Huang. I'd made a contract with Da Huang partly to test whether the system was real, partly so I'd be safer taking him up the mountain. I hadn't thought along these lines at all. A so-called scent hound was a hunting dog with an extraordinarily keen nose. The top tier was called a head-up hound. It could catch the scent of prey in the air with a lift of its head and track it down. The next tier down was the head-down hound. It had to keep its nose to the ground, sniffing out the trail prey had left behind and following the scent. Out of 100 hunting dogs, it was hard to find even one scent hound, and a head-up hound was rarer still, like phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. Hearing his master hold him in such low regard, Da Huang barked at me a couple of times. Cousin Shengli said, Da Huang finding that Squirrel Hollow just now was absolutely no coincidence. As for which tier of scent hound he is, I can't say for sure, but there's a very good chance it's a head-up hound. Su Gua, if he really is a head-up hound, then you sly dog, have struck it rich. From now on when we hunt in the mountains, no prey will escape Da Huang's nose. I'd heard plenty about how formidable a head-up hound was. As long as a hunter had even one, he'd basically never want for food or drink again. I stared down at Da Huang. Cousin Shengli, why don't we test it? Let Da Huang walk out front and see if he can find prey on his own. I wanted to know, too, whether Da Huang, bound to me by the system's contract, really was a head-up hound. If he truly was, then I'd hit the jackpot. A head-up hound could sell for 200 yuan on the market, and 200 yuan in 1958 was enough to feed a family for 2 years. All right, the two of us slowed our pace, and I signaled Da Huang to walk out front. Da Huang tilted his neck back and thrust out his chest as he went, not lowering his head even once. We walked like that for a good 10 minutes, and Da Huang showed no reaction at all. No telling whether there was no prey nearby, or whether he simply wasn't a scent hound. Cousin Shengli and I traded a glance, and each read the same word in the other's eyes, puzzled. Cousin Shengli, could we have it wrong? Maybe Da Huang isn't any kind of scent hound at all. Maybe that was just a fluke earlier. Cousin Shengli was baffled too. Had he really misjudged? But back when he'd learned hunting from his master, he'd seen head-up hounds, and they'd been just as peculiar as Da Huang, extraordinarily sensitive to the scent of prey. It should be. Before he could finish, Da Huang, at our feet, suddenly started barking. Woof, woof, woof. His body arched, and he barked twice toward a clump of grass in a mountain hollow a dozen-some meters ahead. Rustle, rustle. The sound of an animal darting through fallen leaves and wild grass came through, and right after, a gray jumping cat burst into our field of view. The jumping cat took off at a dead run, and Da Huang barked twice and gave chase. Our faces lit up, and we hurried after them. The jumping cat was fast and knew the terrain, darting sideways, leaping, dodging, weaving, and Da Huang couldn't pounce on it at all. Just then, the jumping cat spotted an opening and shot north, running so frantically that it tripped headlong over a clump of wild grass and stumbled. Da Huang, right behind, lunged forward in a single bound, opened his bloody maw, and clamped down hard. His teeth pierced clean through the body. The jumping cat thrashed a couple of times, gave a kick with its hind legs, and went completely still. Blood dripped from the gaps in Da Huang's teeth onto the ground. Catching up to the scene, my eyes blazed. Right after, the system's ethereal chime sounded in my mind. Ding. Congratulations, host. Your beast Da Huang bit a hare to death. You gained 2 beast taming points. Da Huang, come here. Da Huang obediently walked over to me and let go, setting down the hare he'd killed. A jumping cat was just a hare. I picked it up and patted his head. Da Huang, look at you. Caught a jumping cat all on your own. The only pity was, the hare had 2 holes bitten into it, and the pelt was torn, so selling it would fetch a docked price. In 1958, hare pelt was worth far more than hare meat. I drew my small knife and skinned it as I spoke. Cousin Shengli, you guessed right. Da Huang's most likely a head-up hound. He sure is. Cousin Shengli nodded, his expression a little dazed. You've struck it rich, you rascal. The hunting dog a dog-drive hunter wants most is a head-up hound. For a dog-drive hunter, having a head-up hound to lead the pack could greatly raise the odds of the dog drive bringing down game. Many hunters had no head-up hound and could only settle for the next best thing, a head-down hound. And even a head-down hound was a sought-after prize in a dog drive. I remember Da Huang's mother wasn't a hunting hound. Cousin Xingli puzzled. How could he be a head-up hound? I knew the answer to that riddle full well. It most likely had to do with the beast taming system. But no one would believe the system business if I said it out loud, so I could only brush it off with a laugh. Probably just Da Huang being extraordinarily gifted. Here, Da Huang, I'll reward you with the hare meat. The hare pelt went into the bag, the meat tossed to Da Huang. He snapped it up in one bite and buried his head in a hearty feast. Man and dog roamed the area a good while longer, finding no trace of any other prey, and Da Huang didn't catch any scent either. The two of us glanced up at the sky. Cousin Xingli said, Su Gua, let's head back. Another hour, and it'll be dark. We've got no gun and no torch. Once night falls, the mountains are too dangerous. Okay, Cousin Xingli, then let's go back. Man and dog headed outward. Over the whole afternoon, the two of us had collected 6 squirrels in total. For mine, 2 Cousin Xingli's. Cousin Xingli had originally just planned to walk me around the mountain aimlessly, but looking at it now, I really was more cut out for this line of work than he'd thought. A whole afternoon walking 3 or 4 hours in the mountains without resting, and I hadn't cried tired, even once. More precisely, there wasn't the slightest sign of tiredness in me at all, whereas his first time running the mountain with his master had nearly worked him to death. Back in the day, roaming all over the mountain after his master, Cousin Xingli had never had the spare energy to notice what prey was up there, what tracks there were, or how the terrain lay. His whole mind had been consumed with his own wheezing, like a broken bellows. Su Gua, how'd it feel this afternoon? I scratched my head. It felt pretty good. Cousin Xingli. Before I could finish, I noticed Cousin Xingli's gaze had gone fixed. Following it, up in a tree on a small hillside ahead hung a beehive. A bee's nest. The hive was 5 meters off the ground, hanging from the trunk. My eyes lit up. Cousin Xingli, the mountain god, is granting us a meal. We even run into a bee's nest on the way back. The comb honey in a bee's nest was sweet and thick and could be sold at the commune. Comb honey was brewed by bees from 100 flowers, natural, pure, with a taste even better than ordinary honey. Cousin Xingli let out a dry laugh. Gone soft in the head. We didn't bring any honey-gathering gear up the mountain. Mark this spot, and we'll come back tomorrow. The two of us were walking up the hillside, meaning to leave a marker nearby, when a burst of talking drifted into our ears. Big brother, come quick. There's a beehive here. Lu Goen pressed up under the hive and shouted excitedly at Lu Guoping. Coming. Lu Guoping walked over with the sinew-and-horned bough on his back, sizing up the hive in the tree. This one's a good size. Our trip up the mountain today wasn't for nothing after all. Lu Goen rubbed his hands together. Big brother, we take out the comb honey and sell it at the commune. It'll fetch 20 or 30 yuan for sure. Then what are we waiting for? Rate it. The two of them set down their back baskets and dug out netting from inside. Drape this over your head, and it could block most of the bees. You dare snatch it out from under us? Hidden behind them, I caught this scene, and before they'd finished getting suited up, I raised my slingshot and aimed at the hive. Whoosh. The steel pellet hit the hive dead center and nearly knocked it down. Bees-easy, bees-easy, bees-easy. The bees in the hive poured out in a swarm. The two under the tree hadn't gotten their netting on yet. Seeing the bees surge toward them in a black mass, they shuddered all over. Their legs gave out, and they both plopped down on the ground in a heap. The bees didn't stand on ceremony. They went straight for Lu Goen and Lu Guoping. They showed no mercy to intruders, charging, and even though driving in their venomous stingers meant their own deaths. Not my head, not my head. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. My face, it's killing me. The two of them scrambled and rolled, screaming as they ran, their faces and scalps covered in welts. Hidden off to the side, Cousin Xingli and I covered our mouths and snickered. Ever since that whole business yesterday afternoon, the bad blood between our Su family and the Lu family had been well and truly set. Once Lu Goen and Lu Guoping had been chased off by the bees and vanished from sight, the two of us finally crawled out of the brush. The sinew-and-horned bough lay dropped on the ground. I walked over, picked it up, and examined it closely. The horned face was smooth, the sinew back rough, the bough limbs recurved, a rustic simplicity with a tension coursing through it. I'd heard long ago that the Lu family had a fine ancestral bough, but I never expected it would fall into my hands this effortlessly. I drew it full, feeling the elasticity and force, and got a rough sense of the bough's weight. It could draw around 100 jin, with an effective range of 50 meters at the outside. Su Gua, this is a fine bough. Cousin Xingli clicked his tongue. Way better than the one I've got. He shot a glance in the direction the Lu brothers had fled. Su Gua, let's clear out fast. Forget the hive in the tree for now. If those two brothers come back, they'll definitely try to grab the bough. Getting away is what matters. No rush, cousin Shengli. Lu Guoping and his brother got stung by the bees that bad. They won't dare come back within the half hour, I said. Let's figure out a way to get the hive down. We can't let those two off cheap. I thought of an old method for driving off bees. I walked over, gathered a pile of dry kindling, casually pulled up some deer sedge from the ground, lit it, and ignited the kindling. The fire quickly blazed up, and I pulled up several clumps of wild grass, roots and soil and all, and laid them on the fire. Before long, thick smoke came rolling up. Once the smoke smothered it, the bees in the hive buzzed out one after another, circling wildly around the nest. Seeing the bees had mostly flown off, I braced the bag underneath the hive and handed it to Cousin Shengli. Cousin Shengli, you hold the bag below to catch it, and I'll knock the hive down with my slingshot. Will that work? Cousin Shengli took the bag, his face full of doubt. I grinned. Let's give it a try. I drew the slingshot full and aimed at the knot where the hive hung from the trunk. 2 steel pellets struck it, the hive rocked twice, and the bees around it buzzed even more fiercely. I fired 2 more, the hive dropped with a plop. Ding. Congratulations, host, on successfully harvesting a bee's nest. Reward, 2 bees taming points. The free-falling hive landed squarely in Cousin Shengli's bag. Looking at the hive inside, his eyes crinkled with a smile. Amazing, Sugwa. That head of yours really works, you rascal. Come on, let's clear out fast. The 2 of us gripped the bag tight and left with our feet barely touching the ground. On the way back, we took the hive out and cut 10 blocks of comb honey with the small knife, 5 each. Looking at the honey glistening clear within the comb blocks, Cousin Shengli sighed with feeling. Sugwa, today's all thanks to you. Otherwise it'd have been another wasted day. What are you talking about, Cousin Shengli? We're family. Besides, we just got lucky today, the mountain god granting us a meal. We just happened to stumble onto a bee's nest, that's all. True enough, we're all family. Cousin Shengli nodded. Out of the mountains, the 2 of us parted ways. As he left, Cousin Shengli didn't forget to remind me. Hide that bough well. Don't let the Lu family see it, or you'll give them something to gossip about. Understood. Meanwhile, my mom, Qin Xiaowan, came home shouldering her back basket. Only a few pairs of the layered sole cloth shoes in the basket had sold. Today's haul was dismal. She'd sold just 2 pairs, earning 30 cents, and after deducting the cost of the labor and the insoles, the profit that actually landed in hand was about 10 cents. A whole day of toil, 10 cents. But my mom was used to it. Not going to sell would earn even less. Youngest. She stood in the yard and called a couple of times, but no one answered. Thinking I'd fallen asleep, she went to the north room for a look. No one on the comm. Where did the youngest go? She swept her eyes around the yard and noticed the dog in the northwest corner was gone too. The dog's gone too? Recalling how I'd asked her for money this morning and she hadn't given it, then connecting it to the family's dog being missing too, a bold notion sprang up. The youngest sold the dog? Right then, the courtyard gate creaked open. I walked in with Da Huang, back basket on my back, bag over my shoulder. Mom, what are you talking about? How could I possibly sell Da Huang? Isn't that right, Da Huang? Seeing me shouldering the back basket, carrying the sinew and horn bough and a bag, my mom's eyes went wide and she came forward to meet me. Youngest, where'd you go? Why are you lugging a back basket? What's in the bag? A whole string of questions. Unhurried, I answered. What else would I be doing? Went up the mountain, of course. Went up with Cousin Shengli. The moment I said it, even with all her mental preparation, my mom went pale with fright and nearly rolled her eyes back and fainted. How could you go up the mountain with your Cousin Shengli? Do you have any idea how dangerous the mountains are? Your dad and I have only you, this one son. Do you want the 2 of us living in dread every single day? Tuanjia village was connected to 7 or 8 surrounding villages, all backed up against the Great Mountain. Every year you'd hear word of some hunter dying up there. Mom, I'm fine, aren't I? I grinned and opened the bag, pulling out the skinned squirrel pelts one by one, plus the squirrel meat. For cuts of meat, for pelts. Mom, take a look, top-grade squirrel pelts. And these, squirrel meat, first rate. How about we eat squirrel meat tonight? Mom smacked me and stamped her foot in anger. All you ever think about is eating. Don't go up the mountain again, all right? I grinned. No can do. Mom, hear me out. Creak. The courtyard gate sounded again. My dad Su Pingyan, who worked at the brickyard, was back from his shift. Dad, you're home. My dad came in, saw something was off with my mom's face. Kid's mother, what's wrong? Then he shot me a glare. You riling up your mom again, boy? Dad, I didn't. I spread my hands, all innocence. I'd only just gotten home. When would I have had time to rile Mom up? What's going on? Your son went hunting up the mountain with Shengli. Just got back. The words were barely out before my dad's face went dark, his eyes darting around. Dad, what are you looking for? A stick. A thick one. I broke into a sweat. Dad, can we talk this out nicely if something comes up? I'm your one and only son, after all. My dad snorted. So you do know you're the only son? If something happened to you, would your mom and I even go on living? Haven't you heard a hunter died up the mountain just the other day? Dad, that was somebody else, not me. Death up the mountain was a common thing. Nobody could guarantee they'd go in, definitely bag some prey, and come back out in one piece. Even the finest gunner or hunt leader couldn't promise a safe return every single time. You've still got the nerve to talk back? At least other people know a bit of the mountain running rules. They've paid respects to a master, learned the craft, got a foundation. And you? You know nothing. A green-headed fool. And you dare go up the mountain with your cousin Shengli. My dad got angrier the more he spoke. Did your cousin Shengli take you up there? I'm going straight to your uncle's. Looks like your cousin Shengli's hide is itching again. I'll have your uncle loosen it up for him. Me. Dad. I begged cousin Shengli to take me. It's got nothing to do with him. I was genuinely afraid my dad would run off and file this complaint with big Uncle Su Pingjun. One word, and cousin Shengli was sure to get a thrashing. My dad snorted. I knew that Shengli boy didn't have the guts for it. We'll let it slide this once. But go up the mountain again, and I'll break your legs, you hear? Far from being upset, I gave a little chuckle instead. Dad, even if you break my legs, I'm still going up the mountain. I just want to make my living at this alongside cousin Shengli. Going up the mountain was something I was dead set on. Without hunting, the beast taming system would go to waste. Reborn once against all odds. With 2 systems in my pocket, no way was I letting that go to waste. My mom stamped her foot and gave me a smack. Youngest, is your head full of water? You just got to go up the mountain? What's so great about it? Once the Lius pay back the money, we get someone to find you a steady job in the county. Isn't that better? You going up the mountain every day? Do you want your dad and me hanging in suspense forever? I understood my parents' worries. The family had only me, this one lone seedling. If some disaster befell me, the family line would be cut off. Of the 3 unfilial acts, having no heir is the gravest. And in the still futile thinking of 1958, if the line truly ended, the whole family would be pointed at behind their backs for the rest of their lives. Puff, puff. My dad pulled out his pipe, tamped in some shredded tobacco, struck a match, took a couple of drags, and blew out a cloud of smoke. Kid's father, look at the time, and you've still got the mind to smoke. My dad ignored my mom, took 2 hard drags, tapped the pipe against the ground, and spoke in an even tone. Youngest, you really want to make your living running the mountain? Don't rush to answer. Think it over carefully. I mulled a moment. Dad, I've thought it through. Our family can't stay poor forever. Keep going poor like this, and there's no living to be had. On the surface, our family had been eating meat these past couple of days, but really, that meat was snatched from the Lu house. Day to day, it was invariably wild vegetable cakes and wild vegetable porridge. We didn't even dare put much oil in a stir-fry. In the village, we weren't the worst off, but we were far from the best. The burden of building up this family has fallen on me. If I don't climb up in my own generation, it'll only be harder for my son to build it up in the future. My dad nodded, granting me that point. Each generation gives the next a boost up. Without the older generation propping you up from below, the climb only goes slower. All right then, as long as you've thought it through. Since you've chosen to run the mountain, your old man's going to set you a target. My dad paused. Within 1 week, bring me back a dumb roe deer. Pull it off, and from then on your mom and I will let you run the mountain as you please. Fail, and it means you've got no talent for this line of work, so you'll go find a steady job in the county like a good boy. I scratch my head. Dad, and if I do pull it off, can I use that 200 yuan to buy a hunting rifle? The corner of my dad's mouth twitched. The money wasn't even in hand yet, and he was already scheming over it. Fine, as long as you pull it off, I'll buy you a hunting rifle. Dad, then it's settled. Bag a dumb roe deer within 1 week, and you give me the money for a gun. I rubbed my hands together in excitement. Bagging a dumb roe deer within a week was no great feat. Head of the house, you. My dad cut Mom off, taking the squirrel meat from my hands. Your mom and I will go make dinner. The 2 of them ducked into the kitchen. Kid's father, did you really agree to it? My dad patted Mom's shoulder and dropped his voice. Don't worry, I've got a plan. Our son couldn't possibly bag a dumb roe deer. A roe deer may be dumb, but plenty of hunters don't catch a single one all year round. Besides, our son's a stubborn mule. If we don't let him give it a shot, Who knows what other mischief he'll cook up later. Once these 7 days are up and he's tasted the hardship himself, we won't have to say a word. He'll understand on his own. From the very start, my dad had been against my mountain running. But as the saying goes, better to channel than to dam. Rather than block me by force, better to set terms like just now. My mom's eyes lit up and she gave my dad a pat. Head of the house, your head really is the sharpest. But what if the youngest actually pulls it off? My dad slapped his thigh. Then all the better. It means our son's cut out for it. And I'll let him go run the mountain. Then, enough, stop fretting so much. What's meant to be his is his. We can't stop it. If he's truly got the fate for it, let him knock himself out. If he hasn't, we as his parents will be his safety net, so it won't end in a total mess. Now let's cook. My mom let out an poured some oil into the wok, and once it was hot, dropped in the sliced squirrel meat. The meat's aroma quickly shot up with a whoosh, fragrant and mouth-watering. Kid's father, I've got to say, this squirrel meat's really fragrant stir-fried. Meanwhile, Lu Guoping and Lu Goen came home with heads full of welts. Seeing her two sons in this state, Su Lihua shot to her feet with a cry. Io, what did you two get up to? Why are your faces covered in welts? Lu Xiaojun heard the commotion and came out of the house, his brow furrowing. How'd you get stung this bad by bees? Didn't I give you two the netting? He'd raided hives himself wearing the netting. It could block most of the bees, and even if you got stung, you wouldn't end up with big welts all over your head and face. Either they'd been stung by hornets, or something had gone wrong in the middle. Did you two provoke hornets? Asked directly, neither of them made a sound. Lu Xiaojun stamped his foot in agitation. I'm asking you two. Speak. Dad, the sinuous horned bow is lost. The moment those words came out, Lu Xiaojun nearly fainted, saved only by Su Lihua steadying him from behind. How'd you lose it? Why didn't you two lose yourselves instead? Never mind the welts on his sons' faces. Lu Xiaojun was so furious he dealt each of them a slap. Slap, slap. Lu Guoping and Lu Goen clutched their faces and howled. The bee venom hadn't even faded, and now taking a slap on top of it, the sting was something else entirely. Speak. How'd you lose the sinuous horned bow? The two of them gave a quick account. They found the hive, and just as they were about to put on the netting to gather honey, the bees inside all suddenly flew out and swarmed them with a fierce round of stinging. Only after they'd been stung and driven off did they remember the bow was left under the hive. A dozen some minutes later, they'd steeled their nerve and gone back, only to find a pile of dry kindling embers on the ground, and the hive in the tree and the bough beneath it both long gone. The two of them figured a hunter nearby must have picked it up. With night falling, they had no time to search and hurried off the mountain. The more Lu Xiaojun listened, the angrier he got, and he raised his hand to strike again. The two brothers both took a step back in unison. An ancestral sinuous horn bow, worth 20 or 30 yuan, lost just like that by two clowns. Asterisk high asterisk, what a disaster. Over at my family's place, my mom crushed coarse salt with the back of her knife, scattered it into the wok, stir-fried the squirrel meat, and dished it out. That night, the three of us went at this plate of stir-fried squirrel meat. I have to say my mom's cooking was as good as ever, fried up wonderfully fragrant. The three of us ate with grease running down our chins, and my parents especially. Not a scrap wasted, chewing the bones several times over before they were willing to spit them out. Eating meat was a luxury these days. Ordinarily, when you finally got some meat after so long, you wanted to crack the bones and suck out the marrow, not letting even a speck of oil go to waste. Watching this, my heart ached a little. Mom, tomorrow I'll bring back a few more squirrels. From now on you won't have to chew bones. After dinner, I took out 2 blocks of comb honey and handed them to my parents. Dad, Mom, have a taste of the comb honey I harvested today. The two of them took them with smiles and bit off a few mouthfuls of the sweet honey, hearts full of delight. Delicious, sweeter than rock sugar. But after 2 bites they both stopped eating. Instead, they had me fetch the water canteen and press the remaining comb honey blocks between 2 clean wooden boards, the golden honey slowly dripping into the canteen. Once the blocks were squeezed dry, my mom gave the canteen a shake. Too sweet. Eating it straight is a waste. Steeped in water, it's just right. This whole canteen's all sweet. Tomorrow morning, we can keep drinking sweet water. The family was poor, and my mom couldn't bear to eat honey straight. She felt it was squandering money. At bottom, it was all poverty's doing. Back in my room, I dug out a few large glass jars and pressed the honey from the remaining blocks out bit by bit with a board. It was slow work, the golden honey dripping into the jars drop by drop. Da Huang wagged his tail and edged over beside me. His hungry look downright comical. No sooner had he stuck out his tongue to lick than I booted him away. Go play somewhere else. This isn't for you to eat. In 1958, sugar was a rare thing. Even with a ration coupon in hand, white sugar and brown sugar were hard to come by, which drove up the price of all sweet goods. Honey was another scarce supplementary food. Buying it at the supply marketing co-op cost 6 to 8 cents a jean, plus you had to throw in an industrial coupon. Selling it to the co-op, the buyback price was 3 to 6 cents, but taken to the black market, a jean could sell for a whole yuan and two. The former was the proper path. The latter, in these times, was called profiteering. But a man doesn't get rich without a windfall, and a horse doesn't fatten without night fodder. The bold eat their fill, the timid starve. Once the blocks were all squeezed dry, they filled 3 big jars to the brim, a good 8 jean or so. Watching Da Huang pant with his tongue out, going slurp, slurp in his hungry state, I tossed him the squeezed-out blocks. There was still plenty of honey clinging to them. Da Huang clamped down in one bite and tore into it with big, joyful chomps. Once he'd finished, I shooed him back to his kennel, shut the door tight, and swiped open the system panel. Host, Sugua, Beast Taming System / Blind Box System. Beast 1, Da Huang. Beast Taming Points, 18. The system had originally granted 50 points. Contracting Da Huang had cost 40. Today I'd bagged 4 squirrels and 1 jumping cat, plus a bee's nest. One afternoon, 8 beast taming points earned in all. Looking at this pitiful little balance, I gave a helpless, wry smile. A long road ahead. Lying on the Kong, I swiped open the blind box system again and gazed at the empty box slots. Tomorrow I'll make a trip to the black market, sell the 8 jean of honey, and go all in. I refuse to believe I'll never open anything good. I've got to go all in. Riding that go-for-broke spirit, I drifted off into sleep. Early the next morning I got up early, and after eating I hurried to the North River, finding the spot where I'd set the fish trap yesterday morning. I poked at the water weeds a couple of times with a stick and peered down through the clear surface. Crouched inside the dead-end fish trap was a water dog. Holy hell! How'd this critter get into the fish trap? I hurriedly scooped the trap up and stared at the water dog inside, the otter, and sank into thought. The fish in the trap had all been bitten dead and eaten by it, with only half a crucian carp body and a few scraps of meat floating around. Seeing this, I figured it out at once. Most likely the fish swam into the trap first. Then the water dog in the river discovered there were fish inside, followed them in, bit them dead, and ate them. Once it was done and wanted to leave, it found it couldn't get out. That was the whole trick of the dead-end trap. Only in, never out. Once you're in, getting back out is flat out impossible. Ding. Congratulations, host, on encountering a bindable beast, the water dog. Would the host like to forcibly contract bind the water dog? Only 120 beast taming points needed. I rolled my eyes. 120 beast taming points. Why don't you just go rob someone? Robbing points would definitely be faster than this. I swiped open the water dog's 6-stat panel. Breed, Northeastern water dog / otter. Speed, 10 kilometers per hour. Bite force, 20 kilograms. Weight, 7 kilograms. Body length, 70 centimeters. Affinity, 0. Looking at that affinity sprawled flat on the floor, I rolled my eyes again. You're really something, you little thing. A force contract still costs 120. Should I skin you and sell the pelt for money, or raise you a few days first, see if your affinity climbs, and then contract bind you? Contracting an otter was more benefit than harm to me. An otter is amphibious, a top-tier fisher. With one, the family would never lack for fish to eat. In 1958, fish weren't worth much. They had a strong fishy smell that had to be masked with heavy spices and oil, and heavy oil and spices weren't something an ordinary household could keep on hand, so fish prices were pressed low. On the black market, a jean of crucian carp went for just 35 cents. But I figured, one more path is one more way to make a living, and in the end I made up my mind. Raise it. I wrapped my hands in cloth, took the otter out of the trap, wrapped it in black cloth so it couldn't scratch wildly, then sank the empty trap back into the river. Here's hoping when I come raise the trap tomorrow, it's not another water dog. I took the water dog home and put it in a small water vat. The water in the vat came up right to the top of its head, and it scrabbled its paws about trying to climb out, but there was no escaping this. Sugua, you caught a water dog? Cousin Shungli's voice suddenly rang out behind me, giving me a start. Cousin Shungli, do you walk without making a sound? You'll scare a person to death. I patted my chest, still shaken. Just now I'd been so fixed on the water dog in the vat that I hadn't heard him come in at all. Sugua, you rascal, do you even know a single water dog pelt sells for 30 or 40 yuan? Cousin Shungli pointed at the vat, his eyes blazing. Where'd you catch it? Set a fish trap in the North River, and ended up trapping this. Cousin Xingli nodded. Then your luck's good enough. This critter's worth way more than fish. How about I help you skin it? I've learned to skin water dogs. I guarantee I'll skin it clean and pretty for you. How's that? Cousin Xingli, I want to raise it, see if I can tame it, get it to go down into the river and catch fish for me. The moment I said this, Cousin Xingli felt I'd lost my mind. He'd heard of taming dogs, taming wolves, taming monkeys, but he'd flat out never heard of taming a water dog. Could this little thing be tamed? More likely, put it in the river and it'd dive under with a splash and vanish for good. Seeing the disbelief all over Cousin Xingli's face, I hurried to change the subject. Cousin Xingli, let's not go up the mountain today. I want to make a trip to the commune black market and sell the honey. Great minds think alike. Honey doesn't keep. We've got to unload it fast. Last night the two of us had each split 5 honey blocks, and the first thing Cousin Xingli did on getting home was squeeze the honey into glass jars. His coming to find me this morning was also to talk over selling the honey at the black market. Well then, quit dawdling. Shall we set off now? Sure, let me grab the jars and we'll go. Inside, I stacked the honey jars into my back basket, cushioning the bottom and sides with deer sedge, then tucked the sinew horn bough and the arrows smeared with the special anesthetic into the basket as well. Basket on my back, the two of us set off on foot toward Hongqi Commune. No sooner had we left the house than we ran into Chunda, the brigade leader, driving an ox cart on the road. I hurried to call out, Uncle Chun, where you headed? Chunda swept a glance over the two of us. The biggest thing in the village these past couple of days was the feud between the Liu family and the Su family. The two families had escalated to sworn enemies, and if he, the brigade leader, hadn't stepped in to mediate, they'd probably still be brawling right now. I'm off to the commune. Got to pick up the sent-down youths today. Where are you two headed? The commune had been established half a year ago, and the village had to actively respond to the higher-ups' policy and receive the educated youths sent down to settle in the countryside. Yesterday, word had come from the commune telling him to go pick them up. Having gotten the message, Chunda hadn't even slept soundly last night. This morning after eating, he'd gone to the livestock shed, let out an ox and hitched it to the cart, and set off for the commune. And as luck would have it, ran into the two of us on the way. Hearing he was headed to the commune, the two of us were delighted. Uncle Chun, give us a lift? We're going to the commune too. How about it? You two are going to the commune as well? Chunda looked us up and down and nodded. All right, hop on. But I'll say it up front. This cart's for picking up the sent-down youths, and on the way back it'll be full of people, so you two aren't to squeeze in, you hear? Understood, understood. We climbed onto the ox cart, and the three of us chatted as we ambled leisurely toward Hongqi Commune. Seeing the two of us clutching our back baskets so nervously, Chunda got curious. What are you two up to? Acting all shifty. Got something you can't show hidden in the basket? Uncle Chun, how could that be? I opened the basket and lifted out a honey jar. It's honey in here. I'm just afraid the road's bumps will crack the jars, that's all. Uncle Chun, come have a taste. Chunda swallowed and took a couple of tastes. Once he'd eaten, even the way he looked at me changed. Asterisk, this kid's not bad. Knows how to work a room. I like him. Asterisk. Truly sweet. You two are going into the commune to sell honey, aren't you? Selling a little honey to help the household. Dug it out of the mountain. Yeah, Cousin Xingli dug it out, just happened onto it. Chunda glanced at Cousin Xingli, silent as a corked bottle. As brigade leader, he knew every household in the village inside out. He'd heard that Cousin Xingli had learned hunting for 3 years under a formidable gunner and only returned to the village this May, and since coming back had run the mountain day after day. Chunda took a couple of drags on his pipe, blew a smoke ring, narrowed his eyes, and changed the subject. Sugua, how are things with the Liu family? They haven't stirred up any mischief these past couple of days, have they? No, they haven't got the guts for it. Good. Today's day 2. Once tomorrow's passed, I'll go over to their place with you and nail down this 200 yuan business. After all, it's no small sum. All right, then thanks in advance, Uncle Chun. Uncle Chun, this honey's good. Hand me your canteen and I'll pour you some. You can drink honey water. Chunda handed over the canteen with a smile. The more he looked at me, the more he liked what he saw. Asterisk, this kid really knows how to work a room. Asterisk. 2.5 hours later, we finally reached Hongqi Commune. The two of us bid Uncle Chun goodbye and climbed off with our baskets. We still had to head 3 kilometers north to the black market on the commune's north side. Lugging the baskets for half an hour, we finally reached the black market's vicinity. It was tucked away in a small stand of trees. Cousin Xingli, let's be careful. Mask our faces so we don't get pegged. I pulled out a piece of black cloth and handed it to Cousin Xingli. He took it and tied it over his face, covering the lower half, leaving the upper half exposed. Come on, into the black market. At the entrance, two black market managers guarding the gate stopped us and rubbed their fingers together. Cousin Shengli fished 5 cents out of his pocket and handed it over with a smile. They let us through, adding offhandedly, "Don't cause trouble." "Understood, understood." The two of us answered and went into the black market. Inside it was about what I'd imagined, same as ever, no loud shouting allowed, dealings only in hushed voices. Walking through, there were no small number of stalls, selling all sorts, only there wasn't much meat. Made sense, come to think of it. Even if a meat peddler set up a stall, it'd probably be snatched clean fast. Meat was still too precious. The two of us found a tree and crouched down, setting the baskets aside, and first pulled out 1 jar of honey, keeping the rest hidden in the baskets. Before long, someone came to ask the price. A middle-aged man in a Zhongshan suit and glasses stepped up. Honey. Judging by his getup, I could roughly tell the man wasn't short on cash and could afford honey, so I nodded. Freshly squeezed honey. Taste before you buy, a yuan and 2 per jean, and if it's not sweet you don't pay. Want a taste? The middle-aged man was taken aback. Not sweet, don't pay? It was the first time he'd seen anyone do business like this. Wasn't he afraid some schemer would rip him off on purpose? He took a couple of tastes and nodded. How much for this jar? I pointed at the jar. This jar's 3 jean, glass jar included. 3 yuan 8, and it's yours. 3 yuan 8. He frowned. How much more have you got? 6 more jars. 6 jars? 3 jean each. The other 5 are 1 jars, just 1 jean. All right then, I'll take all 6 jars. Pack them up for me. I'll leave the half jar. You got it. I broke into a cheerful smile, hurriedly pulled the remaining 5 jars out of Cousin Shungli's basket and mine, gathered up 6 jars, and handed them over. He took them and handed me 23 yuan, 2 cents over. Keep the 2 cents. No need for change. Let's be friends, he said. Next time you've got honey, you can come find me at the county textile mill. I'll buy it at a yuan and 3. Oh, and my name's Lu Zhihui. With that, he pulled down the black cloth on his face. Cousin Shengli and I took ours off too. Su Gua. I gave my name. This is my cousin, Su Shengli. All right, next time you've got honey, come find me again. After Lu Zhihui left carrying his 6 jars, I pulled out 12 yuan and handed it to Cousin Shengli. Cousin Shengli, this is yours. No, that's too much. Cousin Shengli waved his hands over and over. We sold it for 23 total, 12's too much to give me. Besides, this honey's yours to begin with, since you're the one who brought it down. Give me 5, and that's plenty. Hearing this warmed my heart. Cousin Shengli was still the same Cousin Shengli, honest and dutiful, no scheming. An outsider would have pocketed it good and quick. Since he could say that, there was no way I could actually do it. What 5? I'm giving you 10. I took back 2 yuan and stuffed 10 into his arms. Cousin, take it. From here on, our days are going to keep getting better. Cousin Shengli took it, let out an and tucked it into his pocket. Just then, a middle-aged woman stepped up. Comrade, this half jar of honey, how much? Auntie, it's a yuan and 2 per jean. There's still a jean in here, so with the jar it's a yuan and 3 altogether. How's that sound? The middle-aged woman hesitated a moment, then nodded. All right, a yuan and 3 it is. Young comrade, next time you've got honey, save more for me. I'll take it all. My daughter's due to give birth soon and wants sweets. Buying white or brown sugar at the co-op takes an industrial coupon, so there's nothing for it but to come poke around the black market. Never expected to actually run into a young comrade selling honey. Hearing this, I agreed with a smile. Sure, Andy, next time I've got honey I'll set aside a few jean for you. Where do you live? When I've got the time I'll deliver it to you specially. My home's right here at the commune. But my daughter's staying at the county hospital and I watch over her every day. If you want to find me, just come to the county hospital. My name's Chen Jiying. Young comrade, what are you two called? Su Gua. This is my cousin Su Shengli. So you two are cousins. No wonder you look a bit alike. Chen Jiying chatted with me a while, paid up, and left carrying the last half jar of honey. Money collected, the two of us shouldered our baskets and made 2 rounds of the black market, wanting to buy some new cloth and jars. But after roaming a good while, we came up with nothing. There were cloth sellers, but it was all coarse old fabric, sitting who knows how many years, so oxidized the cloth would rot within a few months of wear. Pure ripoff. The two of us went out the black market's main gate and headed off into the distance. Just then, I glimpsed a few dark shapes flash up ahead, and the corner of my mouth curved into an imperceptible smile. Sure enough, we'd been pegged after all. I leaned in and muttered a couple of words in Cousin Shengli's ear. He went wide-eyed and peered ahead a few times, but saw nothing. Su Gua, how about we take a detour? Cousin Shengli, what detour? This is the fastest way to make money. Robbery on the road? I rubbed my fists together, itching to give it a try. Perfect chance to test the weight of my own punch. After the genetic enhancement remade my body, I hadn't tried my hand on a person yet. This punch coming down, just how much force would it have? The two of us carried wariness in our hearts, but wore perfectly calm faces, walking on chatting and laughing. About 500 meters out of the black market, the 5 men quietly tailing us behind dropped the act and let out a great shout. "You two little bastard brats up front, stop right there. Oh, here it comes." The two of us turned to look. 5 men gripping sticks stared us down in a row, and one of them even shook his stick and spat on the ground. "Two brothers, us fellas have been a bit short on cash lately. Lend the money to us brothers to loosen up our hands a little." Oh, straight to the point, not even bothering to pretend. Cousin Shengli watched them warily, instinctively picking up a stick from the ground, glaring back fiercely and shoving me twice. "Sugwa, take the money and run, I'll hold them off." I shook my head. "Cousin, run where? They're the ones who should run." Hearing this big talk, the 5 across from us clutched their bellies and burst out laughing. "What's he saying? They're the ones who should run? Little brother, you really are a riot. Hurry up and hand over the money. Spare yourself a beating." I shrugged. "How'd you peg me?" "How'd we peg you?" The man laughed. "Think I'm stupid? That's a secret. Why would I tell you?" I shook my head. "Fine. Won't tell? Then I'll beat you into telling. Little brother, we're only after money, not lives. Hand it over quick." Watching the 5 rush forward, I suddenly shouted, "Hold on." The 5. "Cousin Shengli, you got something else to say?" How much money have you all got in your pockets combined right now?" The moment I said this, the 5 froze in unison. One of them, a big tall guy, blurted out, "We've got 12 yuan between us." 12 yuan? Not bad. Enough to make it worth my while to throw down once. "You big idiot. Why waste breath with him?" the leader cursed. "Brothers, get him. Take his money." Cousin Shengli grabbed my arm. "Su Gua run al." I shook off his hand and strode toward the 5. They swung their sticks down. I threw a punch into one of the sticks, and right after, with a crack, the stick snapped clean. Sweet. I let out a secret sweet. Powerful. This enhanced and remade body really packs it. Strength I can't use up coursing through me. The 5 were all dumbstruck. A stick as thick as a wrist, snapped by a fist? Was that something a human could do? You've got to be kidding. Before they could come to their senses, my fists were already greeting their faces and bellies. Elbow to the face, foot to the groin. In the blink of an eye, the 5 went down in a row, clutching their beaten spots and bawling their eyes out. A snotty, tearful wail, utterly pitiful. They were left with just one sensation. Pain, so much pain. This was nothing like a force a normal person could deliver. Behind me, Cousin Shengli swallowed and wiped the dense sweat beading on his forehead. Since when could Sugwa fight like this? Who'd he learn it from? No, Sugwa couldn't fight. He relied on brute force. 1 measure of strength beats 10 of skill. "Sugwa, are your fists all right?" Cousin Shengli came up close, eyeing my fists with concern. "HM, no broken skin? They're fine." I shook out my fists. Handling these 5 brats, easy as pie. I grabbed one of them by the collar and grinned. "Cough up the money." The man stiffened his neck, his face flushing red. "Cough. Cough up what money?" "Medical fees, appearance fees, emotional damage fees." Hearing me rattle off this string of terms, Cousin Shengli and the 5 robbers were all baffled. These terms, how come they'd never heard them? What are you spacing out for? "Cough up the money." I dealt him a slap. Slap. The smack rang crisp, and a bright red handprint rose up on his face. The man clutched his face. "Good sir, how much?" "Not much, just 12 yuan." With that, I revealed a devilish smile. Only then did the 5 catch on. No wonder I'd asked how much money they had on them just now. So this was what I'd been waiting for. Truly one link tied to the next, link after link. The 5 still wanted to haggle, to get me to ask for less. But I couldn't be bothered to dawdle with them. My enormous palm answered for me. 5 slaps in. The 5 went obedient at once, no longer bringing up price cutting, and scraped together 12 yuan. I snatched it away and said, all smiles, "Thanks, fellas. Next time you've got a chance, do please keep robbing me. Only next time, remember to bring enough money, or I won't be kind enough to let you off." I paused. "Oh, almost forgot. Who tipped you off about me?" "Nobody tipped us off." The leader looked at me in fear. "We just happened to spot you too. Figured you had money on you, and got the notion to rob you. Borrow a little to spend. Only we never expected." The more he said, the worse he felt. Getting the picture, I let out a couple of laughs. Here I'd thought these 5 had someone behind them. Turns out they were just a bunch of greenhorns. Well, chalk it up to their rotten luck. running into a freak like me their first time in the trade. Scramming right now. The five scrambled off on all fours. Cousin Xingli, let's get going too. Let's go. Cousin Xingli didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Sugua, now I finally get what you said earlier. This really is the fastest way to make money. And you can rob the robbers in reverse, you sly dog, hiding your talents. But be careful next time all the same. If we run into someone with a knife or gun, we'd still best flee out of respect. Cousin, I get it, I'm not stupid. The second they flash a gun, I wouldn't dare pull this kind of stunt either. The two of us headed south all the way back to Hongqi Commune, first finding someone to swap for some grain coupons and industrial coupons. That cost me 5 yuan. Coupons in pocket, the two of us went into the supply and marketing co-op. I bought matches and a gelding knife, all essential gear for hunting, then asked for 5 jin of white flour and 5 jin of dachazi, handing over 5 yuan and 8 jin of grain coupons. Cousin Xingli did the same, buying white flour and dachazi. He'd meant to buy some cloth too, but a hand to his pocket reminded him neither of us had brought any cloth coupons, so all he could do was buy grain. The two of us shouldered 2 sacks of grain and left the co-op one after the other. We'd earned 30-some yuan today, and in one go 20-some was gone. I had 12 left in hand, Cousin Xingli just 2. Mostly the money had gone on swapping for coupons. Otherwise, we'd have had more left over. By the time we came out, it was midday. We'd brought dry corn cakes on the way over and washed down with honey water. We made do with a rough lunch. The honey water and corn cake combo was really hard for me to swallow. Cousin Xingli beside me, though, ate quite happily. I'd meant to hit a restaurant, but a hand in my pocket found no meat coupon. Eating meat at a restaurant took a meat coupon, so we had to make do. After eating, we headed back, not bothering to look for Chindo again. It wasn't far to the village, an hour or so on foot. Halfway there, the sound of cart wheels grinding over the dirt road suddenly came from behind, mixed with a wave of clamor. What a lousy road, jolting me to death. Uncle Chun, how much longer till we get there? Asterisk high asterisk, I want to go back to the city. Talk of this sort drifted from behind. I turned my head and saw Chunda, face dark, driving the ox cart, with 8 sent-down youths seated aboard. Chunda spotted the two of us as well and pulled the reins taut, reining the ox to a stop. Sugua, Xingli, Uncle Chun. The two of us nodded in greeting. Come, hop on and ride. There's still room. Great, I answered, sitting down by the cart's tail with the grain sacks set to one side. The 8 sent-down youths on the cart sized us up, and my gaze swept over them too. For men, for women, every one of them fresh-faced, their eyes full of longing for the future. This batch of sent-down youths had come of their own will. They truly wanted to actively build up the countryside and lend it a hand. You're the sent-down youths? I opened up the conversation, asking with a smile. The 8 nodded in unison and answered with an Everyone gave their names. The rest didn't leave much of an impression on me. Only the female youth seated next to me, Zhou Ruwei, I remembered clearly. I'd heard Zhou Ruwei had come down to the countryside to dodge the fallout of her family background. Her class status was poor, and her family had signed her up early. As I recalled, once the Zhou family was rehabilitated in 65, she returned to the city. You could say she was a potential investment target. One more friend, one more path, after all. I looked her way a few extra beats. Zhou Ruwei shrank her neck in and buried her face between her knees, not daring to meet my gaze. Realizing I'd overstepped, I hurried to look away. Cousin Xingli beside me quietly gave me a pat and leaned into my ear. Sugua, have you taken a fancy to her? A few dark lines rose on my forehead, my face full of helplessness. I just looked a little longer, didn't I? How'd that become taking a fancy to her? Forget it, couldn't be bothered to explain. Sugua, listen to your cousin. You'd best give up on this notion. The girl's nice enough, but she's a city person. She probably looks down on us country folk. Me. I shot him a return eye roll. Figure it out yourself. What nonsense. In my last life, I'd had 0 contact with Zhou Ruwei. Looking at her a few extra beats this life was purely on account of her family history. Chunda drove the ox cart, leisurely leading the youths back. What's that? A male youth asked, pointing up at the sky. Chunda glanced up and said cheerfully, that there's a hazel grouse. A hazel grouse? A few of the youths' eyes lit up. I'd only ever heard of hazel grouse. Today I finally get to see one. Uncle Chun, is hazel grouse good eating? Chunda nodded. Good eating. Hazel grouse is freshest stewed in soup. Ever heard of hazel grouse soup? That stuff's fresh as all get out. It's just hard to bag. Your average hunter can't hit one at all. Only those old hands can get a few. He'd tasted hazel grouse soup himself, and that fresh flavor had left a deep impression on him. Just then, I loosed the slingshot. Asterisk whoosh asterisk, a steel pellet cut across the sky and struck a hazel grouse dead center. The hazel grouse plummeted. I jumped down from the ox cart and drew the slingshot to aim again. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Several pellets flew out, and 3 more hazel grouse tumbled from the sky. By the time I drew the slingshot again, the remaining grouse had long flown out of sight. The whole cartful of people was dumbstruck. The first to come to his senses was Cousin Xingli, clapping and cheering. Nice, nice, great shot. Sugwa, you're too fierce. Ha ha. I picked up the 4 hazel grouse and carried them onto the cart. Coming to his senses, Chinda took a couple of puff drags on his pipe and teased me. Sugwa, you sly dog, hiding your talents? You handle a slingshot this slick. I gave a chuckle. Just a fluke. Can't blame anyone but those hazel grouse for flying onto my pellets. Everyone rolled their eyes in unison. Hazel grouse flying onto your pellets, my ass? Think we're all blind? Chinda laughed a couple of times and drove on. Just then Zhou Ruowei stared at the hazel grouse in my hands and instinctively swallowed. That is. Comrade Sugwa, could I buy your hazel grouse? Zhou Ruowei gazed longingly at the hazel grouse in my hands and swallowed again. As a child, her parents had taken her to eat hazel grouse, fresh, tender, and delicious, and that memory was carved into her mind. Now, seeing the hazel grouse in my hands, that meaty aroma seemed to flash through her mind once more. She wanted to eat it. She really did. You want to buy? I raised the hazel grouse in my hand. I'll pay 2 yuan for one. How about it? Hearing this offer, I grinned. Sure, deal. Here. I handed over a hazel grouse and took the 2 yuan, tucking it into my pocket. 1 hazel grouse for 2 yuan, made out like a bandit. At the reins, Chinda let out a couple of helpless laughs. There's 3 more. Do the rest of you want one too? I hefted the 3 hazel grouse and asked the other youths with a smile. They all shook their heads in unison. You kidding? 2 yuan for 1 hazel grouse. They brought quite a bit of money on this trip down to the countryside, but they couldn't blow it like that. These days pork was only 75 to 80 cents a gene, and 2 yuan bought 2.5 gene of pork. Wasn't that better than hazel grouse meat? Seeing no one buying, I sullenly tossed the 3 hazel grouse back into my basket. Glancing at Zhou Ruowei cradling her hazel grouse, my eyes darted around, and I struck up a chat with a smile. Comrade Ruowei, I've also got squirrel pelts. Want any? Squirrel pelt makes clothes and quilts real warm. I've got 6 squirrel pelts here. I'll sell them all to you cheap. Just 3 yuan. How about it? Zhou Ruowei shook her head. No need. I felt a pang of regret. Hadn't managed to sweet-talk her into it. Just as I was about to keep at it, a light cough came from Chunde up front, and he shot me a silent glare. Ahem, ahem. That look seemed to say, Kid, quit hoodwinking the youths. I put away my little schemes, cradled my basket, leaned against the grain sack, and closed my eyes to rest. I still had 14 yuan in hand at this point. Blind box system. Swap me 4 yellow blind boxes and 1 green blind box. Ding. Congratulations, host, on successfully redeeming 4 yellow blind boxes and 1 green blind box. 14 yuan deducted. Redemption successful. I clenched my fist and gloated to myself. Open the green blind box. Ding. Now opening green blind box. Congratulations, host, on drawing Basic Trap Design Craft. Basic Trap Design Craft. After use, the host will master Basic Trap Design, capable of capturing prey up to medium size. Now we're talking. I'd long heard that hunters going up the mountain often laid snares and set traps to catch prey. This time, I, Sugwa, could learn it too. Use it. The moment the words left me, my mind filled with all manner of trap blueprints. The overwhelming majority for catching small prey, the most common ordinary rope snare, the baited spring snare trap, the trigger bait release trap, plus the baited spring leg snare trap, and so on. Asterisk with Basic Trap Design Craft. From now on, I can lay snares and set traps up the mountain. 10 yuan for a basic trap craft. Totally worth it. Asterisk. I gave the order to open the remaining 4 yellow boxes as well. The system's ethereal voice sounded one after another, and the 4 yellow boxes opened simultaneously, drawing respectively 20 steel pellets, a bee-proof suit, 1 stick of bee-repellent incense, and some spicy savory barbecue seasoning. The steel pellets, bee-proof suit, and barbecue seasoning all counted as ordinary items. Only that stick of bee-repellent incense piqued my interest. I opened it up for a look. 1 stick of bee-repellent incense. Once lit, the scent it gives off can drive away all bees within a 10-meter radius. Suited for harvesting comb honey. Asterisk IO. Holy hell, this thing is off the charts awesome. Top tier. Absolutely nailed it. With this, harvesting honey blocks from now on will only be easier. 14 yuan for all this stuff. So satisfying. Pity I didn't draw a personal storage space. If I had a personal storage space, it'd be even better. Asterisk. Having sighed to myself for a bit, I opened my eyes and looked out at the road. Zhou Ruowei watched me, my face wearing a smile, a little bewildered. It seemed like he'd been grinning like a fool ever since he closed his eyes. Cousin Xingli gave me a pat. I met his gaze and asked softly, "Cousin, what is it? Have you gone off your rocker, boy? You just had your eyes shut grinning like an idiot the whole time. I thought your fit had come on again." My smile stiffened, and I laughed it off. No, I just thought of something happy. Cousin Xingli, let's keep going up the mountain tomorrow. Go find a bee's nest. Selling honey's still the fastest way to make money. That stuff's too hard to find. Running into it last time was just good luck. Cousin Xingli shook his head. Going up the mountain tomorrow, the focus is still on small prey. Stock up more pelts, sell them, and swap for a gun. Tomorrow I'll teach you how to read the terrain, and teach you how to lay snares while we're at it. Sure, I'll do whatever you say, Cousin Xingli. The ox cart ambled slowly to the village entrance, and the two of us got off. Uncle Chun, we'll head off first. Won't come join the fuss. I dug a hazel grouse out of my basket and stuffed it into Chun Da's hands, then turned and left. Getting on good terms with the brigade leader had all sorts of perks. Chun Da put away the hazel grouse, gazed at our retreating backs, and muttered under his breath, "This kid, he really is different now. Cousin Xingli, take this hazel grouse home and stew soup for Big Uncle." I dug a hazel grouse out of my basket and handed it over. I'd given one to the brigade leader. How could I not give one to my cousin? Sugwa, keep it for yourself. Your family's low on grain as it is, and you're the one who bagged these. It wasn't easy. Cousin Xingli declined. All right, I won't waste words either. I'll head back first. My family hasn't had white flour steamed buns in ages. I'll go back and make some this time. He turned to head home. I chased after him and stuffed the hazel grouse straight into his arms, then turned and walked off before he could refuse. Cousin Xingli, white flour steamed buns go best with hazel grouse soup. I'm off. Give my regards to Big Uncle. On the way home, I ran smack into Lu Guoping and Lu Goen coming off their shift. The two of them still had bee sting welts on their faces, like they were covered in pimples. Seeing the two of them, I turned my head away in disgust. One look and my stomach turned. Ugly folks make the most fuss. Don't know to stay home. Come out to blind me with your ugliness? Hearing that tone, Lu Goen's temper flared up in an instant, his eyes bulging round, about to let loose a torrent of curses. Beside him, Lu Guoping grabbed him and gave him a look to not act rashly, not to ruin the plan. Lu Guoping piled on a smile. Brother Sugwa, my sister has something to discuss with you. She asked us to pass word. Come find her tonight by the little river to the south. Says she's got something important to talk over with you. I paid him no mind at all and shot back an eye roll. Asterisk, you take me for a fool? Playing your little games right on my doorstep. Asterisk. Brother Sugwa, give us an answer. Are you going or not? I let out a couple of laughs. I could go. First have your sister bring over 100 yuan, or there's nothing to discuss. Veins bulged on Lu Goen's forehead. You? You what? Can't talk? Ugly folks make the most fuss. Shouldering my basket, I gave a cold snort and walked off. Watching my retreating back, Lu Goen spoke up. Brother, what do we do now? This kid won't crawl into the trap. Last night Lu Li had come back from the county, having gotten 100 yuan out of Zhao Taijun. The man really couldn't come up with 200. What family marrying off a son could spend 200 yuan? Lu Li asked. Then what do I do? So Zhao Taijun had come up with a rotten scheme. You lure Sugwa somewhere with no people around and set him up good. Set him up how? Are you stupid? Just say he raped you, and have your big brother and second brother waiting at the edge of the woods. The moment he comes, you cry for help, have your big brother and second brother block him, and send your mom to go call the party secretary and the brigade leader. Hearing this, Lu Li's eyes lit up. She went home and talked it over with the whole family, and they all felt it could work. So the two brothers, Lu Goen and Lu Guoping, roamed the village looking for me, didn't find me in the morning, and ran right into me on the way back from their shift in the afternoon, which was how the scene just now came about. No matter how I got up in their faces and cursed them, neither of them dared clash with me, all for the sake of luring me into the trap. But who'd have guessed this dog of a Sugwa would open his mouth demanding 100 yuan? Lu Guoping seethed. Damn it, I don't believe he won't crawl into the trap. Come on, let's head back first, tell little sis the news, and see what she says. Walking along the road, I let out a couple of cold laughs. Trying to scheme against me? I just won't give you the chance. Let's see what you can do about it. I put no stock in the Liu's load of nonsense. If you've got something to say, where can't you say it? But it's got to be by the little river to the south at night? That riverside was right up against the cornfield, the #1 spot for stolen trysts. Once I passed through there on a night walk, and you could hear the sounds of men and women all along the roadside. The men could wail even louder than the women, and the sound was especially seductive. Sometimes I really wanted to charge in and take a look, slap that bunch a few times, and add a line. What are you wailing about? Back home, my mom was in the yard stitching shoes. Seeing me back, she hurriedly set down the layered sole in her hands. Youngest back? You went to the black market today. Nothing happened, right? Mom, nothing happened at all. I dug the hazel grouse and grain out of my basket and handed them to her. The hazel grouse I bagged on the road. And this is white flour. Shall we eat white flour tonight? My mom took the sack of white flour, opened it for a look, and let out an "I-O." What are you buying white flour for, child? Such a waste of money. Buying 2-grain flour to make do would be fine. Why buy flour this expensive? When the family usually went to the commune to buy flour, it was mostly 3-grain flour or sweet potato flour. The better sort was 2-grain flour. Flour like this white flour, my mom only bought a little before New Year to make dumplings. Seeing all this white flour today truly gave her a fright. Seeing her like this, my heart ached. Mom, from now on our family eats white flour. Your son's making something of himself. My mom rubbed her eyes and gave a silly laugh. It's windy, got some sand in my eye. Son, you're tired after a whole day, right? Go inside and rest. I'll call you when it's time to eat. I answered, then turned and walked over to the little water vat to look at the otter. Just as I was about to check its affinity, something moved at my feet. I looked down, and it was Da Huang coming over. He rubbed his head against my pant leg, all fawning. I gave his head a pat. Silly dog, go play somewhere else. I've got no food for you. Da Huang understood my words, and he flopped his 2 front legs down, rested his head on them, his face a picture of despair. Watching him like that, I nearly laughed in exasperation. I opened the otter's panel and looked at that 6-stat chart. Breed, Northeastern water dog / otter. Speed, 10 kilometers per hour. Bite force, 20 kilograms. Weight, 7 kilograms. Body length, 70 centimeters. Affinity, 0. Still 0? Let me find something to feed it. I went inside and brought out a thumb-sized piece of meat. Catching the meat scent, Da Huang tailed after me again with a fawning look, wagging his tail and rubbing my pant leg. I gave him a kick. Off, off, off. This isn't for you to eat. Woof, 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 you dog. Bullying a dog. I ignored his barking and tossed the piece of meat into the water vat. Seeing the meat drop, the otter snatched it with its little paws and stuffed it into its mouth. Before long, that thumb-sized piece of meat was down its gullet. It even rubbed its little belly, looking like it hadn't eaten its fill. I opened the 6-stat chart and saw the affinity had changed, up from 0 to 3. Looks like the way to raise affinity with prey is to feed them. Well then, that's pretty simple. I was just about to go back inside and grab more meat to feed it, to get it to the point of contract binding as soon as possible. Sugwa, a dainty cry came from behind me. It was Luli. I looked at her, a mocking expression surfacing. I'd rather like to see what mischief she was going to cook up now. What are you doing here? I asked flatly. Luli frowned and folded her arms across her chest. Sugwa, my brothers passed my message on to you clearly, didn't they? Go to the little river to the south tonight. I've got something to talk about with you. That tone was like a superior giving orders to an inferior. I wasn't about to indulge this rotten habit of hers, and cursed right out. To hell with you. I had your brothers pass word to you. Didn't they pass it? First pay me back the 100 yuan. Then I'll come over. Otherwise there's nothing to discuss. Luli was so angry she trembled all over, jabbing her finger at me. You? I what? She snorted. Sugwa, you're using this attitude to get my attention? Well, you've succeeded. But I'm warning you one last time. Kneel down and apologize right now. Wipe the 200 yuan matter clean off the slate, and we'll go to the little river to the south tonight. And I'll give myself to you once. How's that? I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Ha ha ha. Ha. Luli's brows knit tight. What's he laughing at? I shifted my tone. You think you're some prize? A worn-out shoe, that's all. I don't want you. Scram, hurry up and scram. You? Luli stamped her foot. Sugwa, besides me, what other decent woman could you ever find? Missed this village, and there's no such shop down the road. Just then, Zhou Ruowei walked in, still carrying that hazel grouse. Seeing the tense, sword-drawn standoff, she spoke up meekly. Sugwa, I don't know how to cook hazel grouse. Could you help me make it? Luli stared wide-eyed at Zhou Ruowei coming in. The girl wore 2 thick black braids, Her skin tanned slightly dark, but her eyes were bright as stars, her smile plain and pure. That bit of looks Luli took such pride in was worth nothing before this girl, set side by side. It was as if Luli were the country bumpkin instead. I took the hazel grouse with a smile. Sure, I'll make you barbecued hazel grouse. Then I turned to look at Luli and gave a couple of cold laughs. Still not leaving? Going to keep standing here, inviting humiliation? It's getting late. If my mom happens to come back right now, you'll be in for a world of suffering. Luli gave a shudder. She feared no one, but she was cowed by that booming voice of my mom, Qin Shaowan. She shot me a fierce glare and walked off without a backward glance. Once she'd left, Zhou Ruowei looked at me timidly. Comrade Sugua, did I come at a bad time? I held you up, didn't I? Is she your girlfriend? No, just a worn-out shoe. I answered offhandedly and handed her a stool. Sit for a bit. I'll go make you the barbecued hazel grouse. Selling her the hazel grouse for 2 yuan and throwing in some cooking labor. All told, I was still coming out ahead. I poured hot water into a basin and started plucking the hazel grouse, teasing her as I worked. Comrade Zhou, if you don't know how to cook hazel grouse, why'd you buy it? Zhou Ruowei's little face flushed slightly, and she turned her head aside, saying softly, I didn't think that far at the time, just thought hazel grouse was tasty and bought it off you. Forgot I don't know how to cook it. Looking at those slender, smooth fingers of hers, and thinking of how freely she'd spent on the ox cart today, I guessed at once. Her family's circumstances had to be far, far better than the other youths. Plucking done, I scalded the surface again with hot water, cut open the belly, and pulled out the innards. You still eating the innards? Zhou Ruowei shook her head, her face full of dread. She'd never eaten innards, and thought the stuff was too dirty. I couldn't be bothered to keep this little bit of innards either, so I tossed half to Da Huang and threw the other half into the water vat. Da Huang caught the innards and dug in with big bites. For a dog, eating innards is very nourishing, and he chewed away with relish. Watching Da Huang, a mischievous, playful notion suddenly popped into my head, and I looked at Zhou Ruowei with a grin. Comrade Zhou, have you ever seen a dog do a backflip? Da Huang, mid-innards, jerked to a halt, watching me warily and barking a couple of times. Woof, 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 have some shame. A dog backflip? Zhou Ruowei shook her head. Never seen one. Comrade Sugua, have you? I have. Wanna see? Her family was well off, but even at her age, she'd never seen a dog that could do a backflip. My words piqued her interest. I want to see it. Then give me 2 yuan, and I'll let you watch a dog backflip. How's that? Zhou Ruowei gritted her teeth, urgency in her brow, thought it over a moment, and nodded after all. Okay, here. 2 yuan in hand, tucked into my pocket. City folk indeed, hadn't even seen a dog backflip. I stopped what I was doing and called, Da Huang, come here. Da Huang walked over. Under Zhou Ruowei's astonished gaze, I called, Da Huang, give us a backflip. The moment the words left me, Da Huang flipped his hind legs. His whole body spun 360 degrees in the air, and he landed steadily. Woof, 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 you bastard, using me to pick up girls. Zhou Ruowei's eyes went wide, so astonished she couldn't speak. This? Pretty amazing, right? Come, Da Huang, one more. No sooner had I spoken than Da Huang flipped again. Zhou Ruowei blinked, clapping and cheering. Really impressive. Comrade Sugua, how'd you train Da Huang? My family kept a dog too, but our dog couldn't do backflips. Could you teach me? The corner of my mouth twitched. If your family's dog could do backflips, it'd have turned into a spirit. This thing was controlled through the beast taming system. I laughed and spun some nonsense to brush her off, then hurriedly went to a corner of the yard, dug a small pit, packed in dry kindling, laid a handful of deer sedge on the kindling, and struck a match to light it. As the flames rose, I set the hazel grouse over the fire to roast, and before long it was roasting up sizzling and oozing oil. As the meat's aroma wafted out, I brushed on a layer of lard with a brush, just one layer, and that fragrance grew even richer, boring straight into both our noses. So fragrant, so fragrant. Zhou Ruowei swallowed her drool. This is nothing yet. It'll be even better in a bit. Youth Zhou, can you handle spicy food? Zhou Ruowei swallowed again, her mouth already welling up with a spicy anticipation, and nodded. I can. All right. I handed her the stick and got up to head inside. Extract the spicy savory barbecue seasoning. The moment I spoke, a little packet of seasoning appeared in my hand. Carrying the seasoning, I came back out and took over the work from Zhou Ruowei. The hazel grouse was roasting up sizzling and oozing oil. I scored a few crosshatch cuts into the meat with my small knife so it would roast through more thoroughly. Just then, footsteps came from outside. The two of us turned to look. It was my mom. My mom sized up Zhou. Asterisk, oh my goodness, this little girl's so pretty, and she's crowded right up next to my son. Could there be something going on between the two of them? Asterisk. I hurriedly called out to interrupt her wild imaginings. Mom. Hello, Auntie. Hearing that sweet, tender greeting, my mom felt comfortable all over. Asterisk, isn't she a whole lot better than that, Luli? The more I look, the more pleasing she is. The more I look, the more I like her. Asterisk. Girl, you look a bit unfamiliar. Which village are you from? Mom. This is a youth who's just come down to our village. She lives at our youth station. I could tell from the changes on my mom's face and hurried to add a line, afraid some wild, alarming word would pop out of her mouth and scare Zhou. Zhou was now my moneybags patron. I'd already sweet-talked for yuan out of her hands. Asterisk pa? Not sweet-talked, earned. Earned by brain power, asterisk. Oh, a sit-down youth. You two chat, I'm going inside. With that, my mom hurried inside, sat on the Kong, and watched the two of us in the corner through the glass. Asterisk, the two of them look quite like a married couple. Tomorrow I'll go ask around about this girl's family background. Asterisk. Once the cross-hatched hazel grouse was salted for flavor, I kept roasting, and when it was nearly done, I took out the spicy, savory barbecue seasoning drawn from the blind box, sprinkled it evenly all over the hazel grouse, flipped it, and kept roasting. The grease and the barbecue seasoning melded together perfectly, and that aroma was truly out of this world. The fragrance kept boring into Zhou nose. Her eyes were fixed dead on the barbecued hazel grouse, and she swallowed her drool with a gulp, gulps several times over. So fragrant. Comrade Sugwa, is it done? Can I eat it yet? Watching Zhou so ravenous she was nearly drooling, I let out a couple of laughs. Almost ready. I flipped it and kept roasting, and the hazel grouse meat grew even more fragrant. Especially the side sprinkled with barbecue seasoning, fragrant enough to make your mouth water 3 feet. Make anyone drool. Zhou swallowed nonstop. I handed the roasted hazel grouse over. Youth Zhou, have a taste. She took it and bit in with a big mouthful. The meat had barely entered her mouth when it burned her, and she yelped. Hot, hot, hot. SSSS. Blow on it before you eat. Slow down, slow down. Watching her so ravenous, she couldn't be picky. I just found it funny. Don't laugh at me. Zhou flushed bright red, blew a couple of breaths, and kept eating. The roasted hazel grouse meat, once in her mouth, was fresh and savory and delicious. One bite, and her taste buds seemed to burst open, incredibly good. She instinctively looked me over a couple more times. Asterisk, is his cooking really this good? Asterisk, then she stole a glance inside, running smack into my mom's gaze. Zhou lowered her head, looked at the hazel grouse in her hands, and cut off a dozen-some pieces with the small knife. Comrade Sugwa, you send some to Auntie, let's all eat. Sure. I didn't stand on ceremony. I took the meat inside and set it on the Kong table. Youngest, how did you two meet? I think this girl's quite nice. If the two of you could make it work, your mom would be quite happy. Youngest, listening to my mom's nagging, my head throbbed, and I rubbed my brow. Mom, eat the meat, eat the meat. Hey, this child of mine. I set down the plate and walked out without a backward glance, carrying over 2 small stools. The two of us sat down side by side, eating and chatting. 10 some minutes later, Zhou finished eating and sucked the seasoning off her fingers. Delicious, truly delicious. Comrade Sugwa, next time you bag a hazel grouse, please sell it to me. I'll buy it. Sure. Clearly, this was a genuine little glutton. Comrade Sugwa, I'll head off first. Girl, won't you stay for a bite of supper? My mom came out of the house just then, sizing her up with a face full of smiles. Good-looking, well-dressed too, and with big hips. She'd surely bear a big fat boy. Auntie, no, I'm already full. With that, Zhou turned and left. She kept feeling there was something off about the way Qian Shaoan looked at her, but as for exactly what was off, she couldn't put her finger on it. Walking along the little path, gazing at the darkening sky, Zhou murmured softly, Dad, Mom, are you doing all right? Today I met an interesting boy, and he even roasted hazel grouse meat for me. Dad, Mom, I miss you. The moment Zhou left, my mom peppered me with chattering questions, grilling me until my head swelled, and I had to fob her off. Mom, there's nothing between us. She bought my hazel grouse and didn't know how to cook it, so I processed it for her. It's that simple. My mom eyed me suspiciously. That simple? Really no other ideas? To say I had no other ideas would definitely be a lie. In the Kaoshan Village Production Brigade, who'd dare beat their chest and say they were better looking than Zhou? She was genuinely pretty, her figure alluring, Her looks sweet. Not something those female internet celebrities of my last life, with their filters and face slimming effects, could hold a candle to. Well, no point asking. Seeing me stay silent, my mom muttered a line and went into the kitchen. It was getting late, and she went into the kitchen to knead dough. Tonight it was white flour steamed buns and stir-fried hazel grouse meat. I walked over to the water vat to look at the otter and checked the 6-stat chart again. The affinity had climbed from 3 to 10. Feed it a few more days, and it'll be about ready to contract. Tonight our family's meal was especially hearty. Main dish, stir-fried hazel grouse meat. Staple, big white flour steamed buns, plus soybean paste and seasonal vegetables from the private plot. This spread was in no way inferior to New Year or a festival. Ordinarily, even at New Year or a festival, we only got a few bites of meat, but today there were dozens of pieces in the basin. The hazel grouse I'd bagged was a Jean and 3 liang. After plucking and blanching, it was cut into dozens of pieces. What are you all sitting there for? Pick up your chopsticks. Sugwa, try this piece of hind leg meat. My mom picked out a piece for me and said with a smile, give it a taste. I took it and popped it into my mouth with a big bite, fresh and delicious, worthy of my mom's cooking, just so fragrant. Delicious. Mom, you eat. I picked out a piece back for her. My dad souping and gave a couple of light coughs. Ahem, ahem. Dark lines rose on my face, and I hurriedly picked out another piece for him. Dad, you eat too. My dad dug in with big bites, and one mouthful made him feel wonderful. The 3 of us ate our fill. After eating, my dad clapped my shoulder. You did well today. Even managed to get a hazel grouse. But son, our deal was a dumb roe deer, and there are 6 days left, so you'd better keep track of the time. Don't blame your old man for not reminding you. Dad, don't worry, I've got a plan. 1 dumb roe deer, not even worth worrying about. 6 days, still early. Back in my room, I lay on the Kong and slept like a log. Early the next morning, I was woken by cousin Shunli's shout. Sugwa, up you get. The sun's baking your backside. I rubbed my eyes, put on my shoes and got off the Kong. Coming. Cousin, up this early? Nonsense. Running the mountain means getting up early, of course. The whole day hinges on the morning. Hurry up into the mountain. I did a quick wash up, wolfed down a couple of bites of food, went back inside and stuffed the bee-proof suit into my basket, shouldered it, and set off up the mountain with cousin Shunli, bringing along Da Huang, who hadn't eaten yet. Halfway there, I suddenly stopped. Cousin, hold on. What is it? Don't tell me you've got the runs. No. Cousin Shunli, let's make a trip to the North River first. I set a fish trap over there. Let's go see if any fish have gone in. I'd gotten up too early today, my head foggy, and had nearly forgotten about it. Come on, let's go take a look. 1 man and a dog. No, 2 men and a dog reached the North River, found the spot with the dead-end fish trap, and parted the water weeds for a look. There was a catch. 3 crucian carp were flopping around inside. Got a catch. I broke into a grin. Cousin, told you this trip wouldn't be for nothing, didn't I? I scooped out the fish trap, put the 3 crucian carp into my basket, then stuffed in all the leftover hazel grouse innards from last night. I wanted to try, see if some big soft-shell turtle would go in and bite at the innards. Once that was done, the 2 of us made another trip home, put 2 of the crucian carp into a water bucket, and threw the other one to the otter. Then we headed out, hurrying toward the mountain. The 2 of us brought Da Huang and went up the mountain one after the other. The scene was spotted by villagers digging wild vegetables and cutting pig fodder on the mountain's outskirts, who teased us with laughs. Sugwa, how come you're going up the mountain with your cousin? You know how to run the mountain, boy? Don't drag your cousin down. You're both cousins running the mountain. I heard yesterday that the Chun brothers went up and killed a red dog. Can you 2 bring back a green hide too? Red dog meant dole, green hide meant wolf. Sugwa, ignore them, cousin Shunli said. I shot them a glance and nodded. Let's go. No sooner had the 2 of us left than the villagers behind us started chattering away again. Reaching the mountain's outskirts, cousin Shunli taught me how to read the terrain's lay to analyze prey, the highs and lows of the land, and what sort of prey was most likely to appear where. Walking along the little path, we saw a string of tracks on the ground, and cousin Shunli crouched down, pointing. Sugwa, these are pheasant tracks. The 3 toe prints form a bamboo leaf shape or chicken foot shape, smaller, sharper, and more slender than our farm chickens. Usually 3 toes point forward, 1 toe is very small or unclear, and the hind toe often doesn't touch the ground. I nodded. Cousin Shunli, impressive. Seemed I still had a lot to learn about running the mountain and hunting. Besides the system's help, I'd have to slowly explore and adapt on my own. Know how to lay a snare? A little. Lay 2 and let me have a look. I fished a rope out of my pocket, used 5 twigs to make a baited spring snare trap and set it aside, then scattered a handful of wheat beside it. Cousin Shengli stared wide-eyed at the trap I'd set. Not bad, boy. Who'd you learn this from? This thing's way better than what my master taught me. I scratched my head. Just picked it up looking around. Read about it in a book before. Tried making it, and it worked. All right. Since you know this set, I won't bother teaching you other traps. One solid trick will take you anywhere. The two of us stood up. Just then Da Huang's barking came from underfoot. Looking closely, there was a rabbit hopping through the grass up ahead. Before Da Huang had even caught up, I'd already drawn the slingshot and let go. Whoosh. The steel pellet struck the rabbit dead center. It let out a wretched squeal, then was clamped down hard by Da Huang, who'd caught up. You're something, boy. By now Cousin Shengli admired me from the bottom of his heart. Apart from being unpracticed in the basic techniques of running the mountain and short on experience, I was cleaner and quicker than him across the board. Take the rabbit just now. He'd only just drawn his bow and hadn't shot yet, and my pellet was already in the rabbit. For a hunter, a quick reaction was especially crucial. When you ran into large prey, being a second faster could sometimes greatly increase your odds of surviving. I gave Da Huang a pat, picked up the jumping cat from his mouth and skinned it, cut off half the rabbit meat, and threw it to him. The other half I split into 3 pieces, placed at different spots, and made 3 rope snare traps, in case some other carnivore fell for it. That done, we continued on. Along the way, every time Da Huang barked, we were sure to find prey. In 2 hours, the two of us bagged 4 squirrels and 2 jumping cats in all. I have to say, hunting with a dog like Da Huang, a nose-up hound, was truly convenient. Woof, woof, woof. Da Huang barked again, his body slightly hunched. I set down the slingshot and grabbed the sinew horn bow smeared with special anesthetic. Along with Da Huang's barking, I too caught a strong, rank, musky smell. Right after, a green-eyed lone wolf emerged from the woods ahead. More precisely, a lone wolf that had been starving for several days. Its eyes glowed green, copious drool dripping from its mouth as it fixed its stare on me, Cousin Shengli, and Da Huang. Damn, we've run into a wolf. Cousin Shengli scanned all around, and, finding no other wild wolves, relaxed a little. Just a lone wolf. 2 men and a dog could handle it. Worst case, we'd shed a bit of blood. Sugua, get behind me, take the gelding knife. Cousin Shengli stuffed the gelding knife into my hands and grabbed his bow to aim. The lone wolf gave a low growl. A woo. Woof, woof, woof. The two of them made the first move. Da Huang lunged, clamped onto the lone wolf's foreleg and yanked hard backward. The lone wolf howled to the sky and snapped its jaws at Da Huang's tail. Da Huang let go and dodged, then countered with a claw to the lone wolf's eye. Rip. One of the lone wolf's eyes was clawed blind, 3 bloody gashes on its face, blood dripping down the wolf's muzzle to the ground. A woo. The lone wolf let out a wretched cry that pierced the clouds. I thought to myself, this Da Huang really is vicious. The lone wolf couldn't even hold him down. Da Huang snapped his jaws onto the lone wolf's waist again, one savage bite, and the sound of cracking bone and the wretched cry exploded together. The lone wolf flung Da Huang off and tried to flee. It realized it couldn't outbite this dog, and dragging it out any longer meant certain death. All living things have a soul. It didn't want to die here. It wanted to live, wanted to go on living. Whoosh. A shaft of arrow streaked over and pinned into the lone wolf's leg. The lone wolf let out a wretched cry, then passed out. My eyes lit up. The special anesthetic really packs a punch. Passed out. Cousin Shengli murmured. Sugua, did you smear something on your arrow? I shook my head. No, I didn't. Probably it just couldn't hold on, and that arrow happened to knock it out. Da Huang walked up to the lone wolf and bit down on its neck. Asterisk crunch asterisk. The neck broke, and the lone wolf breathed its last for good. Ding. Congratulations, host. Your beast Da Huang has successfully hunted a lone wolf. Reward, 10 beast taming points. That many beast taming points for killing 1 lone wolf. Not bad, not bad. Da Huang carried the neck-broken lone wolf over to me. His first time in battle, a resounding victory, and not a single wound on his body. Cousin Shengli clicked his tongue. Sugua, if you sold this Da Huang to a hunter who runs a dog hunt circle, he'd fetch at least 300 yuan. It's outrageous, a nose-up hound on top of that, and such a strong bite force too. Sugua, who gave you this Da Huang? Are there any more of that litter? I said with a smile. 2 years back my eldest sister came home to visit and brought over one of her family's pups. This is the one. So that's how it is. The pups from that same litter 2 years ago were probably long gone. Cousin Shengli gave up on the notion. Cousin, what do we do with the wolf hide? You handle it. Sure. But this hide's been bitten up like this. It's not worth much even peeled off. Still, this wolf meat, now, is worth quite a bit. Wolf meat's worth money. I scratch my head. Cousin, I recall this stuff only goes for 50 cents a jean, a yuan tops on the black market. Cousin Xingli grinned. That's the normal price. But what if you sell it to someone who needs it? You don't know, wolf meat is actually a kind of medicinal ingredient. It can treat the gut and dispel cold ailments. Zhangda, the hunter Zhang in our village, his mom has a stomach illness. We can sell it to him. How much a jean? A yuan 5. That high? Would he not want it? Cousin Xingli shook his head. No. That's the price he set himself. A yuan 5 a jean. He'll take the whole lot. I scratched my head, still feeling something was off. Skinning as he spoke, Cousin Xingli said, "You don't think killing a wolf is easy, do you? This time we happened to run into a lone wolf. Run into a wolf pack for real, and a hunter can easily be bitten to death alive. We were lucky. It was a lone wolf. If it had been a pack, our little lives would have been left right here. Usually a lone wolf's been driven out by the pack. Wolves like that are extremely rare. Hunter Zhang giving a yuan 5 is fair enough. Get it now?" I nodded, showing I understood. The whole wolf hide was peeled off intact. It had Da Huang's bite marks on it. Taken to the commune recycling station, this hide would sell for 3 yuan at most. If you downed a green hide with a hunting rifle, you'd get a top-grade wolf hide, priced at 7 or 8 yuan. Taking the wolf meat Cousin Xingli handed me, I pulled out the gelding knife and cut some to feed Da Huang, who chewed it in big mouthfuls. Eat up, eat plenty. I stuffed the rest of the wolf meat into my basket, and the two of us stepped on ahead. We roamed the surroundings a long while, but found no other traces of prey. By midday, we reached a little stream. The stream water trickled through the mountain, and there were plenty of prey tracks along the bank, showing that lots of prey came here to drink. I couldn't recognize all those tracks. Cousin Xingli pointed them out one by one. There were roe deer, red deer, and also lynx, greenhide, and red dog tracks. I frowned. This much prey. Nearby prey that wants water all comes to this stream. This stream's pretty long. Its source up at the cliff's edge above. Cousin Xingli pointed it out for me. Water washing down from the cliff's inner side, flowing into the stream. The two of us dug a small pit by the bank, packed in dry kindling. Today we'd eat roasted wolf meat. We skewered the meat chunks on twigs and set them over the fire. The flames licked at the meat, the aroma enticing. While the meat roasted, I bought 2 more yellow blind boxes, and my last 2 yuan were gone too. Now I hadn't a single cent in my pocket. Open. The blind box system's ethereal voice sounded in my mind. Ding. Congratulations, host, on obtaining 1 single-use brewing barrel. Single-use brewing barrel. Pour liquor into it to accelerate the fermentation process. Suited for brewing sorghum liquor, ginseng liquor, deer blood liquor, and hornet honey wine. Ding. Congratulations, host, on obtaining 10 steel pellets. Asterisk holy hell. A yellow box can pull an SSR2? If it weren't single-use, this thing would really be fierce, but it's decent. No complaining about what a yuan gets you. I'll give it a try when I have time. Asterisk. I turned the wolf meat skewers in my hand, sprinkled on the barbecue seasoning the system had given me, and the aroma grew richer. The nose-filling smell had Cousin Xingli swallowing his drool nonstop, and Da Huang was even more over the top, drooling away. Done, have a taste. I'd roasted 5 skewers. Cousin Xingli and I took 2 each, and the remaining 1 was Da Huang's. 2 men and a dog chewed on wolf meat skewers. Wolf meat was firm and tightly textured, coarse-fibered and chewy. With the barbecue seasoning, it ate rather like beef skewers, only firmer than beef, probably to do with the green hide running around all day. We finished before long, then washed it down with a mouthful of honey water. Couldn't have been more comfortable. This stuff hits the spot. Cousin Xingli wiped his mouth. By the way, Sugua, what was that stuff you sprinkled on just now? Truly fragrant, more fragrant than adding oil. I don't really know either. Bought it at the black market before. Heard someone call it barbecue seasoning. Seems folks over Xinjiang way eat it like this. Oh. Well fed and watered, the two of us stood up and each took a piss to put out the fire. Cousin Xingli, how about we go up the cliff and take a look? Sure thing, let's go. The two of us talked it over and headed toward the cliff, Da Huang walking up front. Halfway there, I suddenly noticed bees flying about around me. I looked down. We'd walked up to a patch of flowers, and the bees were gathering nectar. An idea popped up. Cousin Xingli, hold on. Cousin Xingli stopped. What is it? The bees are gathering nectar. Drive them back to the nest and raid their home base. Cousin Xingli's eyes lit up. Clever, truly clever. The bees rose and settled among the flowers, not the least bit aware that two two-legged beasts had set their sights on them. I grabbed a stick and hurled it wildly at them. The bees, their nectar gathering interrupted, buzzed loudly, quite displeased. When they stopped, the two of us dodged away. When they went back to gathering, I threw the stick at the flower patch again, stirring them up so they couldn't gather nectar. Whether it was my meddling that took effect, or they'd about finished gathering anyway, this swarm of bees flapped their wings and flew off toward their old nest. The two of us quietly tailed them. Before long, we tracked down their home base, a dead old tree, its heartwood already hollow, and the bees had made their home inside. Blocks of comb honey lay exposed, and the sight filled our eyes with delight. Comb honey this big had to be a good dozen plus Jean. Sugwa, the old method again? I shook my head. Cousin Shengli, I've got away, hold on. With that, I pulled the bee-proof suit out of my basket and put it on. This so-called bee-proof suit clung to the body like a thin membrane. In Cousin Shengli's eyes, I'd put on a layer of plastic clothing. Will this work? That many bees. Don't worry, it'll definitely work. I beat my chest. System issued, must be top quality. Besides, I still had that stick of bee-repellent incense. Carrying the bag, I lit the bee-repellent incense, put on the bee-proof suit, and walked slowly toward the hollow tree heart. The bee-repellent incense took effect quickly. Every step I took forward, the bees in the hive retreated a fraction. Cousin Shengli rubbed his eyes. Good heavens above, what is this thing? Under his stunned gaze, I carried the bag and packed the comb honey blocks in one by one, leaving the bees a third, so I could come patronize again next time. This honey was my chives. Whenever I felt like eating some, I could come cut a fresh crop. Carrying the bag, I headed back and snuffed out the bee-repellent incense. Only half a stick left. Seeing me return safe and sound, Cousin Shengli clicked his tongue. You, what is this incense of yours? This? I laughed it off. A wandering Taoist gave it to me 2 years back, said it was bee-repellent incense, could drive off bees. Happened to have it on me today, didn't expect it to be the real deal. In these times there were still people who believed in such things, so it was a reasonable excuse. A wandering Taoist gave it to you. You weren't home at the time. He said my bone structure was extraordinary. Gave me this incense, and taught me a few moves for strengthening the body. I told it with such convincing detail that it didn't sound made up. In these times there really were quite a few wandering Taoists roaming the countryside, telling fortunes for folks, reading feng shui, curing illness with talisman water. Feng shui had a bit of basis to it. As for fortune-telling and curing illness with talisman water, pure believe it and it's real, don't and it's not. Cousin Shengli, we're carrying a bit too much stuff. Should we make a trip back? No need. Let's go to my trail hut. Come on. Before long, the two of us reached the trail hut Cousin Shengli had mentioned. A so-called trail hut was just a little tree shelter or dugout that hunters threw together casually in the mountains for resting and spending the night. In a word, a temporary stopover. Going in for a look, the house was very small, about 5 cubic meters, holding a bed and a little stove, with a good pile of dry kindling stacked to the stove's left. I set the bag of comb honey blocks in a corner and asked with a smile, Cousin Shengli, when you build this trail hut? Asterisk PSSH asterisk. Where would I find that kind of spare time? Cousin Shengli gave a dry laugh. This is an abandoned trail hut, no telling which hunter built it. I asked around the village and nobody lives here, so I fixed it up a bit and put it to use. He pointed casually at the bed. This bed was left by the last hunter too. I just padded it with some deer sedge, brought a quilt from home. Haven't spent a night here yet. Without a gun on hand, staying in the mountains at night. What if you run into prey? Most wild beasts in the mountains had night vision, and a hunter without a rifle spending the night in the mountains could easily be attacked and bitten to death. The two of them rested a moment, drank some honey water, shut the wooden door tight, and hurried back the way they'd come. Tuanjia Village Production Brigade. Inside the brigade headquarters. Brigade leader Chunda, party branch secretary Li Haiyang, and accountant Zhou Erniu, the three of them sat by the com. These were the brigade's 3 big shots. Without important business, they rarely gathered together. The 3 puffed away on their pipes, not saying a word, anxiety on all their faces, as if waiting for something. Just then a figure came in and said only one line. Secretary Li, couldn't buy any meat, it's all sold out. Ran the commune and the county both. All the meat's gone. Li Haiyang wasn't surprised by this news. He tapped his pipe against the Kong edge and sighed a couple of times. All right, I got it. You head back first. Thank you for your trouble. No trouble, serving the brigade. After the man left, Zhou Erniu shook his head. Secretary Li, this meat. Are we still treating the members to a meal? These were the years of the Great Leap Forward and earning work points. But the brigade didn't run a communal pot mess hall. Each household still ate at home. The autumn harvest was coming up. The autumn harvest was the most physically draining, and every year before the rush harvest, the brigade would put up money to buy 30 or 40 gene of pork, hire a big cook to stew a pot of braised pork with vermicelli, and have the members come eat household by household. The aim was to boost morale, so everyone would work harder at the rush harvest. But these past days, whatever meat there was at the commune and county seat had long been bought up. It never even reached their turn. Buy at the black market? Too pricey, not worth it at all. Chinda got down off the Kong, knocked out his pipe, tied it up, and tucked it into his waist. If nothing else, I'll go ask around the brigade's hunters, see whose family still has meat, and swap work points for it. Zhou Erniu grabbed Chunda as he was about to go. Brigade leader, better not. I asked every household today, where would hunters still have meat? And even if they did, how many would swap meat for work points? 30 or 40 gene. Unless someone bagged a sow or a yellow hare in the mountains, it's all just wishful talk. Li Haiying sighed, bagging a sow or a yellow hare. As if that's so easy. Pork from the mountains was very rank. Only sows and yellow hares had a lighter rank stench. The heavier the boar, the stronger the rank stench, and the tougher and chewier the meat. Sometimes no amount of spices could suppress that stink. Not being able to get the members a meal of meat before the rush harvest weighed heavy on Li Haiyang's heart. Forget it. If nothing else, I'll swallow my old pride and go to the neighboring village to borrow some pork household by household. I refuse to believe I can't scrape together 30 or 40 gene. You two don't idle either. The youths are supposed to start work tomorrow. Is it all arranged? Chinda nodded. All arranged. Li Haiyang staggered out of the brigade headquarters. Watching his back, Chunda and Zhou Erniu sighed. The brigade's days ahead were only going to get harder. Elsewhere, cousin Shengli and I headed toward the cliff heights. Halfway up the path, not yet at the top, Da Huang at our feet suddenly let out a low, rumbling growl. He clenched his teeth, his whole body trembling, not from fear, but from wild elation. Cousin Shengli called out warily, Sugua. I looked down and patted Da Huang. Don't bark. Following his line of sight, a sow lay under an oak tree on the slope above us, only 50 meters away. Looking at it, dread showed in both our eyes. From down the slope, we could even hear its snorting breath. Snort, snort. Wisps of white breath streamed from its nostrils. The sow seemed unaware of the people below. But looking at it lying behind the tree, my eyes filled with delight. A sow this size, if brought down, could definitely sell for a lot of meat. Sell the meat, get money, and I could buy blind boxes. At that thought, I stared feverishly at the pig behind the tree. Cousin Shengli, I called softly, testing, and was just about to draw the sinew and horn bow tight, wanting to see if an arrow smeared with special anesthetic could knock the sow out. Granted, the system had said the special anesthetic could only sedate prey up to small to medium size, but with a large enough dose, might quantity change bring about a qualitative change? If one arrow wouldn't do it, then two. If two wouldn't, 3, 4, 5, 6, surely I could knock it out. It was like a novice angler seeing a 50-some gene big fish swimming about in the water. How could he not get excited? That was exactly my state right now. Cousin Shungli's face was full of shock, the hand hovering in the air pressed down, and he shook his head hard, the meaning being, don't shoot, don't loose. Trembling all over, he slowly edged over to me and yanked me behind the big tree. Don't shoot. Taking on a sow with the arrows we've got is way too hard. Cousin Shengli, I think the two of us can chance it. Turn the bicycle into a motorcycle. We've got Da Huang too. If it actually works out, this is 150 gene sow. I've heard sow meat's the best eating. Can't match domestic pig, but only just a hair short. Cousin Shengli, are we doing it or not? Looking at me, all worked up, Cousin Shengli gave a wry smile. This cousin of his really had guts to spare. Shoot a sow with a sinew and horn bow? How riddled would you have to make it to kill it? Most likely a few arrows would land, and the sow would come charging at the two of them, squealing. A sow's threat wasn't as great as a boar's, but it could kill you too. One gore, like getting hit by a car, and you'd truly suffer a world of misery. Just as Cousin Shengli was wavering, I turned my head to glance at the sow again and suddenly noticed a streak of blood red beside its foot. Spotting this, my mind raced, and I gave Da Huang a pat. Da Huang, bite it hard for me, go. Cousin Shengli. After contract binding through the beast taming system, the beast would obey my commands. Receiving the order, Da Huang charged up without hesitation, barked a couple of times, and lunged straight at the sow beside the tree. Lying under the tree, it had never expected a hunting dog to spring out from behind. Before it could even flip over and rise, Da Huang clamped down on its rump, The sow squealed in pain, its body leaning back against the trunk, staggering as it braced up on its two forelegs, its right hind haunch drooping down. Clearly, its right hind leg was injured. The reason I just urgently ordered Da Huang to bite was mainly for that injured leg. A sow with a lamed leg had its combat power greatly reduced. In other words, even if we couldn't bring it down, Cousin Shengli and I could still retreat safely without it running us down. It's injured? Cousin Shengli's eyes lit up. Great chance. Sugua, this is a great chance. Cousin Shengli, I know. I laughed a couple of times and grabbed the sinewy horn bow to aim. Snort, snort. The sow snorted, two wisps of white breath from its nostrils, and with a swing of its hind haunch flung off Da Huang, who was biting its rump. Whoosh, whoosh. Cousin Shengli and I each loosed an arrow, striking its hind leg and hind haunch respectively. Squeal, squeal. The sow let out a wretched cry and came charging down the mountain, huffing and puffing. As it charged down, the two of us didn't dare block it. We hurriedly ducked behind the tree. Da Huang, chase, chase. Injured and shot. We absolutely couldn't let it run. That was all meat, all money. Da Huang dug in and chased hard down the mountain. The sow ran extremely fast. In a dozen-some seconds it darted to a mountain hollow, over 90 meters from me, out of the sinewy hornbow's range. Fortunately, Da Huang, catching up, blocked it, and pinned it firmly in the hollow. The moment it tried to run, Da Huang would charge in and bite. The sow had no tusks and was injured. It simply couldn't do anything about Da Huang. Seeing this, Cousin Shengli roared. Beautiful, beautiful. Good biting. Sugua, come on, let's get down there quick. He felt his adrenaline surging straight up. Da Huang was truly amazing, pinning the injured so firmly his first time out against a wild boar. Ordinarily, it took 3 or 4 hunting dogs to pin the den, fixing prey in one spot. Getting down to within 50 meters of the sow, I halted. Cousin Shengli fretted, Sugua, go on, don't. Before he'd finished, I deftly knocked an arrow and aimed at the pig in the hollow. Whoosh. The arrow traced a beautiful parabola through the air and pierced straight into the left side of its head, sinking in just 3 centimeters. Seeing the arrow go in, my heart settled. This pig couldn't get away. It was already in the bag. The arrows were all smeared with special anesthetic and sunk 3 centimeters into the left of its skull. The effect showed at once. The sow was just rooting its head at Da Huang when it suddenly went dizzy and heavy, nearly losing its footing, swaying about. Da Huang seized the moment, bit its left cheek and pulled down, and the whole pig toppled to the ground, crashing down hard, the arrow driving several more centimeters into its head. I frowned and grumbled. Tough as nails, not even dead from this. Not hearing any word from the system, I knew it hadn't yet breathed its last. Wild boars in the mountains were tough as nails. An arrow in the brain wouldn't kill them. It had only been knocked out by the anesthetic. Da Huang bit down on the pig's face for dear life, biting clean through even the pig's snout, and only let go when he saw it had gone still. Looking at the motionless sow on the ground, Cousin Shengli's face was full of excitement. Sugua, your Da Huang took the sow down. He did it himself. I shook my head inwardly. Da Huang could block it, but biting it to death was too hard. A sow had thick hide and thick flesh. Da Huang's few bites only made it hurt, pain that wasn't lethal. Unless he bit the neck continuously for a minute, that might just about kill it. Sugua, don't space out. Let's get it quick, the two of us. Cousin Shengli, it's not dead yet. Not dead. Cousin Shengli got such a fright he retreated 2 steps, staring blankly at the pig. I poked it with the gelding knife, the tip breaking skin into flesh, and even twisted it a couple of times. The sow gave no reaction at all. The anesthetic's effect had clearly fully kicked in. How's it not dead? Isn't it dead as a doornail? You're just making a big fuss. I've seen a black bear play dead, but never seen a sow play dead. I said nothing, grabbed the gelding knife and aimed it at the pig's head, raised it high, and brought it down hard. White blade in, red blade out. Ding. Congratulations, host, on successfully slaying the sow. Reward, 15 beast taming points. Hearing the system's announcement, only then did my heart settle. Dead, finally dead. I was thrilled inside. I'd finally hunted a sow. In this line of work, I could count myself as having a real feat under my belt. Cousin Shengli, how do the two of us handle this? Today was only my 2nd day hunting up the mountain. I'd never dressed a wild boar, so this job could only be left to my cousin. I'll do it, you just watch, Cousin Shengli said. In this situation, as long as you've downed a wild boar, whether sow, yellow hair, or boar, the first thing is to gut it and drain the blood. Blood seeping into the meat makes it especially foul-tasting and rank. That's what we call stink gut. He grinned, pulled out his gelding knife, and with a swift stroke slit open the pig's belly. The blood in its belly gushed out all over the ground, thick with the smell of blood. The smell of blood most easily drew other carnivorous prey. I instinctively glanced all around, but spotted no wild beasts. Da Huang, go over there. Uneasy, I pointed to the little hill slope to the north. Da Huang ran over and stood on the slope, looking all around. With this nose-up hound standing guard, there shouldn't be much of a problem. As long as a wild beast drew near, its scent would arrive first, and Da Huang was sure to detect it at the earliest moment. Huff, huff. Cousin Shengli panted heavily, big gulps, and wiped the sweat from his forehead. All that dressing had worn him out badly. Looking at the sow, gutted and drained of blood, he called, Su Gua, the blood's all drained. Cut some meat to feed Da Huang first. I'll skewer the intestines and go make an offering to the mountain god. I answered, called to Da Huang on the north slope, and he came running back wagging his tail. When we walked over to the pig, Cousin Shengli had already skewered out the intestines. Passing by me, he said with a smile, when you bag large prey, you have to make an offering to the mountain god. It's the rule. Praying the mountain god lets us bag big game again next time. Don't just stand there. Cut some meat to feed Da Huang quick. Today he takes top merit. When a hunter brought a dog up the mountain, after downing big game he had to reward the hunting dog. If he brought a whole pack, he also had to award top merit. Whoever had the greatest merit ate first. I gave an cut a couple of times into the pig's belly with the gelding knife, cut off some innards and jowl meat, and threw them to Da Huang. He chewed away, huffing and puffing, eating with sheer gusto. Looking up, I saw Cousin Shengli climb the tree one-handed and drape the intestines skewered on the gelding knife over a branch. That done, he slid whoosh-whoosh back down, instinctively looked down at his crotch and gave it a couple of pats. Nearly tore my crotch open. Cousin Shengli, how do we haul this sow out? 150-some gene. The two of us will just carry it straight out of the mountain. Two people carrying 150 gene wasn't too heavy. It just meant slower going on foot and a bit more effort to get out of the mountain. Sure, Cousin Shengli. Then what are we waiting for? Hurry and carry it out. Today we've got to feast good and proper. I rubbed my hands feverishly, my face full of excitement. Cousin Shengli laughed too. Well said. The two of us will carry the sow and take a stroll into the village. Those old codgers were laughing at us today, so this'll slap them right in the face. Lift. The two of us lifted the pig's 4 limbs and stepped slowly out of the mountain. A dozen some minutes after the two of them left, a grass yellow-brown figure paced over, sprang up the tree in 2 or 3 bounds, rooted at the intestines on the branch with its nose, then lowered its head, took them in its mouth, and ate. Had Cousin Shengli not gone far, seeing this scene would surely have given him a fright. The intestines draped over the branch, eaten by a lynx. The Shanlizi was also called lynx, dubbed the wolf-killing machine, most fond of raiding and eating wolf pups. In this neck of the woods in the northeast, the lynx was the largest feline beast after the Siberian tiger and the Amur leopard. If the two of us, without a rifle, ran into one, we'd absolutely capsize in the gutter. A lynx wasn't as easy to handle as a sow. One swipe of its claw split skin and flesh open, and coupled with that terrifying speed, a hunter trying to hunt down a lynx faced a difficulty no less than killing a big lone boar. Twanjia Village Production Brigade. Under an old locust tree on the brigade's west side, stood a dozen-some women, all around 30 or 40 years old. When they weren't busy, the wives gathered here to gossip and watch the kids. This spot was also jokingly called the Twanjia Village Intelligence Station. Whenever anything happened, they were sure to be the first to know. Have you all heard? This morning that Sugwa boy went up the mountain with Su Shengli. One auntie opened up the conversation, and the women under the trees nearby pricked up their ears and leaned in. Up the mountain. As I recall, Sugwa can't hunt. What's he going up the mountain for? Probably got riled up. That business happened the other day, and the old Su family didn't let the Luli household off. Smashed their pots and all. The mountain's dangerous. I hear a hunter went up half a month ago and saw a lynx, scared half to death, hasn't dared go up in this half month. As they talked, everyone's gaze fell in unison on one middle-aged woman. That was Lu Li's aunt, Li Luhua. This match between Lu Li and Su Gua had been brokered by her in the first place. That Zhao Taijun could get connected with Lu Li was also her needle and thread work. You could say Li Luhua was the chief culprit of this whole affair. Stared at by everyone, Li Luhua felt uneasy all over, cracked a melon seed, and spat. What are you all looking at me for? What's it got to do with me? Even a half-cent's worth. Even if Su Gua dies on the mountain, it's no concern of mine. Whose fault is it he's got no money and no ability? Lu Li not wanting to be with him. Who can you blame? Besides, people move up, water flows down. From the very start, Li Luhua had looked down on Su Guo's family. Brokering the match in the first place was only for the dozen some yuan of matchmaker's money to be made off the Su family. Once the money was in hand, she didn't care what came after. It was already in her pocket anyway. Ma, what are you all chatting about? Just then a figure came walking from the north, carrying 2 pheasants, all smiles. It was Li Luhua's son, Deng Mingyan. My son's here. Seeing the pheasants in her son's hands, Li Luhua grinned and swept a smug glance over the other women, that flaunting impossible to hide, as if to say, my son went up the mountain to hunt. Impressive, eh? The women offered congratulations and praise with their mouths, but in their hearts they'd cursed Li Luhua's ancestors 8 generations back. Coming to show off every time. What's there to show off about? Show off all you like, but she doesn't even think to share a bit of meat. Deng Mingyan lived for this feeling. Every time he bagged prey, he'd make a detour over to the old locust tree, all for the sake of flaunting. Mingyan must have been tough work bagging 2 pheasants, eh? Auntie Zhou, what's tough about it? There's tons of pheasants in the mountains. Bagging this stuff is easy. Deng Mingyan waved the pheasants, feigning ease. In truth, these 2 chickens had cost him a world of effort. He'd run the mountain all day, gotten lucky on the way out and run into 2, and shot them offhand with his rifle. Otherwise, he'd have gone home empty-handed today. Sisterly, you'll be living the good life from now on. Your son's hunting's getting better and better. Who knows? In a while he might bring you back a dumb roe deer. Li Luhua grinned and showed off. That's a given. My son studied hunting for a year, and his skills keep getting better. Not like that half-baked Su Xingli, who took 3 years to graduate his apprenticeship. And nothing like that brainless Su Guo, turned right around and went up the mountain with his cousin. He'll surely come back empty-handed again today. And I've heard Su Xingli hasn't bagged much prey these days either. Probably as dim-witted as Su Guo was as a kid, or why'd it take him 3 years to learn? She went on. Son, in a while don't get your ma a roe deer, get your ma a sow or a yellow hare. That stuff's tasty meat. No sooner had she spoken than a coarse, abusive curse rang out. Screw your granddad. You dog of a Luhua, you damn well want to die. Su Pingjun, passing the old locust tree on his way home from work, happened to hear Li Luhua's whole commentary on his son and his nephew. What sort of people were the 3 Su brothers? Each more reckless than the last. Ordinary small matters and idle talk he didn't take to heart. But what kind of business was this? Shitting right on his head. Hold it in, my ass. And so came those 2 head-on abusive curses just now. This sudden line startled Li Luhua into a full-body shudder, and especially seeing Su Pingjun striding over viciously, she hurriedly ducked behind Deng Mingyan. Deng Mingyan looked at Su Pingjun and spoke. Uncle Pingjun. Before he'd finished, Su Pingjun shoved him aside with one hand. Cursing my son? Talking about my nephew? Whoever you are, one kick as I step up, kicking Li Luhua sprawling to the ground. The rest of the women all stared wide-eyed. Everyone knew the 3 Su brothers were each more ferocious than the last, but who'd have guessed Su Pingjun really dared to raise his foot and kick? They'd thought there'd be some jabbering back and forth first before hands got thrown. Jabbering? If he can throw hands, Su Pingjun won't waste a word. Li Luhua hit the ground with an io, throwing a rolling tantrum and howling wildly. Why do you have to hit me? So unreasonable. The Su family does everything unreasonably. I owe my heavens, my kneecap, my knee bone. Deng Mingyan's face turned ashen, hitting his ma right in front of him? Unbearable. He raised his head and glared at Su Pingjun. Forget it. Best to hold it in. No beating him. Su Pingjun stood 1.83 meters, had done farm work for over 20 years, in the prime of his strength. Come to a real fight, the one at a loss would be himself. Uncle Pingjun, what are you doing? My ma's getting on in years. How could you raise a hand? Raise a hand, so what? Su Pingjun spat. You jabber one more word at me, boy, and I'll beat you along with her. Your ma's this old and still wagging her tongue behind people's backs. No shame at all. And you dare curse my son behind his back one more time, I'll beat the shit right out of you. If it won't come out, that's you clenching it in tight. A few women who'd meant to intervene flushed red with embarrassment, not daring to step up and speak. They were all farmers' families, but this talk was too crude. What's this, if it won't come out? That's clenching it in tight. Deng Mingyan's face went through shades of green and red. He didn't dare talk back, didn't dare strike back either. Seeing him like this, contempt showed in the women's eyes. His ma got hit, and the son doesn't dare move? Utterly gutless. I owe my heavens, there's no justice. Li Luhua slapped the ground and howled. Which word did I say wrong? Your family's screw loose Shengli and that idiot Su Gua going up the mountain to hunt? What could those two bag? Look at my son, then look at that idiot Su Gua. Could they bag a pheasant? The more Li Luhua talked, the more worked up she got, pouring out every word in her heart, entirely failing to notice her son Dang Mingyin frightened, ashen, and trembling all over. Asterisk, this is bad, this is bad. Ma, would you please shut your mouth? Say any more, and our family's pots'll get smashed by the Zust too. Asterisk. My son gets stronger by the day. Soon he'll bring me back a sow, and I'll eat meat at home and make you drool with envy. I'm telling you. Telling my granddad. You're cursing, you compare this and that, you dog of a Li Luhua. I'll screw your ancestors 8 generations back. Deng Mingyin froze, a little dazed. Something's off, 12 parts off. Su Pingjun clearly hadn't opened his mouth, so where'd this voice come from? Everyone else, Li Luhua included, was baffled. They hadn't seen Su Pingjun open his mouth. Then that voice came again, from behind Li Luhua. Li Luhua, look this way. Li Luhua instinctively turned her head, and right after she found her body toppling backward, no, flying backward, crashing hard onto the ground, 5 bright red handprints rising on her face. She'd been hit 10 seconds earlier. Cousin Shengli and I were carrying the pork home, and the way home happened to pass the old locust tree. My ear caught Li Luhua cursing behind our backs. Could I bear that? I set down the sow's 2 forelegs and cursed at her. Before she could react, I shouted Li Luhua as I ran. And the instant she turned around, I used the momentum of my run to give her a vicious slap, which was how the scene of her getting slapped flying came about. This one slap counted as going easy. If it hadn't been for her brokering that match in the first place, where would all the mischief afterward have come from? Li Luhua clutched her blood-flushed face, her gaze dull. Hit. Hit again. First kicked by Su Pingjun, then slapped by me. Mama, are you all right? Deng Mingyin helped her up and glared viciously at me. You dare lay hands on my ma? So what? Not convinced. I sneered. You'd best behave yourself, or I'll beat you along with her. The aunties watching the show muttered inwardly. How come the Su family's all so reckless? The old generation reckless, and the new generation just as reckless. Deng Mingyin's face flushed red with humiliation, his clenched fist not daring to swing out. Beating me, he had more than enough to spare, but his gaze swept over Su Pingjun behind me, and cousin Shengli slowly walking over. 1 against 3? Forget it, best to hold it in. I couldn't be bothered with him and grinned. Big uncle. Su Pingjun nodded, and was just about to praise how beautifully I'd landed that slap, when I pointed behind me first. Cousin Shengli and I took down a sow in the mountains. No sooner had I spoken than everyone's gaze swung over in unison. A whole intact sow lay on the ground, and as the wind blew, a faint smell of blood drifted over, as if telling everyone, this isn't fake, it's real. Dad, don't just stand there, lend a hand. Cousin Shengli called out to Su Pingjun. Su Pingjun came out of his shock, strode over quickly, and looking at the pig on the ground, a flash of keen light burst from his eyes. A sow, truly a sow. Ask which meat from the mountains was the most fragrant, and a hunter would surely say, sow. Sow meat's the most fragrant. The women watching the show crowded in. A sow, truly a sow. One this big, 150 some gene at the least, no small size. Meat, it's all meat. Shengli, you bag this. Cousin Shengli shook his head and pointed at me and Da Huang. I just played support. Mainly it was Su Gua's Da Huang who was impressive, biting the sow down hard so it couldn't run, and only then could we kill it. The women clicked their tongues a couple of times and praised me all smiles, saying they'd seen long ago that Su Gua would make something of himself, saying the two of us were impressive. Good thing you split with Lu Li. Otherwise who knows what scheme she'd have cooked up to get this sow for herself. There was no fault in that. In the past, whenever I had something good, I'd send it over to Lu Li's family. Aunties, that's all in the past. I'm not the fool I was back then. The earth keeps turning no matter who's gone. Well said, well said. While it was all giggles and chatter over here, Li Luhua over there was in disbelief, her face ashen as she shook her head. Impossible, impossible. How could they possibly take down a sow? Fake, it's all fake. Ha ha ha. Su Pingjun glanced at the sky and grabbed the sow's forelegs. Shengli, come on, to Su Gua's place. Right away. Su Pingjun, myself, and cousin Shengli, under everyone's watchful eyes, carried the sow home, reaching the house before long. Mom, I'm back. My mom, still stitching a layered sole in the yard, looked up at the shout and saw my dad's eldest brother Su Pingjun and cousin Shengli carrying in a sow, the pig still dripping blood, drip drip. My mom shot up from her stool. Oh my goodness, how'd you bag a sow? Shengli, you bag it. She instinctively assumed cousin Shengli had bagged it. Her own son had only been hunting 2 days. What could he have learned in 2 days? Take down this pig? Who'd believe it? She didn't. Cousin Shengli shook his head and pointed at me. Annie, it wasn't me. It was Su Gua and Da Huang who took it down. I just helped loose an arrow. Mainly Da Huang was too fierce. Youngest? Da Huang. My mom cocked her head at me. Asterisk my youngest, this impressive? Down a sow on his second day up the mountain? A newborn calf that fears no tiger. Asterisk she looked again at Da Huang beside me. Da Huang held his head high, chest out, his look as if to say, right? I'm the one who did it. In reality, the special anesthetic had done the meritorious work. A house-watching dog. Really this impressive? Sister-in-law? Where's third brother? Not home. No, not off work yet. Probably on the road back. Looking at a pig this big, my mom's eyes rolled. Shengli, since taking down the sow was partly your merit too. How about this? You two split it evenly. How's that? Being able to down a sow this time was her son's good luck, and it also showed her son was truly cut out for this line. But suited as he was, he still needed someone to bring him along. Clear accounts between real brothers, so better to go with the flow. Split the meat half each, so her youngest could keep learning to hunt with Shengli going forward. Having said that, she shot me a glance, and I nodded indifferently. Cousin Shengli, I think it works. What do you say? No. Splitting by the rules is fine. I only helped a little bit. The merit's mainly Da Huang's and yours. Cousin Shengli waved his hand. You take the big share of the meat, I'll take the small share. What's this yours and mine splitting between you two? My mom said with a smile. You grew up sharing one pair of pants since you were little. This time it's half each. Besides, this boy's eaten no small amount of game at your place before. The pheasants and rabbits you've bagged, haven't you sent them to my family too? No need to figure it all so precisely. After a few rounds of persuasion, Cousin Shengli finally nodded and agreed, half each. My mom hurried inside in a rush and came out with a cleaver. All right, then it's settled, half each. Eldest brother, help me hold it steady. I'll do the chopping. Sure. Su Pingjun put away his pipe and helped me and Cousin Shengli pin the pig down. My mom swung the cleaver, chop chop, and before long the sow was split down the middle and the pig's head, with a full swing, was severed off whole. Eldest brother, this leftover pig's head. How about our three families eat it together? Su Pingjun nodded. Sure, then I'll go call second brother over for dinner in a bit. Our three families can have a merry time tonight. Nothing better. The news that Cousin Shengli and I had taken down a sow swept through the whole village like a gust of wind. The villagers all knew. Brigade Secretary Li Haiyang puffed away on his dry tobacco pipe, his face full of worry, just about to head to the brigade headquarters. Today he'd swallowed his old pride but still hadn't borrowed any meat. He'd asked around every nearby production brigade, and there was no meat, and even where there was, no one would lend it. In these times a meal of meat wasn't easy. Who'd lend meat out? Forget it. This year the members will just have to make do. If they can't get meat before the rush harvest, so be it. After the harvest, I'll find a way to make it up to everyone. Just as he entered the brigade yard, he collided head-on with someone, staggered back a couple of steps, and nearly fell. Zhou Ernia blurted out. Holy hell, which little brat? How's it you, Secretary Li? Zhou Ernia smacked his own mouth and steadied him. Secretary Li, sorry just now. I was too rushed. What's your rush? The secretary rolled his eyes at him irritably. A grown man over 40, all slapdash. Where's your decorum? Right, go holler a few shouts in a bit. Say the matter of treating the members to braised pork with vermicelli the day after tomorrow. It's cancelled. Cancelled? Zhou Ernia slapped his thigh. Uncle, it can't be cancelled. Not cancel. The secretary rolled his eyes at him again. I don't want to cancel it either, but where's the pork? I've swallowed my old pride. The other brigades simply won't lend. Where are you going to scrounge up pork? Li Haiyang grew more worked up as he spoke, raising a hand to smack his own old face a couple of times. He was angry in his heart, distressed, feeling he'd let the members down badly. The other brigades could all get a bit of meat before the rush harvest, and only their brigade was so poor it couldn't even lay hands on meat. Secretary Li, there's something you don't know. Just half an hour ago, Su Gua and Su Shengli, the two cousins, took down a sow in the mountains, a good 150 some gene. How about we swap work points with them for some meat? For real. Zhou Ernia scratched his head awkwardly. Secretary Li, this business. I heard it from the villagers too. I was rushing out just now precisely to go to Su Gua's place and confirm whether there was such a thing. Come on. The two of us are going right now. With whether the members could get a meal of meat at stake, he was more anxious than anyone. Li Haiyang, over 50, ran incredibly fast. Zhou Ernia, over 40, could only watch his back and holler after him. Wait for me. Wait for me. Elsewhere, the Liu family had heard of this too. Su Lihua sprang 3 feet into the air. That dog Su Gua. Why didn't he just die on the mountain? And he even bagged a sow and brought it home. What dumb dog luck. Sitting on the Kong edge, Liu Xiaojun knocked out his pipe. Kids ma, settle down a bit. Third, tomorrow's the repayment day, and you still haven't lured Su Gua to the cornfield by the river. Liu Li's face was ashen. I went yesterday, and he chased me out. Dad, you can't catch a wolf without giving up the child. How about we do it my way? You give me the family's 100 yuan of savings. I take the 100 Zhao Taijun gave, and pay all 200 back to Su Gua. Hearing they had to dip into the savings, Lu Guoping and Lu Goen beside them went ashen in an instant. That bit of family savings was set aside for the two of them to marry on, handed out now. And what would they marry wives with in the future? Borrow money to marry. Dad, this won't do. Right? Savings gone. How do the two of us get married? Big brother, second brother. Lu Li said, how do you not get it? What I mean is, pay the 200 back to Su Gua, win his trust, and then I'll sweet-talk him into the cornfield. And at that point you catch us in the act. Extort the 200 back, and throw in extorting that sow of his family's too. If they won't hand it over, we take it all the way to the Women's Federation. Take it to the Public Security Bureau. I refuse to believe Su Pingyan would dare let his only son go to prison. Liu Xiaojun nodded. All right, let's do it this way. Kids ma, go get the money. Night fell, and my dad Su Pingyan walked along the road back to the village facing the moonlight. Not long after entering the village, he noticed villagers looking at him and pointing, which left him bewildered. Asterisk, could it be my youngest caused trouble? No, that's not right. My youngest went up the mountain running the mountain with Su Xingli. What trouble could he cause? Asterisk. Just as he was puzzling, a gray-haired old man beside him came up, all smiles. Pingyan, your son's badass amazing. Hearing this, my dad's heart gave a sudden lurch. Asterisk, son, badass amazing? Could something really have gone wrong? Asterisk. He asked uneasily. Uncle, what do you mean? Pingyan, you don't know yet, do you? Your son Su Gua and Su Xingli, the two of them bagged a sow off the mountain. Isn't that just badass amazing? What? Joy burst from my dad's eyes, his breathing quickening. Really? Really? Don't believe me. Ask anyone else. After asking a few more villagers, my dad ran home in high spirits. Son, you've really done your old man proud. Big Aunt, Second Aunt. Having finished feeding the otter, I saw, out in the yard, Big Aunt Lu Lighting, Second Aunt Shenhua, along with Second Uncle's family, had come into the yard. I hurriedly handed over stools and greeted them. Big Aunt Lu Lighting greeted me, not stopping her feet, washed her hands, and slipped into the kitchen to help. Ah, so this is the sow you and Xingli took down? What a big size. Second Aunt Shenhua sat down and said with a smile, looking at the pig split in two. Second Uncle Su Pingyuan patted my shoulder. Su Gua, you're pretty capable boy. Xingli, did you teach him? Second Uncle's eldest son Su Yuanchao was of the same generation as me and cousin Xingli, the three of us close in age. Cousin Xingli oldest, Su Yuanchao next, me youngest. Half a month ago, Su Yuanchao had gone up the mountain with cousin Xingli to learn to run the mountain. Learned for half a month and bagged nothing. And in the end it just fizzled out. Catching the hidden meaning in Second Uncle's words, cousin Xingli gave a wry smile. Second Uncle, I don't have that skill. Being able to down a sow this time was purely Da Huang being impressive. Second Uncle, you'd never guess. Da Huang's actually a nose-up hound. Whoa, a nose-up hound. No wonder they could down a sow. With a nose-up hound, finding prey in the mountains was as easy as drinking water. I scanned the crowd, but didn't see Su Yuanchao. Second Uncle, cousin Yuanchao didn't come? No, he didn't. That boy found some odd job in the county seat. Just screwing around. Whatever he amounts to, he amounts to. Never mind him. You all tell me. How do you take down this sow? Secretary Li and Zhou Erniu hurried anxiously to my house. A fire burned in the yard, driving off the darkness. Seeing the two arrive, the Su family around the fire, Su Pingjun hurriedly stood up. Secretary Li, Accountant Zhou, what wind blew the two of you here? The secretary didn't bother with him. His gaze swept the yard, and seeing the sow on the ground, joy burst from his eyes. Seeing him like this, my heart gave a lurch. Asterisk, he's not going to grab the meat, is he? Asterisk. At present, the mountain's produce counted as collective. Ordinarily bagging a rabbit or squirrel, everyone pretended not to see. But this sow was different, 150 some gene. Really bagged a sow? Well done, impressive, impressive. The secretary walked over to me and cousin Xingli. You two bagged the sow, right? Uncle wants to discuss something with you. Could you sell the brigade some of this meat? The brigade'll swap work points. No. Money. Buy it with money. 8 manhwaedit. How's that? Cousin Shengli and I exchanged glances, a little bewildered. Agree or not? Was it a trap? Besides, that price was way too cheap. Taken to the black market, it'd fetch at least 4 times as much. Behind us, Su Pingjun and Su Pingyuan kept gesturing at us, telling us to agree. Sure, Secretary Li, we can sell. 8 manhwaedit. How much do you want? 30 Jean. Hearing this number, our 2 uncles behind us breathed a sigh of relief. Good thing he wasn't buying much. The 2 of us reckoned selling the brigade 30 Jean, 12 yuan each. Li Haiyang took the 30 Jean of meat, his face all smiles, and patted my shoulder. Su Gua, Su Shengli, from now on when you go up the mountain to hunt, any surplus prey you can sell to the brigade, and the brigade'll credit you work points, with dividends at year's end. Oh, a heads up for you too. Best get a hunter's license quick, so nobody in the brigade gets jealous and reports you. All right, I won't say more. The day after tomorrow, the brigade's treating the whole village to braised pork with vermicelli. You all come, hear me? Only then did I catch on. Every year before the rush harvest, the brigade treated the members to meat, to give everyone a boost of morale. The rush harvest was no easy thing. Every time it wore the members down to a layer of skin. Of the whole year, the rush harvest was the busiest. All right, don't see us off. You two, Ernie, you, and I will head back on our own. Reaching the gate, Li Haiyang waved at the 2 uncles. Secretary Li? Eldest brother, second brother, what are you all doing? My dad was back. Pingin, you're back just in time. The few of them chatted a while more at the gate before Secretary Li and Accountant Zhou finally left. Coming into the yard and looking at that half a pig, my dad grinned wide and laughed. Real, not fake. My son's truly impressive. Dad, you're back? Didn't bag a roe deer, does bagging a sow count? My dad smacked a hand on my head, so happy his mouth couldn't close. Counts, of course it counts. In just one day, my dad had changed his tune. No help for it. Yesterday he was still going on about his son not being able to down a dumb roe deer, and today the son brought back a sow. Walking all the way home from the village's west end, how many villagers he'd met, how much face he'd had. He knew perfectly well in his heart. You're more capable than your old man, boy. From now on your old man'll let you run the mountain and hunt with Shengli. But an unpleasant word up front. Don't you go burrowing into the deep mountains, boy, and no spending the night in the mountains, hear me? His son had the talent for this line and was willing to run the mountain, so he'd let him. But he still had to lay out the rules clearly to keep him from getting a swelled head and burrowing recklessly into the deep mountains. Dad, don't worry, I'm not stupid. Of course I know you're not stupid. You're my son, definitely not stupid. My dad grinned wide and laughed. Just then waves of meat aroma drifted from the kitchen. The braised pig's head, cut into several sections, was out of the pot. The fragrance spread through the whole yard, and every adult and child in the yard gave a full-body shudder. Fragrant, truly fragrant. The Kong couldn't seat this many people, so we had to set up 2 8 immortals tables in the yard. Half the braised pig's head to a table, and today's staple was white flour steamed buns. The kids swallowed their drool nonstop. Don't just stand there, eat up, eat. A jubilant feast opened up at the Su household. In my memory, the last time this many mouths, a dozen some, gathered together in such liveliness was Grandpa's funeral. Even then, gathered as everyone was, we hadn't eaten much meat. But today was different. Today we could eat meat, eat braised pig's head. The happiest were the kids, who hadn't had a taste of anything meaty in ages. Big uncle and big aunt had 4. Second uncle and second aunt had 5. My family had 3. In these times, which family didn't have 4 or 5 kids? My mom and dad only had 3, counted as few in the whole brigade. Those who could bear had 7 or 8, even 9 or 10, no problem. Looking all around, the kids ate with grease all over their mouths. They had little grease in their bellies to begin with. Today, catching the chance to eat meat, they threw open their bellies and chowed down with gusto. The 3 fathers, by contrast, ate slowly, as if deliberately leaving the meat for the kids. Seeing this, I picked up pork and placed it into the 3 of their bowls. Dad, big uncle, second uncle, eat meat, don't just keep chatting. The 3 exchanged a smile, nodded, and started eating. Just then came the sound of the gate being pushed from outside. Luli walked in alone. Sniffing the meat aroma in the yard, and glancing again at the sow meat scattered on the ground, a trace of resentment showed in Luli's eyes. Asterisk, why do you get to eat meat and my family doesn't? Why not send the meat over to my family? Not sending it. Tomorrow I'll extort it all back home. Asterisk. Luli, what are you here for? Want another beating? I stood up, watching her pitiable, plaintive act with a mocking eye. wanting only to laugh. I'd rather like to see what mischief she was going to cook up now. Here to deliver money? Spotting the gunny sack she carried behind her back, I grinned. 200 yuan inside, right? It's 200 yuan. Hurry and take the money. Luli paused. I'll give you the money. And you? Could you go with me to the riverside up north tomorrow evening? Again? A honey trap setup? You take me for blind? When she said this yesterday, I already knew she was up to no good. Nothing but that honey trap scheme. So what? Trying to set me up? Lu Li's expression flustered, and she waved her hand. No, no plans to set you up. She gritted her teeth, her little face flushing red. I feel like I owe you, and I was thinking, I'll give myself to you once, to make it up to you. How's that? Asterisk, I bet you won't take the bait. Back when you wanted me this badly, I didn't agree. Now that I've laid it out plain, I bet you can't hold back. Asterisk. I froze at first, then a bold plan popped into my mind, and I nodded with a smile. Give me the money first, then I'll have one farewell forever romp with you. On the surface, Lu Li flushed with embarrassment as she handed over the money, laughing to herself inside. Asterisk Sugwa. Oh Sugwa, you really are one stupid dog. Tomorrow, I'll make you pay it back double. Asterisk. I took the money bag, opened it and counted, just the right amount, and grinned. Not bad, the money's all here. Then, see you tomorrow evening. See you tomorrow evening. After Lu Li left, I went back to the table. Before the stool was even warm, cousin Shengli tapped the table lightly. Sugwa, you can't go tomorrow evening. Go, and you'll surely fall into their trap. The three fathers all chimed in too. Can't go tomorrow. No good will come of going. Dad, all of you relax. Even if I were bewitched, I wouldn't fancy trash like Lu Li. The reason I agreed is for. I laid out the plan in my heart. Hearing it, astonishment rose on all four faces in unison. Sugwa, this idea is good. She wants to set us up, so we'll blow this business wide open. Let her taste what it's like to hunt geese all day only to have your eye pecked out by a goose. Half an hour later, a meal eaten to full satisfaction, everyone with grease-shiny faces. They got up to stroll about the yard to aid digestion and chat. Then big uncle and cousin Shengli shouldered the leftover meat and left. I stopped second uncle Su Pingyuan as he was about to go, cut 10 jin of meat and handed it over. He didn't stand on ceremony either, taking it with a smile. Off we go. Second uncle, take it slow on the road. Got it, head back now, head back. After they left, I helped my mom clear the tables and stools. The pig's head was eaten down to just bones. I tossed the whole lot to Da Huang and cut another jin of meat for him. Da Huang gnawed the bones and chewed the meat, mightily pleased. Just as I was about to head inside, my dad stopped me. Son, of that 200 yuan the Lu family repaid us, give your old man 100. Me? Dad, what are you doing? Didn't we agree this 200 was for me to buy a gun? How come you're taking it back? My dad's old face flushed, and he gave a couple of light coughs. That business, it's for buying you a gun. That's right. But 200 can't buy a gun either, can it? Give your old man 100. I'll hold it for you. And when you've got more money and it's time to buy the gun, I'll give this 100 back to you. Dad, you're not going to hoodwink me, are you? Asterisk PSSH asterisk. You're my son and I'm your dad. What would I hoodwink you for? Fine. I helplessly handed him a big tenner. Getting one big tenner, my dad's face filled with question marks. Asterisk, I asked for 100, you give me 10? What the hell? Asterisk. Still 90 short? Can't give any more. Dad, you wouldn't want mom to know you took 10 yuan from me, would you? At these words, a flustered look flashed in my dad's eyes. He gave a couple of light coughs and put on an air of nothing having happened. Don't tell your mom, hear me? Got it, got it. Watching my back as I went inside, my dad shook his head. When this boy gets so shrewd, he'd meant to squeeze a bit of cigarette money out of his son and never expected to be checkmated instead. Forget it, 10's no small amount either. I shut the door tight, lay down on the Kong, and opened up the beast taming system to take a look. Beast taming points had climbed to 37. Not bad. Then I opened the blind box system, and looking at those 7 colored blind boxes, I chose the blue blind box worth 100 yuan. Ding. Congratulations, host, on successfully redeeming a blue blind box. As the system's ethereal voice fell, the 202 yuan in my pocket was down to 102. My fortune shrank by half. I pressed my palms together. Heavens above bless me, Buddha bless me, Bodhisattva bless me. System, open for me. Ding. Congratulations, host, on successfully drawing 3 pieces of Tuanjia Village Production Brigade Intelligence. Intelligence 1. Tomorrow evening, Lu Li and her 2 brothers are planning a honey trap. Intelligence 2. The evening after tomorrow, someone will break into the youth quarters intending to assault a female educated youth. Intelligence 3. In the mountains, at the pond gully beneath the crooked-neck tree on the sunny slope to the north, there's an injured lynx. Looking at these 3 pieces of intelligence, I couldn't help rolling my eyes. System, you're damn well skimming my money. 100 yuan opens 3 pieces of intel? You're a goddamn intelligence system now. Screw you, refund me. After settling my mood, 2 little figures fought in my head. Go all in? Or hold on to it? Going all in is a kind of wisdom. All in is exactly what I do. System, redeem me another blue blind box. Ding. Congratulations, host, on successfully redeeming a blue blind box. Now, I had only 2 yuan left in my pocket. Looking at this last blue blind box, I drew a deep breath. System, open for me, open. Ding. Congratulations, host, on successfully obtaining a 10 cubic meters personal mini world. Listening to the system's ethereal sound, delight burst from my eyes. A 10 cubic meters personal mini world? Before I could savor the excitement in my heart, a faint, elusive, strange gravity gently tugged at my mind, as if calling to me. My heart stirred, and almost instinctively I silently intoned, "Open." No sooner had the word landed than a bizarre scene unfolded. Having been standing steady in the adobe house, my figure swayed without any warning, and the next second I vanished as if from thin air, disappearing out of nowhere in the empty room, not leaving so much as a trace. Opening my eyes again, I found myself in an utterly different world. This was a small space wrapped in faint white light, the light soft and not harsh, the air fresh and clean, even carrying a whiff of grass and greenery. Underfoot was level, solid black earth, steady and secure to stand on. Only, this place really was too small. 10 cubic meters, just a bit roomier than an oversized wardrobe. Standing in the middle and casually lifting your eyes, you could see the end, take it all in at a glance. I reached out and lightly touched the semi-transparent wall of light ahead, slightly cool to the touch, hard as anything, not budging in the least. Withdrawing my hand, I looked down to examine the earth underfoot and couldn't help murmuring, "Small it may be, but it's enough for now. From here on, hunting in the mountains, I won't have to shoulder and carry my catch anymore. Just toss it into the space, easy and discreet." In these times, even the smallest bit of meat was preciously scarce. If someone saw me shouldering big game home, it'd surely invite a heap of trouble and gossip. With this personal mini-world, it was like having one more layer of the surest safeguard. At that thought, I immediately asked the air, "System, can this space keep expanding its territory later?" 10 cubic meters was of course more than enough to temporarily store game and grain, but people are greedy. This little bit of space was, after all, too cramped. Ding. Host question detected. Fusing identical personal mini-worlds can infinitely expand the space's territory. The system answered crisp and clean. Hearing this, that bit of worry I'd been holding on to settled steadily back into my belly. As long as it could expand, that was fine. As long as it could upgrade, everything was easy. I pushed down my excitement, and with a stir of thought, the next second I was back in the adobe house. Once steady, I didn't idle. I immediately started testing this space's uses. First, I stowed the sinew-horned bow from the corner inside. The bow flashed and vanished. Then, with a thought, it fell steadily back into my hand. Next, the basket, the hatchet, the hemp rope, even the half-chunk of coarse-grained cake on the table. Stow and retrieve. All handy, as smooth and natural as an arm directing its fingers. Done testing inanimate objects, I got the urge to test living things too. Looking around, there wasn't even a chick in the room besides me, and the yard was empty too. The only living thing was Da Huang, sprawled at the door and sound asleep. Da Huang was the only beast pet I'd contracted at this stage. Fierce in temperament, sharp of nose, quick on his legs, my most capable helper hunting in the mountains and catching fish in the river. The moment this thought surfaced, I snuffed it out without hesitation. No, too risky. What if the space couldn't store living things, and once inside a living thing would suffocate, or even turn to ash? Wouldn't Da Huang lose his life for nothing? In these times, a good hunting dog's worth was no lower than a strong laborer's. I absolutely couldn't gamble with him. In the yard, Da Huang, sleeping soundly, suddenly gave a shudder without warning, as if targeted by something dangerous. Even the tip of his tail tensing up, a chill rushing from the tail's tip straight to the crown of his head. He warily lifted his head, but all around was silent, not even a breath of wind. Da Huang cocked his head and gave a couple of puzzled whimpers, and confirming there was no danger, lazily lay back down in place, buried his head into his paws, and went back to sleep, wholly unaware he'd just circled once past the gate of hell. not daring to test with Da Huang for a living thing. I could only lie helplessly back on the calm, but toss and turn as I might, I couldn't fall asleep. Close my eyes, and it was all images of the personal mini-world. Thinking of the space expanding later, grain heaped up, game in droves. I got so excited my heart pounded thump-thump, all drowsiness gone. In these times of eating this meal without knowing where the next would come from, with two systems in hand and a personal mini-world besides, who could keep calm? Can't sleep. I abruptly threw off the quilt and sat up, my eyes lighting up. Since I couldn't sleep, and idling was idling, better to go do something useful. Go to the river to pull up the fish traps, see if any fish have gone in. Yesterday evening, I deliberately set several dead-end fish traps in a row at the river's deep bend, the crevice mouths, and the waterweed thickets, and I'd even put in bait of minced meat and innards inside. The rank, fishy smell was best for luring river fish and soft-shell turtles. I hopped down off the calm, softly put on my cloth shoes, felt for the flashlight by the door in the dark, and, trying not to make a sound, pushed the door open and slipped silently out into the night. At this hour, every household had long since put out the lights and slept. The whole of Tuanjia village was pitch dark and quiet. Only a few insect chirps and a distant dog's bark especially clear in the night. My steps were light as I jogged along the field ridge, and soon reached the riverside where I'd set the traps. The river's surface at night was pitch black, moonlight scattered over the water shimmering with a cold gleam, dense water weeds covering the site beneath the surface. Reaching out to feel, the river water was icy, carrying the night's chill. I crouched down, reached into the water weeds from memory of the daytime, and soon felt the fish trap's coarse hemp rope mouth. Grasping the rope firmly, I put strength into my wrist and yanked up hard. A heavy, weighty feel came at once, the trap dragging up a sloshing sound in the water, full of weight, definitely no empty trap. A catch. Looked like no small haul either. I put in more effort and hauled the trap fully clear of the water, carried it over to a dry spot on the bank, and was just about to open it and check when in the instant I looked up I glimpsed a slender figure walking slowly along the river. My sight was unclear at night, but that silhouette I recognized at a glance. It was Tuanjia village's most lamented and most unapproachable Widow Lu. She wore a blue cloth jacket washed pale and patched in several places. The clothes were old but starched and washed spotless, without a single crease or stain. The night wind lifted the hem, revealing the equally worn but tidy off-white undergarment beneath, plain as plain could be. Yet even clothes like these couldn't conceal her looks and figure. A palm-sized little face that ought to have been rosy was, at this moment, tinged with an unhealthy pallor from long going hungry, short a few shades of color, added a few shades of a frail, sickly beauty. In the night she stood alone at the riverside, especially slight and lonely, stirring pity in one's heart. I had some impression of Widow Lu. This woman's fate was bitter. She'd lost her father young, was married off carelessly by her maiden family as a burden, and having with great difficulty married an honest man. Before she'd had a few days of peace, she lost her husband in middle age and became a widow. The village's idle-tongued gossips, at loose ends, wagged their tongues everywhere, saying her fate was harsh, that she killed off fathers and husbands, that she was a born jinx, that whoever touched her had bad luck. Over time, no one in all of Tuanjia village dared get close to her, much less dared lend her a hand. She'd clearly noticed me on the bank. In the moment our four eyes met, those pretty eyes of hers held not the least ripple, neither dodging nor warm, only a stretch of numb deathliness, like a pool of withered water, without any hope to be seen. I wasn't the meddling type, nor did I want, in these sensitive times, to get tangled in some murky relationship with a widow and invite gossip. I didn't open my mouth to speak, only politely smiled and nodded at her by way of a greeting, then lingered no longer, picked up the weighty fish trap, and turned ahead for the opposite bank. Widow Lu watched my departing back, her lips stirring slightly, but in the end said nothing, still numbly walking slowly along the river, like a soulless puppet. Reaching a hidden spot on the far bank, I ducked behind a sturdy, old locust tree, and only after confirming there was no one around did I carefully open the trap mouth by the cold, clear moonlight. Peering inside, I broke into a grin on the spot. Inside lay two palm-sized big soft-shell turtles, shells thick and solid, claws sharp, plainly full of wild vigor and rich, fatty meat. I grinned and poked the turtle shells. You two are quite the gluttons, a little minced meat and innards, and you both got lured right in. I'd only put in some leftover minced meat and innards from hunting on a try-it-and-see whim, and never expected it could really draw in big soft-shell turtles. The two turtles, alarmed, suddenly stretched out their heads and opened their mouths to bite my fingers, all ferocious. Quick of eye and hand, I gave the two heads a few light slaps with one hand. Not much force but precise, and the two turtles were instantly slapped dazed, obediently pulling their heads back in and lying at the trap's bottom, no longer daring to be cocky. Two big soft-shell turtles. Now this is good stuff. The more I looked, the more satisfied I got. This stuff's the most nourishing, promotes milk and replenishes chi. Take it near the county seat hospital, and I'm sure to find buyers who need it badly. Swap it for some money and coupons easy. I shook the trap and looked closely a few more times. Besides the two turtles, there were 3 lively crucian carp in the trap, each palm-sized, scales silver bright, plump indeed, thrashing about and splashing up plenty of water. This time it's truly a bumper harvest. Joy nearly brimmed over. Suddenly, I remembered something. I hadn't yet tested whether the personal mini-world could hold living things. Wasn't there a ready-made test subject right here? With a stir of thought, I grabbed a still-thrashing crucian carp from the trap and silently intoned to enter the space. The next second, 1 man and 1 fish vanished right behind the locust tree. Inside the personal mini-world, I stood steady, the crucian carp in my hand, startled, suddenly thrashed, and flew from my palm, landing splat on the black earth, its tail flailing wildly, full of vigor, without the least sign of suffocation or injury. Looking at the lively crucian carp, I froze for a second, then couldn't hold back an ecstatic laugh. Can bring living things in. Nice. That means, as long as the space's territory keeps expanding, I can not only store things, but directly farm and grow grain inside. Build my own safe granary and breeding farm. Widow Lou stepped over the night-dew-dampened earthen slope, inching step by step to the riverside. The September night wind, carrying the river's damp cold, bored into her sleeves. Wrapped in her coarse cloth-padded jacket patched over several layers, she still felt stiff all over. The water celery by the river grew lush, green tender shoots topped with fine, small leaves, glowing with a gentle sheen in the moonlight. This stuff wasn't rare in the village. It lined the whole riverbank. But in these years short on food and clothing, cutting some to fill the belly counted as adding a bit of grease flex to a bland life. She crouched down, pant legs rolled to her knees, exposed calves chilled blue, toes stabbing into the wet, soft mud, cold creeping up from the soles. Fumbling in her bosom for a good while, she pulled out a polished bright folding knife, the only keepsake her maiden family had sent along at her marriage, the blade narrow but the edge honed sharp. Aiming at the tenderest clump of water celery, she gave her wrist a light twist, a crisp *shhk* sounding, mingling with the rank smell of the river drifting over. She cut slowly, stroke by stroke. In these years, oil was more precious than gold. The oil jar at home had long shown its bottom. Widow Lou's home had even less of anything. Less than 3 months after her marriage, her man had gone into the mountains with the hunting team and never come back. The villagers wagged their tongues, saying she was of husband-killing fate, killing off her own man, and killing the in-law family's ability to hold their heads up too. Having cut a small half-basket, the bamboo basket pressed down heavily. She straightened up and pounded her aching waist, lifted her head to glance at the moon in the sky. Its clear radiance scattering over the river's surface, shattered into a spread of silver scales. This life, when will it ever end? She sighed softly. Tears welled in her eyes. She raised a hand and wiped, the back of her hand grazing her cheek and smearing on a layer of mud. In this moment, she really wanted to plunge headfirst into the river. The river water was a bit cold, but it beat waking every day to worry over food and clothing, poked it behind the back. But no sooner had the thought surfaced than that faint bit of survival instinct at the bottom of her heart snuffed it out. She didn't want to die. A wretched life beat a good death. Even if tomorrow she still had to go to the riverside to dig wild vegetables, go to the commune to collect that pitifully meager relief grain. Being alive, after all, held a bit of hope. She picked up the bamboo basket, scuffed her foot in the mud to find a dry, firm spot to rise. But the riverside earth, soaked by night dew, was soft and mushy, as if wrapped in a slick layer of moss. The instant she put in strength, her foot suddenly slipped, and her whole body, as if tripped by something, lost its balance in an instant. AI. Before the startled cry could escape, her body had slid down the slope, mud grazing her cheek with the sting of grit, and right after, a wash of icy river water enveloped her. With a muffled *splash*, her whole body pitched into the river. Icy water poured into her mouth and nose, choking her breathless. The river was colder than imagined. like countless fine needles stabbing into the seams of her bones. She instinctively raised her hands to flail and grab at something, but her fingertips only touched slick water weeds and the icy surface. The bamboo basket had long been washed far away, the water celery's tender shoots drifting in the water, and she could grab nothing, only flail wildly. "Help! Help me!" she shouted with all her might, her voice hoarse, river water surging into her mouth without cease, her consciousness beginning to blur, her eyelids growing heavier and heavier. She felt as if pulled by an invisible hand, sinking toward the riverbed. Just out of the personal mini-world, I heard the cry for help, hurriedly poked my head out from behind the tree, scanned around, and my gaze landed on the river. Widow Lou was thrashing in the water, crying help. Damn, pulling up a fish trap at night, and I run into this. Doing nothing wouldn't do. It was a human life. I strode quickly to the riverside, felt for a stick and held it out. Grab hold, grab the stick tight. Widow Lou grabbed it like the last life-saving straw, reaching with her last shred of strength, and the instant her fingertips touched it, she clenched it for dear life, her knuckles turning white. Save me, I beg you. Don't panic, I'll pull you up right now. I gritted my teeth and stepped back to get leverage, but having fallen in, she'd lost her wits, her whole body sinking down like a waterlogged log. Stepping back bit by bit, treading on wet mud, I slipped without noticing, and my whole body toppled backward. Worse still, seeing me fall, she thought she'd drag me down, and her survival instinct erupted. Both hands clenched the wooden stick for dear life and pulled toward me. Asterisk splash asterisk. I too pitched into the river. The icy water topped my head in an instant. I choked down a couple of mouthfuls, but my mind cleared instead. I knew the rule of saving someone. A drowning person in a panic will clinch the rescuer for dear life, and then both will lose their lives. But Widow Lou at this moment was like an octopus, both hands clawing my arm for dear life, her whole body hanging on me, nails nearly digging into flesh. Don't pull. Let go. Let go now, I shouted, frantic, but she seemed not to hear, pressing hard into my chest. The river water topped my chest, the bank stones grazing my back sore. It took me the strength of 9 oxen and 2 tigers to barely steady myself. Dragging this out any longer, and both of us would end our lives in this river. I gritted my teeth, and in my urgency reached over and pinched her hard. A sharp pain from my fingertips stirred a reaction from her. The sharp pain made Widow Lou's whole body jolt, her muddled consciousness clearing 3 parts, and she frowned and let out a short, sharp cry of pain. In the moonlight, her wet lashes clung to her eyelids, her face pale, yet carrying a distinct kind of charm.